Lord of the Apocalypse. I start with a level 10 unit. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26. This time, Suya forcibly obtained a batch of resources by bringing the Warhammer tribe under his command now. Territory resources are as follows: Lord's Hall Lord, Suya level 3 Alliance, non-subordinate territory, Warhammer Horde construction. 32/50 units, Dragon, Tier 10, Centaur, Tier 4, Blade Spider, Tier 4, Goblin, Tier 1, population 82/500 timber, 16.86 million stone, 16.31 million iron ore, 16.67 million gold coins, 4.05 million food, 63,811 currency, 27,000 needed for upgrade, wood, stone ore, iron ore, gold coins 1 million each. Timber, stone ore, and iron ore exceeded 16 million, but gold coins were only a pitiful 4 million. There is no way. There are too many places that need to consume gold coins. Gold coins are needed to build buildings. Gold coins are needed to upgrade buildings. Gold coins are needed to train arms. It's strange to be able to spend 4 million gold coins. Say more or less Suya was ready to join the Blade Spider's army. Suya had already seen the practicality of the Blade Spider in the previous battle with the dwarves. Now he has a second-level Blade Spider lair that can accommodate 50 Blade Spider units. Just complete the number to 50. Today's 5th change. Ask for flowers. Ask for support. Chapter 39th Blue Secret Realm. The Orc with a Dull Mind. It spent 9,000. This chapter is a new chapter. In the previous battle, 7 Blade Spiders died, that is to say, only 23 of the 30 trained heads are left, and now to make up to 50 heads, another 27 heads need to be trained. Training 27 Blade Spiders cost 4.05 million gold coins. A light flashed, and Suya's gold coin balance was only 5,000. Once again, I experienced a feeling of going back to before liberation. Shrugging helplessly, Suya turned and walked towards the kitchen. That's all. Today's consumption is for tomorrow stronger, and the gold coins are gone. Just call them back in the kitchen. The 3 little girls had already served the prepared food to the table. The color, fragrance and taste were all good. Suya was not polite, picked up the bowl and chopsticks and started to eat. After eating and drinking, Suya got up and told her plans for tomorrow. There are 2. First, conquer the Blue Secret Realm near the Great River on the left side of the Star Domain. Suya has been coveting this secret place for a long time, and it's time to make a move. Second, explore around the territory, find more territories, secrets, treasure chests, and everything that may appear. This time, the matter of the Warhammer tribe reminded Suya. If you want to ensure the safety of your territory, the best way is to find out what is around your territory and what will happen if there is a threat. Remove it as soon as possible. If there is a treasure, take it as soon as possible. To be honest, if it wasn't for the Warhammer tribe's initiative to send it to their door this time, Suya would never have known that there was a dwarf's territory 2 hours away from the Starfield territory. No, after a great battle, the Starfield territory has an additional subordinate territory. After arranging the general affairs, Suya went back to his room to rest. Time flies. It is already the next day. Unfortunately, there is no sun today and the sky is covered by clouds. When Suya walked out of the private house, the first place he went was the lair of the Blade Spider. When I went to the place, I saw 50 Blade Spiders crawling on the ground, which was very visually impactful. This is what a legion looks like, Suya exclaimed. Then go to the kitchen for dinner. After breakfast, everyone set off. Suya rode blazing to lead the way, followed by Han Bing. The last ones followed were 50 Blade Spiders go mightily towards the Blue Secret Realm on the left side of the territory. Along the way, I encountered a lot of wandering goblins, orcs, centaurs and other monsters, and they just ran over them without leaving any corpses. 30 minutes later, the troops arrived at their destination, a faint blue entrance to the secret realm, suspended over the shallows by the river. Let's go. Suya gave an order, and stepped into the entrance of the secret realm with enthusiasm. Eve and the others followed closely behind. This time, Eve didn't say the worrying words of the last time. Perhaps, after these few battles, Suya has proved his strength with his actual actions. It's just the Blue Secret Realm. All he can do it directly. Why hesitate? Are the 2 giant dragons really vegetarian? Suya had already arrived inside the secret realm, glanced around, and found that it was surrounded by dense primeval jungle. Standing there, waiting for a while, 50 blade spiders lined up and came in from the secret place after all the staff arrived. Suyi gave the order to move forward. It was the first time for Suzir and Lin Yangxi to step into the secret realm, and they were very curious about everything around them. This place seems to be a different world. The surrounding plants and animals are all things that don't exist on the earth. It's amazing. Within a minute of entering the secret realm, Suyi and the others encountered the enemy. It was an orc. He was 3 meters tall, and he was wearing battle armor woven with vines, or specially treated animal skins. The muscles are knotted, and the fangs are clustered. Holding a huge log or boulder in his hand, he looked at the unexpected guest in front of him with a dazed expression. Beastman Tier 5 level. 2 horsepower. 75,000 attack. 850 defense. 800 speed. 135 skill. Orc roar. Open its giant mouth and roar at the enemy. The sound waves ejected from the mouth will hit the target in front, causing a short-term dizziness. This skill is invalid for targets whose level is higher than itself. Brutal charge. Launch a charge in a certain direction, extremely fast, combined with the great strength, can cause extremely high damage to the target. Fatal trample. The furious orc leaps high and tramples on the enemy. Once hit, it will cause huge damage. This skill needs to be charged in advance. If the speed is fast enough, it can be dodged. Description: a powerful race living in the primitive jungle, with a burly figure and explosive power. The only shortcoming is that the brain is not very bright. After reading the description, Suyi felt relieved. Orcs, typical berserker soldiers with high HP, high attack, and high defense. It looks tough, but it's not. These guys don't have very bright minds. If they simply competed in strength, they might lose to these big guys, but if your attacks are more varied and fancy, the result will be completely different. Therefore, Suyi is confident that he can win this secret realm. Before he gave the order to attack, the orcs, who had hesitated for at least half a minute, finally came to their senses, letting out a roar that shook the sky. Holding their respective weapons, they rushed towards this side. The big feet fell to the ground one by one, shaking the ground non-stop. Suyi was also unambiguous, and drew out his fine steel long sword. All spread out in fight. As soon as the words fell, 50 blade spiders spread out to the surroundings first, in groups of 3 or 4, and moved towards the orcs to encircle them. And this is even more true for blazing and ice. With a flick of their wings, they soar into the sky. One mouth breathes fire, and the other breathes ice. Set orcs on fire or freeze them. These guys with not very bright minds have high skills and high defense, but they are not difficult to deal with under the output of blazing heat and ice. Several orcs were killed soon, and the corpses fell to the ground like an iron tower. Chapter 40. The blade spiders were extremely fast, and in groups of 3 or 4, they approached a group of orc warriors. The blade's sharp forelimbs lifted up, turned into after images, and quickly stabbed at the body of the orc warrior. Although the blade spider's spider legs are sharp, it is inevitable that it will be somewhat powerless in the face of orc warriors with high defense, but that's okay, because the blade spider has 2 natural ways to kill enemies. One is cutting, relying on the sharp barbs on the spider legs to cut open the enemy's body to achieve the effect of bloodletting, and then kill the enemy. The other is a venom attack. The poisonous venom entered the orcs' bodies and mixed with the blood rushing through them. The molecules in the blood were quickly destroyed, causing organ failure, breathing difficulties, and finally falling to the ground. The orc warriors who couldn't move were useless even if they had defensive power, and were killed by the swarming blade spiders in minutes. The battle proceeded rapidly. Chapter 27. Suyi, Eve, Suzir, and Lin Yangxi were not idle either. They raised their respective weapons, activated their respective skills, and hid in the back, to gain experience. That's right, it's just mixed experience in the Age of Lords. No matter it is an army or a hero, you can gain experience points by killing monsters. When the experience value reaches a certain level, it can be upgraded. After a battle with the dwarves yesterday, Suzir and Lin Yangxi each raised their level by 1 level, and their attributes improved slightly. Among the blade spiders, there were also several guys who killed more dwarves, and their level became level 2. No way, the dwarf is a 5th tier unit, and the blade spider is a 4th tier unit. It is equivalent to killing monsters by leapfrogging. And the experience value is naturally rich. The 17 orcs persisted for less than 3 minutes before they were dealt with. Simply clean up the battlefield, and everyone continues to move forward. Immediately afterwards, they encountered the second wave and the third wave of orc warriors. After several fierce battles, everyone finally came to the center of the secret realm. Here, there are many wooden houses built. The shape is rough and has no sense of beauty. This is where the orcs gather. There are 200 orcs gathered here, but at this moment, these stupid guys haven't noticed Suyi and the others who invaded here still wandering around the camp, sleeping and eating, and even in the bushes next to the camp. Suyi saw a few orc couples who were making little orcs that scene was simply earth-shattering, and I really can't compliment it. Suyi only glanced at it, then rode away on Chilai falling from the sky. Suyi returned to Eve and the others. How about it? Can you fight? Eve asked when she saw Suyi coming back. Suyi shook his head. It's a bit troublesome. There are about 200 to 300 orcs gathered inside. If they go in directly, I'm afraid it will cause big losses. The reason why the front of the secret realm can be unimpeded is because there are not many orcs, a dozen, 20 or 30, with blazing and ice leading the way, and the siege of blade spiders in groups of 3 or 4, is enough to handle it easily. But now, there are at least 200 orcs gathered in the orc camp. If you force it in, even if you win by chance, the price you need to pay cannot be described by numbers. Suyi didn't have so many arms to send to death, therefore, in this battle, he's going to outwit, not attack. Then how should we fight, brother? Come up with an idea. Su Kainer urged. The battle just now successfully raised the little girl's level to level 3. Her strength has increased a lot. Now, she wants to kill more orcs to become stronger. Suyi rubbed his chin, looked ahead at the orc camp hidden in the jungle, and began to think about countermeasures. Although the orcs are not very smart, it doesn't mean that they are not weak. On the contrary, every orc is extremely strong. If 200 of them go up together, I will definitely not be able to bear it. That being the case, the best way is to kill 200 orcs in batches. In this way, the pressure on Suyi's side must be greatly reduced. Su Yi spoke out what was in his heart, which was approved by the 3 women. You are right, but the question is, how can we lure the orcs out? Lin Yangxi asked. Suyi turned his head to look at Qilai, and had an idea in his mind. There's a way. Let's do this first, then. Su Yi said the method he thought of. When the 3 women heard it, they pondered for a moment and thought it was feasible. Well, you wait for me here, and I'll come back as soon as I go. After leaving a word, Suyi climbed onto Blazing's back. The latter flapped his wings and flew in the direction Suyi specified. Flying Zhili took place hundreds of meters away from the orc camp. Suyi greeted Zhili and fell from the sky. Then choose an open field without too many weeds. Cut down a few big trees nearby, and let Blazing help pile them together. In the end, a blazing dragon's breath spewed out, igniting the piled up trees because it is a fresh leaf. After being ignited, thick white smoke burst out instantly and floated towards the sky. Go to the next place. Suyi ordered, riding Blaze to the next location, doing the same thing, piled up the felled trees, and then ignited them, emitting thick smoke. Not long after, Suyi lit 10 bonfires around the orc camp. Thick smoke billowed up from the trees and could be seen from far away. After finishing all this, Suyi gave the order to let Qilai make a dragon chant. That thing can be as big as it can be. The sound spread to the orc camp and immediately attracted the attention of these guys. The orc who was eating the barbecue put down the food in his hands, and the orc who was making a child also stopped shaking. They looked around, and soon saw the thick smoky jungle around them. Immediately he was dumbfounded. Chapter 41. Separate the orcs and capture the camp. Ask for flowers. Ask for support. Woo. An orc said vaguely while pointing in a direction where thick smoke was coming out. Cough cough. It speaks orc language, roughly meaning, look, what happened over there? A few other orcs who were also aware of the situation gathered around and chattered. There was a small-scale panic in the camp, which woke up the leader in a wooden shed. This guy is 3.5 meters tall, a head taller than ordinary orcs, and he is wearing a battle armor woven from unknown animal bones. It looked around, and when it saw this situation, it was furious, roaring and ordering, let the orcs go. To check, the orcs who received the order took action one after another, divided into several small groups, and rushed towards the smoking place. This scene happened to fall in the eyes of Suyi and the others who were hiding not far from the camp. Success! Let's go! Suyi ordered, riding blazingly. He took the blade spider and flew towards a certain smoking point over there. A team of more than 20 orcs has already passed by. There are more than 20 orcs, not to be feared, enough to handle them easily from the looks of it. Suyi's method had the desired effect, successfully separated the orcs and the orc camp. The next thing to do is to fight like crazy, but the speed must be fast, because once those orcs find out that this is just a scam, they will probably return to the camp again. Then it will be difficult. The blade spider's speed was as high as 200 points, and Blazing and Ice's speed was extremely fast. Under Suyi's command, he quickly wandered through the jungle. Soon it was close to the first batch of orcs. These guys were rushing forward, and they didn't stop until Suyi and the others landed on their only path. After a brief daze, he rushed towards Suyi and the others. Imagine the sight of more than 20 orcs launching a brutal charge together. It is not an exaggeration to say that the earth is shaking and the mountains are shaking. Attack! Suyi ordered, and opened his own meaningless field. By the way, the attributes of the blade spiders and two giant dragons gathered around Suyi increased by 30%, then launched an attack. Blazing was the first to bear the brunt. The huge body ran quickly, broke the surrounding trees, and met several orcs with a dragon cry. The orcs were deterred, and they raised their sharp dragon claws. One slap, and another slap. Even the rough-skinned orcs are like tofu in front of the blazing dragon claws, easily breaking through their defenses and tearing their bodies apart. The same goes for ice, unleashing everything frozen. The three orcs approaching it were forcibly frozen. Several blade spiders followed closely behind, easily piercing the orc's neck with their venom-filled forelimbs. The battle started quickly and ended even faster. Suyi and the others didn't even have the chance to call out their phones. A total of 23 orcs were killed or injured. Continue. Next wave. Suyi urged everyone led the legion to quickly transfer to the next location over there. 30 orcs were attracted. Without further ado, let's go straight to the fight and end the battle in 2 minutes, then move on to the next location. Wave after wave of orcs who came to inspect the smoke were killed. On the other hand, Suyi was unscathed with Lin Yangxi as her personal priest. Even if she suffers some injuries, she can recover quickly. What's more, Lin Yangxi can also summon the Holy Spirit Shield, which can resist the attacks of some orcs. Suyi and the others were extremely mobile. In just 20 minutes, they eliminated 7 waves of orcs, a total of 185 unlucky ones. After calculating the time, those orcs who checked the situation should have noticed something was wrong, and it was time to go back. Suyi immediately gave the order and began to fly in the direction of the orc camp. In the direction of the camp, I saw a wave of orcs rushing back angrily. These guys ran all the way to the place where the smoke was coming out, but found that nothing happened there. They were furious, and then rushed back. However, he was stopped by Suyi and others near the territory. After the battle, Suyi turned his attention to the orc camp over there. It has become empty. Only the orc leader and a dozen guards were left. Attack. Quick decision. Suyi gave the order, calling for a fierce attack. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. The latter was already eager to try, and after receiving Suyi's order, he rushed out without saying a word. Blazing appearance immediately attracted the attention of the orc leader. Seeing an uninvited guest appear in his camp, the orc leader was furious, calling the orcs around to attack, and it itself took out a giant 2-meter-long mace, and greeted fiercely on the other side. Hanbing led 50 blade spiders galloping forward, forcibly crushed the orcs except for the orc leader. The other dozen orcs were easily dealt with. It caused the orc leader to be angry again and again, but what greeted it was the blazing dragon's breath. A mouthful of dragon's breath spewed out, and the life of the orc leader was rushed. After only holding on for a few seconds, he fell to the ground with a bang. The leader just died, and the last 2 groups of orcs who went out to check the situation have returned. After seeing Suyi and the others, he launched an attack without saying a word. However, how can they be the opponents of Suyi and others now? With a scream of the last orc, the battle came to an end. All the orcs were killed on Suyi's side. Only 2 blade spiders were injured, which was caused by the orc leader, but it's okay. Just leave it to Lin Yangxi. As for Suyi, taking advantage of this gap, he walked into the orc's wooden shed. Next, it is the most exciting moment to open the treasure box. The orcs were not only rough, but they also didn't like to be clean. There was a disgusting smell in the wooden shed. Suyi didn't dare to stay longer. After entering, he carried out several treasure boxes and placed them on the open ground of the camp. Chapter 42. Spirit Fruit Seeds and Bone Dragons. There are 3 treasure chests. One is the treasure chest of blue secret resources, the other is the treasure chest of rewards for conquering the secret realm, and the other is the blue treasure chest collected by the orc leader. Without further ado, just open it. The system beeps. Open the treasure chest of resources in the blue secret realm. Get wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins of 2 million each. Open the treasure chest of the blue secret realm, and get the 5th tier unit, Orc Warrior, the mace of the orc leader. Open the blue treasure chest and get wood, stone ore, iron ore, 1 million gold coins each, and spirit fruit seed 1. 3 treasure chests were opened, 3 million basic resources were obtained, and a template for a 5th tier orc soldier was also obtained. In other words, Suyi also had the authority to train orc warriors, but Suyi is not very interested in these big, simple-minded fools with well-developed limbs. He still prefers the kind of arms that are highly mobile and can quickly roam the battlefield. In addition to these rewards, Suyi also got the orc leader's mace, which was long and thick, and it was the same one that the orc leader was holding just now. Unexpectedly, this thing also exploded. It's a pity that there is no unit suitable for using this weapon on Suyu's side. So he has to leave it aside for the time being. Finally, Suyu looked at a peanut-sized seed in his hand. Spirit fruit seeds. After planting, a spiritual fruit tree can grow, and the spiritual fruit tree will bloom and bear fruit. Eating the spiritual fruit will have the effect of strengthening the body and increasing the experience value. Seeing this description, Suyu's eyes sparkled. Spirit fruit. A fruit that can enhance attributes and increase experience. This is a good thing. Although Suyu had never seen this thing in his previous life, he could roughly figure out the magical effect of this spiritual fruit based on the description alone. Just don't know what the output is. If the output is high, then, Suyu thought in his heart. After thinking for a while, Suyu temporarily put aside the thoughts in his mind. Then the three women were summoned to search the orc camp. Maybe you can still search for the treasure chest. Not necessarily, and Suyu himself walked into the hall of the lord of the orc tribe. Ahem. It's actually the wooden shed where the orc lord lived. The smell inside is really unflattering. Suyu resisted the discomfort and quickly carried out the secret realm authentication message as follows. Orc camp class, blue owner, Suyedimber. 8/200, 000 quarry. 8/200, 000 iron ore. 8/200, 000 gold coins. 8/200, 000 food. 1/2000 garrison troops, none. Since it is a blue secret realm, its level is lower than that of the previous purple secret realm, so the resources that can be produced every day are only 200,000, but it's not a lot. 200,000 a day, 2 million in 10 days, and you can train a giant dragon. After confirming that the authentication information was correct, Suyu quickly left the wooden shed. As soon as he got out of the wooden shed, Suyu saw Suzuya running towards this side with a treasure chest in her arms. Brother, I found a treasure chest. The little girl was overjoyed. Really capable, Suyu praised, and took the treasure box from Suzuya. After a glance, it was confirmed that this was a food treasure chest. That is the food reward after capturing the orc camp. Not much to say, just open it. I got 20,000 units of food, which is not a lot. Alright, it's time for us to leave, Suyu said. The three women nodded, leaving 10 blade spiders to guard the secret realm. A group of people led the legion and left the orc secret realm. It was already noon when we returned to the river. A few people decided to go home to eat and refresh. Returning to the territory, the three women started cooking. Suyu, on the other hand, wandered around the territory with the spiritual fruit seeds, trying to find a place to plant them, considering that the fruit trees might grow very large. Suyu drew an open space at the end of the territory to plant the spiritual fruit seeds. Do you want to spend 200,000 stone mines and 200,000 gold coins to plant spiritual fruit seeds? The system prompts. Suyu was speechless. Shit, he just planted a tree, and he wanted 200,000 gold coins. Sure enough, in the age of the lords, money-making scams were everywhere. No rejection. Choose to plant. As soon as the words fell, a huge flower bed was piled up on the open space in front of Suyu. Spirit fruit seeds were planted in the center of the flower bed. As long as enough nutrients and enough time are given, this little seed will take root and sprout, and finally grow into a big tree after watering the seeds. Suyu turned and left. When passing by the dragon's nest, Suyu stopped. Now he has more than 3 million gold coins left, enough to train a dragon. After thinking about it, Suyu made up his mind and chose training with a 99% cooling reduction. It takes 15 minutes. Suyu didn't wait stupidly, but went to the kitchen to eat. When they arrived at the kitchen, the three women had already brought a sumptuous lunch to the table. There are meat and vegetables, but also rich. The four of them started to eat, chatting about the upcoming territory development plan while eating. 15 minutes passed quietly. Suddenly there was a dragon chant from outside the kitchen, followed by the whirring sound of flapping wings. Eve paused, and her pointed elf ears twitched twice. What's going on outside? What happened? Suyu thought of something, put down the bowl and chopsticks, and ran towards the dragon's nest. Seeing this, the three girls hurriedly followed. When the four arrived at the dragon's nest, Blazing and Ice had already landed first. At this moment, in front of them, a strange giant dragon poked its head out of the dragon's nest. Why is this giant dragon strange? Because this guy doesn't have the unique hard dragon scales of the dragon clan, and he doesn't even have flesh and blood. The entire composition of this guy turned out to be bones. This giant dragon is indeed a bone dragon, without flesh and blood and dragon scales. Is this a bone dragon? That is rarer than ordinary dragons, Eve whispered. She has seen many records about dragons, and the one in front of her is very similar to the bone dragon in the records. Chapter 43. Small bone, meat shield dragon. Suyu did not expect that this training would produce such a guy. Chapter 29. Without further ado, check the Bone Dragon information directly. Bone Dragon grade, 10th grade, grade 1 loyalty. 100% life. 250,000 attack. 8,000 defense. 12,000 speed. 450 food consumption. 100 equipment, none skill, bone hardening. During the battle, the Bone Dragon gathers its strength to its own bones, enhancing the hardness and defense of the bones in a short period of time, and can resist more damage from the enemy. Undead healing. Bone dragons are undead creatures without flesh and blood. The only injury that can be caused is the bones that make up the body. When injured, part of the health can be restored by devouring the undead air around the corpse. Guardian of the undead. The Bone Dragon has no flesh and blood, and does not have the flying ability of the dragon family, but because of its unique body structure, all damage to it will be reduced by 50%. Domination of the undead. Encouraging undead-friendly troops can increase the combat effectiveness of the undead by 80%, and they are immune to the deterrent effect of high-level units. Description. After the fall of the giant dragon resurrected with the spirit of heaven and earth, has no flesh and blood, loses the flying ability of the dragon clan, and is in a hostile relationship with the normal dragon clan. From the analysis of the attribute description, the Bone Dragon belongs to the Meat Shield defensive unit. The life value is 50,000 higher than Blazing and Ice defense is also slightly higher. The most important thing is that the Bone Dragon has the ability to reduce damage by 50%. What does this mean? It means that any damage done by the enemy to the Bone Dragon will be reduced by half. 100 points of damage become 50 points, and 10,000 points of damage become 5,000 points combined with the healing ability of the Bone Dragon. As long as there are corpses around, it can always restore health and recover its own injuries. Undead creatures are indeed brutal. Bone dragons are undead creatures, and they are hostile to Blazing and Ice. As soon as the three parties met, they immediately assumed the defensive posture. Seeing this scene, Suyu was a little speechless, so he could only yell at the three guys and tell them to put down their guard. Shilai and Hanbring were more obedient. After receiving Suyu's order, they immediately relaxed. Without the sense of vigilance they had before, the Bone Dragon was new to the scene, and still kept tense. The body made of bones looked a little scary. Suyu took a few steps forward and patted the Bone Dragon's head. Relax, you will be a member of this place from now on. They are all your companions. After all, Suyu is a lord. Training and summoning troops is equivalent to signing a contract with these guys in the dark. After being comforted by Suyu, the Bone Dragon finally lowered its raised paw. Since you are a Bone Dragon, for the sake of convenience, I will call you Xyloga from now on, Suyu said. Bone Dragon tilted his head and thought for a long time before nodding. There's no way, this guy's brain is already rotten, and what controls it is only a massive soul fire floating in his head. So intelligence or something is much lower than Blazing and Ice. After the small bone was settled, Suyu looked at Blazing and Hanbing. You two, don't bully it. Here, Chi. Lai and Hanbing looked at each other and nodded in unison. The intelligence of an 11 or 12-year-old human is enough for them to understand Suyu's words. After settling down the three restless guys, Suyu left the dragon's nest with the three girls. After resting for about a quarter of an hour, the four of them began to plan the previous plan. It is necessary to explore around the territory. On the one hand, Suyu wanted to see if there were refreshed treasure chests around the territory. On the other hand, Suyu was thinking about the safety of the territory. Clean up and refresh the monsters around the territory in time to better ensure the safety of the territory. Just do what you say. Blazing, Icy, and Small Bones are all dispatched. Flying out of the star field at the same time, there were 40 blade spiders. In order to maximize efficiency, Suyu decided to split up IM in a group with Blazing and Small Bones. Sukainer, even Lin Yangxi brought Hanbing and the remaining 40 blade spiders into a group. It is divided into two groups in total, which is also for the sake of insurance. We are advancing from two directions. It doesn't matter if we go slower. The main thing is to find out the specific situation around the territory. When we find the enemy, don't act rashly. We will attack when we are 100% sure of winning. Understand? Suyu glanced around in front of three women. The three nodded in understanding. Then let's go. Suyu ordered the two troops headed in two directions respectively. Suyu was in charge of the east side, where you can see the endless mountains, which is the direction where monsters are most likely to appear. Blazing into the air, carrying Suyu forward. As for Xyloga, it is a bone dragon and does not have the unique flying ability of dragons, so it can only crawl on the ground. The two behemoths moved forward in a mighty manner. More than 1,000 meters away from the territory, Suyu encountered the first wave of monsters. It was a huge black scorpion. It is about 3 meters long, covered in pitch black, and the poisonous needle at the tail is shining coldly, hanging above the head. ready to pierce the enemy's body at any time. Poisonous scorpion grade, 2nd grade level. 3 horsepower. 14,000 attack. 560 defense. 350 speed. 140 skill. Tail sting, the tail of the poisonous scorpion. P.S. Ordinary monsters, I don't bother to describe them so clearly. Poisonous scorpions are social creatures, and there are more than 20 poisonous scorpions gathered in the dense jungle below. The little bone bulldozer rushed towards them, and immediately attracted the attention of these guys without saying a word. He walked towards the small bone encirclement naturally. Xiaogu was not a vegetarian, so he raised his huge bone claws and slapped those black scorpions. Crack, puff, under the super strength, even a poisonous scorpion with a hard price can't bear it, and the body is shut with holes. Dark green viscous liquid continuously flowed out of the hole. Looking extremely disgusting. Chapter 44, Red Armored Fire Ant, burning the ant's nest. The entire battle lasted less than 5 minutes. A total of 25 poisonous scorpions were smashed into rotten meat by Xiaogu. Su Yi waved his hand and continued to move forward. As the saying goes, if you stand tall and see far away, and sit on the back of blazing, so you can easily see things far away every time a monster is found. He orders Qilai and Xiaogu to approach at the battle ensued. Of course, Suyi himself is not idle. He will jump off Blazing's back and join the battle to gain experience. It is precisely because of this continuous killing of monsters that Suyi's level is slowly increasing. After killing wave after wave of monsters, Suyi, Blazing, and Xiaogu explored a wider and wider range. The monsters encountered have changed from first-level goblins, 2nd-level poisonous scorpions, and toads to more advanced monsters. Suyi rode Blazing and flew quickly through the air. Suddenly, Xiaogu, who was crawling up the ground, stopped, and kept tossing and turning in a jungle. Aware of this scene, Suyi frowned, and hurriedly turned Qilai back. When Suyi and Zhili fell from the sky, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. I saw that Xiaogu was being besieged by densely packed ants. The 10-meter-long bony body was almost covered with fiery red ants. Those guys opened their big jaws and bit on the bones of Xiaogu, making Xiaogu howl again and again. It stands to reason that Xiaogu doesn't even have flesh and blood, so these ants can't do much harm to it. But in fact, these ants release an acidic substance when they bite their enemies. The acidic substances are corrosive and will soften and erode the bones of the ossicles. This is also the reason why Xiaogu keeps roaring, because its life value is constantly declining under the bite of these ants. Looking at those ants again, they are not big, only about 50 centimeters in length. The whole body is fiery red, densely packed, and there are thousands of them, making people's scalp numb. Quick, get Xiaogu out. Suyi patted Fierce's head, then he jumped off Blazing's back and threw a detection skill at the densely packed ants in front of him. Red Armored Fire Ant Tier 4 level. 5 horsepower. 5,000 attack. 750 defense. 200 speed. 140 skill. Bite, open its jaws, bite the enemy, and inject acidic toxins into the enemy, making the enemy feel the tingling sensation of burning flames. Digging. Fire ants are good burrow builders, with limbs that slide rapidly to create tunnels underneath. Description: the red-armed fire ants are small in size, but they are active in groups. Once you encounter the population, please stay away immediately, because after they find you, they will swarm you and devour you into bones. The reason why ants kill elephants is that. Please remember seeing the attribute panel of the red-armored fire ant. Suyi swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The skin on the body feels tense with goosebumps. Chapter 30. He vaguely recalled a scene he had seen in his previous life. An army of millions of ants swept past, gnawing all the creatures they encountered into bones only by flying into the air. Can we survive? Although these guys are small in size, they are enough to make you feel the threat of death when they act together. I didn't expect that such a population existed near my own territory. Suyi began to feel glad that he had discovered this. Otherwise, once the population of this red-armored fire ant grows to 1 million level, it will pose a serious threat to his territory. With Fierce's help, Xiaogu escaped quickly, and the red-armored fire ants on his body were shaken off, and then trampled into meatloaf. It wasn't until this moment that Suyi could clearly see what was happening to Xiaogu's body. In just a few minutes of biting, 1/3 of its 250,000 health points were lost, and the bones that were originally smooth as jade were covered with dense craters. This is the pit eroded by the acidic venom of the red-armed fire ants. At the same time, it is also the main source of ossicle injury. Roar! Xiaogu let out an angry roar, obviously hating the ants in front of him very much. So he looked at Qilai and gave it a wink. The latter understood, put on a good posture, and spewed out a mouthful of dragon's breath at the fire ants that kept attacking. Extremely high temperature flames spewed out from the blazing mouth, sweeping across, and all the fire ants that came into contact with the flame were instantly scorched. Then there was a popping sound. The body exploded, releasing a puff of acidic substance. This burning instantly poked a hornet's nest. The ant nest hidden in the ground ahead exploded with a bang. Tens of thousands of red armored fire ants swept towards this side densely. Damn, so many. Suyi uttered a foul language, and his face changed a little because he is very aware of the threat of the red armored fire ants. One end is fine, two ends are fine, and three ends can survive. But multiply this number 10 times, multiply it by 100 times? Can you still stand it? Bone back quickly, Suyi ordered. At the same time, he also began to retreat backwards. The speed of the red armored fire ants is not slow, and the number is extremely large. In such a few seconds, many of them have spread to Suyi's feet. Suyi clenched a fine steel longsword in his hand and launched a whirlwind slash. The sword energy whizzed and continued to spread around. Although the red armored fire ant is a tier 4 monster, its attributes are extremely low, and its HP is only a few thousand points. Even Suyi could easily kill them. After the fire ants were killed, blue light spots appeared from their bodies, and they converged towards Suyi's body. Suyi and Xiaogu were fighting and retreating, except for Blazing. This guy breathed out the breath of the dragon, as if the dragon god had descended into the world, and burned all the approaching fire ants to ashes. Crackling and popping sounds continued. And after a while, the corpses of the red armored fire ants beside Qilai piled up into hill. Its level, after several days of hard work, has finally been raised to level 3 now. Chapter 45. Bringing the queen home. Ask for flowers, ask for votes, ask for everything. The increase in level has greatly improved Blazing's strength. At the same time, it also made this guy more energetic, and the dragon's breath kept spitting out. By the way, he threw a lava hell under his feet. Hot magma emerged from the ground, roasting hundreds of fire ants to death. The battle was fierce, and tens of thousands of fire ants were quickly killed. It turned into experience and poured into the bodies of Suyi, Blazing, and Xiaogu. 40 minutes later, the last fire ant on the ground was cut in half by Suyi with a flash of light on his body. Suyi's level has been raised to level 6. Name, Suyi. Occupation, warrior grade, SSS grade. Level 6. Dominance, 150 horsepower, 27,500 attack, 550 defense, 300 speed, 145 equipment, Xianlin armor, refined iron long sword skill, heavy attack, charge for 1 second, launch a fierce attack on the target, causing 3.25 times damage, and a 75% chance of causing a stun effect. This effect has no effect on targets whose level is higher than itself. Whirlwind slash, rotate at an extremely fast speed, slashing out streams of sword energy, and inflicting multiple damages on targets within the range. Fearless field, open a field with a radius of 100 meters around yourself. The troops in this field will increase their basic attributes by 55% and will be immune to the deterrence of high-level troops. Suyi was quite pleased with this slight improvement in attributes. After closing his attribute panel, Suyi stepped over the pile of fire ant corpses and stopped near the frontmost ant nest. The so-called ant nest looks like a small oil bag, about 10 meters in diameter. Around this oil bag, there are several holes that go deep into the ground. That is the channel for the red armored fire ants. In other words, the red armored fire ants' nests are actually only the tip of the iceberg. Its larger part is still buried deep in the ground. Thinking of the horror of those little things, Suyi immediately became interested. If you can train the red armored fire ants as your own unit, then, thinking of this, Suyi called Xiaogu over. The latter's health has been fully restored, and the small potholes on the bones have also been filled up a lot. Hearing Suyi's order at this moment, he walked over here. Dig here. Suyi pointed to the ant nest. A bloody flames and Xiaogu's eye sockets trembled twice, then nodded. Raising the huge bone claws, he began to dig holes. Eli watched from the side, sniffing. Suyi just kicked in the past. Don't be idle, go help. Blazingly and aggrievedly glanced at Suyi, he had no choice but to step forward, side by side with Xiaogu, and started digging. Ahem. Digging an ant nest. The speed of the miniature excavators at both ends was not slow, and the small oil bag protruding from the ground was quickly dug up. What appeared in front of Suyi at this moment was an underground world. Densely dense small passages spread all over the depths of the ground. Each one is the thickness of a bucket. This is the channel of action for the red armored fire ants. But now these guys are all dead. Continuing to dig the pit, a huge ant nest began to be exposed to the air. After digging to a certain depth, a cave appeared. The size is not small, and there are dense white ant eggs all over it. Each one is the size of an ostrich egg, and densely packed with caves. Roughly estimated, the number is at least tens of thousands. When Zhili saw the ant eggs appearing in front of his eyes, he was overjoyed, opened his mouth and bit them, and swallowed them in his stomach. This is the egg of the red-armed fire ant, which contains extremely pure energy. There are definitely great benefits to eating while eating fiery. Xiaogu could only watch from the sidelines. It only has a whole body of bones, and never even has intestines. Naturally, such a good thing is not a blessing. Suya stopped blazing from eating, and beckoned the two guys to expand the cave. If Suya guessed correctly, this ant nest should have a queen. The only way to train the red-armored fire ants is to find the queen. Look and see if there is an ant queen, Suya ordered. Blazingly glanced at the delicious ant eggs reluctantly, and had no choice but to continue to expand the cave. According to Suya's enrichment, it was expanding, and suddenly the small bone with its back turned to Suya let out a cry. Suya hurried over to take a look, only to see another cave appeared in front of Xiaogu. In this cave lay a long white fat worm. It was 2 meters long, with short limbs and a chubby body. Sensing the approach of Suya and others, he moved his body frantically in an attempt to escape. Suya threw a detection skill at fat worm. Red armored fire ant queen, Tier 4, grade 1 horsepower, 50,000 attack, 100 defense, 50 speed, 20 skills. Eating. Ant queens can eat everything that can be eaten, and then transform it into nutrients to provide energy for themselves. Over position, under the premise of sufficient energy supply, ant eggs will be bred in the queen's body and produced outside the body. An adult queen ant can lay at least 2,000 eggs per day. Description: the queen of the red-armed fire ant is responsible for the production of the entire ant nest. As long as there is enough food supply, she can produce a large number of eggs. When the eggs hatch, she will become a red-armed fire ant. Seeing the message from the queen ant, Suya's eyes lit up. This is the thing. As long as he controls the queen ant, it is equivalent to controlling the entire fire ant population. At that time, when encountering an enemy or an impenetrable city wall, an army of hundreds of thousands of fire ants will immediately dispatch. The city wall was dug into ruins in minutes. Chapter 31. Isn't the so-called siege much easier? Take this thing back, Suya ordered. Zhili nodded, and together with Xiaogu, carefully pulled the queen ant out of the cave. Then Suya found a lot of branches with leaves and wrapped the queen ant. This is to protect the queen from harm. Otherwise, given that this guy only has 50 points of defense, with a light swipe, his body would probably break open. As for why not put it directly into the Lord's space, it is because the Lord's space cannot store living things. If you want to store it, you can only wait for the treasures that carry the arms to be obtained. Chapter 46. Brother, why did you bring a bug back? By the time Suya tied the ant queen wrapped in leaves to Xiaogu's back, the sun had already set and the west night is coming. Suya naturally has no intention of continuing to explore. Hurriedly greeted Zhili and Xiaogu, and began to rush towards the territory. This search yielded a lot. Suya and Zhili's levels had increased, and they also got the queen of the red-armored fire ant. Just take it back and settle down for a while. Maybe in the future Suya can command 1,000,000 fire ants to attack the city. At that time, even the 8th and 9th ranks of troops will be turned into bones under the impact of countless fire ants. It took about half an hour, and the star domain had appeared at the end of Suya's field of vision. At this moment, the sky had already darkened, and the torches on the city wall of the Starfield territory were lit, which looked extremely eye-catching in the dark night. Landing from the sky into the territory, Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi, who had already returned and heard the movement, ran out of the Lord's Hall one after another. The three of them saw something on Xiaogu's back at a glance, and they were very curious. Brother Su, what is this? Lin Yangxi was the first to ask. Suya showed a smile, and beckoned Zhili to take off the ant queen from Xiaogu's back. This is a good thing, you will know it later. After being told by Suya, the three girls became even more curious. He stared intently at the scene in front of him. Soon, the ant queen was taken down, and Suya cut off the vines that bound it. The leaves scattered in all directions, and the true face of the queen ant appeared in front of the three women. Brother, why did you bring a big bug back? Suya took a few steps back, obviously repelling the queen ant. What is so precious about this big fleshy bug? Suya rolled his eyes, and then introduced to several people. This is the queen of the 4th tier unit, the red-armored fire ant, the fire ant. Before Suya could finish speaking, Eve interrupted her. You said this is the queen of the red-armored fire ant? Suya nodded. Yes, what's the problem? Eve's pretty face turned pale for a while, and she took a few steps back. The formed fire ant unit is a monster that is more terrifying than the 6th level unit. Where did you get this thing? When Suya heard the words, he recounted what happened in the jungle before. After the three girls heard this, some cold sweat broke out from behind their backs. Even Suya, Zhili, and Xiaogu were threatened. How terrifying is this red-armored fire ant? Fortunately, it was Suya and the others who went there to explore, Otherwise, if Eve and the others ran into the red armored fire ant, the consequences would be, in short, this thing is not a good thing, as long as we can train it into a military unit. Then the disgusting ones will be the enemy, Suya said, with a dark smile on his lips. The experience of the last 5 years in the last life made him indifferent and decisive, especially when dealing with enemies. He was even more merciless. Whatever is powerful, he will fight for it. As for the enemy, Eve has also experienced brutal wars, and agrees with Suya's words. I agree with you, but I don't recommend that you build ant nests in the territory. These guys will hollow out the ground, which is harmful to our territory. Unfavorable. Suya thought about it, and felt that what Eve said made sense. After all, the territory is Suya's foundation, and there can be no problems at all. As for the location of the ant nest, Suya had already figured out where to put it. Don't you have 2 secret realms, the purple centaur secret realm and the blue orc secret realm? This is the most suitable place Suya can think of to place an ant nest. It just so happens that the red armored fire ants can help guard the secret realm. How can Suya let go of the beautiful thing that kills 2 birds with 1 stone? I'll take it to the orc secret realm tomorrow, and put it there. It should be good, Suya said. The 3 women looked at each other and had no opinion. Then, Suya settled the ant queen in the territory and told Xiaogu and Qilai to watch this guy and not let him run around. After finishing these, Suya followed the 3 girls to the kitchen. A lot of food has been prepared here. While eating, Suya asked, "Did you find anything?" The 3 girls stopped what they were doing, and Su Kainer spoke first. "We found a green treasure chest and obtained some resources. There is also a white secret realm, about 2 hours away from here. But we didn't go in," Eve added. Lin Yangxi coughed lightly, "and our level has been raised by 1 level. Suya nodded upon hearing this. "That's right, take a good rest tonight and continue tomorrow." Early the next morning, the first place Suya went to after waking up was the flower bed where the spiritual fruit was planted. When I looked over there, I suddenly found that the spiritual fruit seed had germinated and turned into a small sapling of more than 10 centimeters. The digitalization of the world has accelerated a lot. It must not take long to grow into a big tree. After pouring some water on the spirit fruit saplings, Suya walked towards the place where the queen ant was placed last night. When I arrived at the place, Suya took a look and felt a little strange. After 1 night, this guy seems to have lost a lot of weight. Some broken eggshells can be vaguely seen on the grass beside him. Suya seemed to have thought of something, and looked up at Qilai. This guy felt a little guilty, and turned his head to the side, not daring to look directly at Suya. "Are the ant eggs delicious?" Suya said angrily. Fierce flicked his tail, and looked at Suya with some embarrassment. Well, it admitted that it had stolen more than 30 ant eggs produced by the queen ant last night. "The main reason is that the food is so delicious that I couldn't hold it back for a while. So, just this time. Do you know if the next time is not an example? If you find out that you have another time, you will know the consequences." As he spoke, Suya squeezed his fingers, making a crackling sound. Qilai nodded quickly, expressing his understanding. After that, Suya wrapped the queen ant like yesterday, tied it to Xiaogu's back, and then headed towards the Orc Secret Realm. Chapter 47. Training the red-armed fire ants. After tossing and turning for an hour, Suya finally arrived at the Orc Secret Realm. With Xiaogu passing through the entrance of the Secret Realm, one can see a dense jungle. The 10-blade spiders sensed that someone was approaching, and crawled out of the bushes one after another. When they saw that it was Suya, they dispersed again and hid in the bushes. This is one of the ways they guard the Secret Realm. Once an unknown target is found to enter the Secret Realm, they will unceremoniously stab the intruder's body with their venom-stained forelimbs. Suya sat on Xiaogu's back and directed it to move forward. Ant nest placement. Need to find a suitable location. It is best where the soil is hard and there are not too many impurities. After wandering around the orc secret territory for a while, Suya finally chose such a place. The soil is hard and there are many trees around, which can provide enough food for the fire ants. After choosing a place, Suya removed the ant queen from the back of the bone, and untied the bound vines. Then choose build. Because the current ownership of the Orc Secret Realm belongs to Suya, he has the right to use the land in the Orc Secret Realm. Of course, if the Orc Secret Realm is taken away by other lords, then all the troops in the Orc Secret Realm will lose contact with Suya and become wild monsters. For example, the Blade Spider Station here became a wild monster, the Red Armored Fire Ant became a wild monster, and so on. Consume wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins of 1 million each, and the Red Armored Fire Ant Queen won, and successfully built a Red Armored Fire Ant nest. When the notification sounded, a small dirt bump began to bulge on the open space in front of Suya. The Red Armed Fire Ant nest is under construction. It only takes 12 hours with Suya's 99% cooling reduction. The construction can be completed in 8 minutes. Not long after, Suya didn't leave in a hurry. but found a place to sit down and watch the ant nest take shape little by little. 8 minutes passed quickly, and the progress bar at the top of the ant nest reached full value. The nest of the red-armed fire ant has been built. What appeared in front of Suyi at this moment was a small soil bag with a diameter of 3 meters compared with the one seen yesterday. Its volume is several times smaller. After a large number of red-armored fire ants are hatched, they will expand their territory. Suyi does not need to worry about this. Check out the ant nest information, as follows: Red Armored Fire Ant Nest Tier 4, Tier 4 Grade 1 Unit. 0/10000 Training Template, Red Armored Fire Ant Training Cost, Gold Coin 50, Food 1 Training Time, Variable needed for upgrade, Wood, Stone, Iron Ore, Gold Ore each 2 million, Time 16 hours. The training method of the red-armed fire ants is somewhat special. Other arms, such as dragons, goblins, centaurs, etc., only need to spend gold coins for training. Chapter 32. As long as there are enough gold coins and the subsequent food supply is guaranteed, combat units can be continuously trained. The red-armed fire ants are different, because the red-armed fire ants are hatched through the eggs produced by the queen. The number that can be trained depends on the number of eggs laid by the queen. The more eggs the queen lays, the more ants will hatch. Therefore, to train a red-armed fire ant, the database training cost is 50 gold coins and 1 unit of food. 50 gold coins is not a big problem, but this unit of food it made Suyi a little worried. Food is one of the most difficult resources to obtain. Even now, the food he has stored is only more than 60,000, and a considerable part of it is consumed every day. To train a red-armored fire ant, 1 unit of food needs to be consumed. It has to be said that it is a consumption that cannot be ignored. It seems that we have to find a way to increase food output, Suyi thought to himself. In the Age of Lords, there were many sources of food. The main channel is the daily harvest through the secret realm. In addition, there is actually another channel that cannot be ignored, and that is self-growing. Even spiritual fruits can be grown, and the food consumed by that type of troops can naturally be grown as well. It's just that kind of seed, which is somewhat difficult to obtain. Suyi does know that there are 1 or 2 places where food seeds can be obtained. Secondly, the market will open in a month, and seeds can also be purchased from mysterious merchants, but the price is guaranteed to make you doubt your life. So, Suyi decided to find some time to go to the place where he could get food seeds in his memory, and get some seeds back. A first-level ant nest can train 10,000 red-armored fire ants, and as far as Suyi is concerned, it can still afford it. Without further ado, let's start training. It costs 500,000 gold coins, 10,000 units of food, and pre-training red-armored fire ants 10,000. As soon as the beep sounded, the queen ants in the ant nest ahead began to lay eggs. After the ant eggs hatch, there will be a group of red-armored fire ants after doing this. Suyi didn't intend to wait any longer, and rode Xiaogu towards the orc secret. When he reached the exit of the secret realm, Suyi ordered 2 blade spiders to guard near the red-armored fire ants' nest. Don't be destroyed by other monsters in the secret area. After everything was arranged, Suyi left the orc secret realm. After returning to the star field, after a brief refreshment and some food, Suyi gave the order to continue yesterday's mission, that is to explore the surrounding areas of the territory. This time, the 2 teams switched directions. Suyi explored the north, and Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi explored the south. After the arrangement, everyone started to set off, moving forward little by little. While Suyi and the others were busy developing their territory, the outside world had also undergone earth-shaking changes. It has been nearly 10 days since the end of the world. The first batch of lords other than Suyi began to appear. They gradually discovered the magic of the territory, and began to try to build, train arms, and then occupy the secret land, obtain more resources, and train more arms. Everything is on the right track as in the previous life. The Age of Lords has quietly begun after more and more humans have become lords. Chapter 48 Lightning Tower. Train the 3 dragons again. Chapter 48 Lightning Tower. Retrain the 3 dragons. This chapter is a new chapter for flowers. For the next 4 days, Suyi and the others spent their time exploring. After 2 consecutive days of exploration, several people have already explored the territory as the center with a radius of 20 kilometers. The area is not large, but the harvest is great. The first is the secret realm. In addition to the white secret realm discovered by Eve and the others on the first day, Suyi also discovered a green secret realm and a purple secret realm. That's right, it's the purple secret realm, the genuine purple secret realm, and the troops stationed in it are 7th and 8th rank high-level troops, and there are a lot of them. With Suyi's current strength, he didn't dare to provoke him rashly. However, with Suyi's current development speed, it is only a matter of time before the purple secret realm is conquered, and this time will never be too long. In addition to the secrets, Suyi's team also found many treasure chests. There are 5 white treasure chests, 2 green treasure chests, 2 blue treasure chests, and 1 purple treasure chest. The harvest can be described as quite rich. After opening all of them, you get D-level resource pack 5, C-level resource pack 2, B-level resource pack 2, and A-level resource pack 1. Of course, in addition to opening resource packs from the treasure chest, other props have also gained a lot. For example, currency, harvested a full 50,000. There is also a 4th tier unit template, Big Snow Monster. This is a reward from the purple chest. Others are some equipment, special architectural drawings and so on. The level of equipment is too low to be of much use to Suyi and others. As for the special construction blueprint, this is a rare reward. After the Lord builds the territory, he can increase the level of the territory and obtain the construction authority of some basic buildings. And if you want to build buildings other than the basic authority of the territory, you need to use things like architectural drawings. For example, the statue of an angel that Suyi obtained before was actually a kind of construction blueprint with construction blueprints, or the precursors of special buildings. Other buildings besides the basic buildings of the territory can be built after several days of exploration. Suyi obtained a blueprint called Lightning Tower. Its function is similar to that of a ballista, that is, it is installed on the city wall to cause lightning damage to enemies within a fixed range. The attack radius is shorter than that of the ballista, only 50 meters, but it can cause a range attack. Dropping lightning strikes within a specified radius of 2 meters deal lightning damage to enemies within the range, and add the effect of paralysis and stiffness. It's not too powerful, but it's better than nothing. In addition to various props such as resource packs, equipment, and architectural blueprints, the level of Suyi and others has also been significantly improved. Suyi's level has been raised to level 10, Eve is also at level 10, Suzir and Lin Yangxi are slightly weaker, the former is at level 8, and the latter is at level 7, the attributes have been greatly improved. Suyi's attributes are as follows: name, Suyi occupation, warrior grade, SSS grade level, 10 dominance, 190 horsepower, 42,000 attack, 1,200 defense, 470 speed, 165 equipment, Xianlin armor, refined iron long sword skill, heavy attack. Charge for 1 second, launch a fierce attack on the target, causing 4.25 times damage, and a 95% chance of causing a stun effect. This effect has no effect on targets whose level is higher than itself. Whirlwind slash, rotate at an extremely fast speed, slashing out streams of sword energy, and inflicting multiple damages on targets within the range. Fearless field, centering on oneself, a field with a radius of 140 meters is opened. The army in this field increases the basic attributes by 75%, and is immune to the deterrence of high-level arms. P.S. Only the protagonist's attribute panel appears here, and the author of the attribute panels of Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi will update them in the work. Don't be misunderstood as water characters. Interested brothers can go to the work, check it out. Cry, the attribute has been greatly improved, and so is the effect of the skill. After opening all the resource packs, Suyi obtained 6.75 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each. Now, the resources of Suyi's territory are as follows: Lord's Hall Lord, Suyi level 3 Alliance, non-subordinate territory, Warhammer Horde construction, 32/50 units, Dragon, Tier 10, Centaur, Tier 4, Blade Spider, Tier 4, Goblin, Tier 1, Beast Warrior, Tier 5, Snow Monster, Tier 4, Red Armored Fire Ant, Tier 4, 4th Order, population 103/500 timber, 26.11 million stone, 25.36 million iron ore, 25.92 million gold coins, 6.55 million food, 76,661 currency, 77,000 needed for upgrade, wood, stone ore, iron ore, gold coins 1 million each. Timber, stone ore, and iron ore officially exceeded 25 million, but only gold coins, but only a pitiful 6 million. No way. In the early days of the Lord era, especially for a lord like Suyi who started with high-level arms, gold coins are never enough to spend 6 million gold coins. Say more or less. The buildings to be built in the Star Domain include the Angel God statue and the Lightning Tower, both of which are defensive buildings, and Suyi has no plans to build them yet. Therefore, he planned to use the 6 million gold coins to train 3 more dragons. A 10th tier unit is a 10th tier unit. Even if it is impossible to fight 1 against 100, at least 1 against 10 is still possible. What caught Suya the most was actually the level of the giant dragon's training earlier, raising the level earlier. Isn't it good? You must know that the first level arms and the full level arms in the Age of the Lord are completely two concepts with longing. Suya walked to the dragon's nest and began to train the dragon. It costs 6 million gold coins to train the 3-headed dragon. The estimated time is 45 minutes. After training, Suya's gold coin reserves became empty again. Sighing helplessly, Suya left the dragon's nest and I went to the back of the territory, where the spiritual fruit was planted. Chapter 33. It has been 5 days since the spiritual fruit was planted. The seed that was originally the size of a peanut has now turned into a sapling half the height of a person, lush green, with luxuriant branches and leaves. After pouring some water on the spirit fruit saplings, Suya greeted blazingly and rushed towards the orc's secret realm. It is said that since the red armored fire ant nest was built 4 days ago, Suya has not gone to check it. Today, I have time, so I just went to check the situation. The authors of the attribute panels of Eve, Suzir, and Lin Yangxi will be updated to the work related, and interested brothers can go and have a look. Chapter 49. Big changes. The red armored fire ant kingdom. With the whistling of the wind, Suya and Qilai fell from the sky. I checked around the entrance to the orc's secret realm, but found nothing. Only then did Suya enter the secret realm with a blaze just like the previous few times. When Suya and Qilai stepped into the secret realm, they immediately attracted the attention of several blade spiders under Suya's mandatory order. These guys are always on high alert. Even if a mosquito flies into the secret realm, it will be instantly noticed by them with a wave of his hand. Several blade spiders retreated, and Suya rode on blazing, and rushed straight towards the direction where the red armored fire ant's nest was placed. 5 minutes later, Suya arrived at his destination, and the scene that appeared in front of his eyes at this moment stunned him. The small soil bag, which was originally 3 meters in diameter, is now more than 8 meters in diameter. Around this oil bag, there are bucket-sized entrances. Countless red armored fire ants crawl in and out of the cave. Proceed towards the surrounding forest. Of course, if there are those who go out, there will naturally be those who come back. The red-armed fire ants, who came back from the forest, use their mandibles to hold some food and carried it back to the nest. They are all low-level monsters that were killed, or some wild fruits or something mighty, like a caravan. It keeps being transported back. It seems that I haven't seen you for a few days, and this place has become a small kingdom. Suya's approach quickly attracted the attention of a group of red-armored fire ants. These little guys crawled out of the ant nest and ran to Suya. Their fiery red bodies looked very beautiful, and the 2 antennae on their foreheads touched Suya from time to time. After all, it was trained by Suya, so these little guys did not attack Suya. Suya took this opportunity to grab a red-armored fire ant and put it in front of him for a closer look. Qilai at the side seemed a little worried when he saw this, and snorted at Suya. Suya smiled lightly and shook his head. Don't scare the little ones, they are our own now. Zhili blinked his eyes, understood what Suya said, then moved his head away, walked to the side and lay down on the ground, looking into the cave of the red-armored fire ant. Suya was speechless for a while. This guy must have remembered the deliciousness of ant eggs, but with Suya here, Qilai naturally didn't dare to do anything wrong. At most it was just a look teasing the red-armored fire ant in his hand. Suya threw a detection skill at it. Red-armored fire ant Tier 4, Tier 4 grade 1 horsepower, 3000 attack, 550 defense, 150 speed, 120 food consumption, none. The red-armored fire ants are special. Except for a little food needed for training, they usually find food by themselves. Secondly, the number of red-armed fire ants will not be counted into the population of the territory. Skill, bite, open its jaws, bite the enemy, and inject acidic toxins into the enemy, making the enemy feel the tingling sensation of burning flames. Digging, fire ants are good burrow builders, with limbs that slide rapidly to create tunnels underneath. Description, the red-armed fire ants are small in size, but they are group activities. Once you encounter the population, please stay away immediately, because after they find you, they will swarm you and devour you into bones. The reason why ants kill elephants is that please remember the level is only 1 level, so the attributes are not as strong as those I have seen before, but Suya believed that under his leadership, over time, the red-armored fire ant would definitely become his right-hand man. Gently returning the little guy to the ground, Suya checked the information of the ant nest again, as follows: red-armored fire ant nest Tier 4, Tier 4 grade 1 unit, 2632/10000 training template, red-armored fire ant training cost, gold coin 50, food 1 training time, Variable needed for upgrade: wood, stone, iron ore, gold ore, each 2 million, times 16 hours. Suya paid special attention to the quantity, and it is more than 2,600 now. The number is not too high, but as the population of red armored fire ants increases, the growth rate of this number will definitely increase accordingly. After checking to make sure there is no problem here, Suya is ready to go back. Of course, before going back, he didn't forget to remove the 2 blade spiders guarding the vicinity. Now that the red armored fire ants have begun to take shape and have sufficient self-protection capabilities, if the blade spider stays here, it will actually affect the development of the red armored fire ant population. Leaving the nest of red armored fire ants, Suya went to the ore camp again. I harvested 5A level resource packs there, and finally left the secret realm, thinking that I came out anyway. I might as well go to the Purple Centaur secret realm to have a look. Entering the secret realm, Suya was greeted by 20 centaurs because monsters would be refreshed from time to time in the secret territory. The 20 centaurs hadn't been seen for a few days, and their levels had increased a little. The strongest one has even reached level 3. The muscles all over his body have become much stronger, and he looks full of strength. Suya looked quite satisfied, and patted the guy's body. From now on, you will be the leader here. The 3rd level centaur already possessed a lot of wisdom, understood what Suya said, and nodded his thanks repeatedly. Suya thought about it and decided to name this guy. After thinking about it, I finally decided to call it Centaur 1. There is no way. Suya is a household with difficulty in naming, although Centaur 1 is a bit rusty, but the meaning is clear. It sounds like the kind of centaur leader. Centaur number 1 had a name, raised its front hooves, and groaned. Suya didn't stay long, and went to the centaur camp in the center of the secret realm. After harvesting 5S level resource packs and food packs, he left the secret realm riding blazing towards the territory. When Suya flew over the territory, he was quickly attracted by the movement on the ground. Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi are all at the location of Dragon's Nest in the territory. In addition, there are several other figures with a short figure and heavy armor. Isn't he a dwarf? The leader is none other than Vulcan. At this moment, this guy was looking at the 5 giant dragons near the Dragon's Nest, and was incoherent with excitement. Chapter 50. Vulcan's new equipment, S-class weapon. My god, 5 giant dragons, how did the Lord do it? It's lucky to be able to sign a contract with one of these magical and proud dragons, but there are. Just as Vulcan's excited saliva splashed around above the heads of the crowd, there was the sound of howling wind. A huge shadow passed by. Then came the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Suya and Shi Leng are back. Vulcan turned his head and saw that it was Suyi. He was overjoyed and rushed to meet him. Your lord, you are really amazing. I haven't seen you for a few days, and you have 5, oh no, 6 dragons. It's really amazing, Vulcan said. Suya took 2 steps back to prevent the guy's saliva from flying onto his face. By the way, he turned his head and looked in the direction of the dragon's nest. Sure enough, I have been out for nearly 2 hours, and the 3-headed dragon I trained before leaving has been successfully born. They are a flame dragon, a bone dragon, and a silver dragon that has never been seen before. When the 3 newcomers saw Suya, they immediately walked over here. He lowered his raised proud head and rubbed it against Suya's arm. This scene fell into the eyes of Eve, Su Zitter, and Lin Yangxi, leaving them speechless for a while. The 3 were born guarding the 3 giant dragons, but these guys are very proud. After hatching, no matter how the 3 of them tease, they can't make the 3 guys bow their heads. Now that Suya came back, the 3 guys moved forward without saying a word simply, and Vulcan, Warren who came with him, and the other dwarves were even more excited when they saw the scene where Suyi was intimate with the giant dragons. I almost ran up to have a closer look. Of course, the premise is that they can overcome the fear of being close to the dragon. Suyi patted the heads of the 3 guys to show his approval for them. By the way, he looked at Vulcan and asked, come here today? If I'm not wrong, I should have brought the equipment here. Vulcan chuckled, and the golden beard on his chin kept shaking. Your lord, you really know everything well. The equipment you ordered me to build 5 days ago has been completed, and now it is delivered to you. When Suya heard this, his eyes lit up. The new equipment is here, so the feeling is good. Take me to have a look, Suya said. Vulcan nodded and made a gesture of invitation. My lord, please come this way. Suya strode forward, and Eve and Su Kainer quickly followed. They also have a share in the new equipment. Everyone arrived at the open space in front of the Lord's Hall, where several large wooden boxes were placed. Chapter 34. Open it quickly and let the Lord see our masterpiece. Vulcan ordered. Several accompanying dwarves hurried forward and opened several large wooden boxes. Inside the wooden box, there are some armor and weapons. Vulcan took out a long sword from it, swung it twice in the air, and the edge of the sword whistled, extremely sharp. Suyu could feel the threatening aura of this sword from a long distance away. My lord, look at this. This is a weapon I specially created for you. It's called Litaguang Identity. Vulcan introduced. His eyes are full of pride. It seems that he is also very satisfied with his work. Su Yi took Liu Guang and looked it over carefully. It was indeed extraordinary. The handle of the sword is engraved with complex patterns, on the one hand for aesthetics, and on the other hand to prevent slipping. The sword's edge is all silvery white, and under the sunlight, it reflects a dazzling cold light, throwing out a detection skill. Liu Guang's information appeared in Su Yi's mind stream. Retire, S-class occupation, warrior, knight. Additional skills, flowing light slash. When equipped with this weapon, the flowing light slash skill can be activated, and the sword energy will be slashed at a very fast speed, causing double damage to the target. In front description. The streamer blade has undergone special treatment, which can greatly reduce resistance. Every attack will have an additional acceleration effect, so it is named streamer. Glancing at Liu Guang's information, Su Yi's eyes lit up. Sure enough, worthy of being called Vulcan. What he created turned out to be an S-rank weapon and also added a skill called flowing slash. This aids to the value of this sword even more. P.S. Heck, let me tell you something. After writing this, the author decided to classify the equipment after deliberation, so as to better judge the strength. Points. As for the novice equipment before this chapter, forget it. The only ones worth mentioning are Cheyenne armor and Frost Wrath. The author will send the information about these two pieces of equipment to the work. Old buddies can go and have a look, causing reading inconvenience. Please forgive me, not bad, it suits my taste. Suyu praised, and then looked at the other wooden boxes. Vulcan understood, and quickly waved, asking the dwarves to take out all the equipment in the other wooden boxes. They are A-level longbow, sunset bow, A-level staff, judgment rod, B-level leather armor, demon hunting leather armor, and 2 magic robes, magpie feather clothes, sacred robe of heavenly spirit. Don't ask why leather armor and robes are B-level. Dwarves are better at making heavy armor, light armor and various cold weapons. These dwarves are not proficient in robes, staffs and so on. If it weren't for Su Yi's death order, Vulcan would never have thought of doing these things reluctantly. In order to complete Su Yi's mission, Vulcan had no choice but to order the female dwarves in the Warhammer tribe to take out long-preserved materials and make several robes, but the level is not high. This is also impossible. Seeing the newly delivered equipment, Su Yi was full of joy and snapped his fingers. Come up and get the things. When the 3 little girls heard this, they hurriedly leaned over. Chapter 51. The walking plastic mannequin. Ask for flowers, ask for support. This is for you. Su Yi took out the sunset bow from the treasure chest and handed it to Eve. This is a long bow with a gorgeous shape. The bow body is made of unknown materials and carved with many complicated patterns. Hold it gently, and you can even feel the slight warmth coming from the bow. Eve took it, and just glanced at it. A look of surprise flashed in her beautiful eyes. A-level weapons. In our tribe, this is a weapon that only queens can have. Eve exclaimed. Elf archers are not high-level arms, and their strength is not strong. And weak strength means that this race is poor. Yes, it is poor if the strength is weak. How can it occupy precious resources? Without precious resources, how can we create high-level weapons? Therefore, an A-level weapon is considered a rare treasure in the tribe of elf archers. Take it, do it well with me. There will be better ones in the future. Suyu said. Eve blushed pretty, apparently thinking of something else to talk about, but then again, she believed in Suyu. Maybe this guy really has this ability. Caressing the exquisite patterns on the sunset bow, Eve couldn't put it down. You must know that the weapon she used before was only a C-level weapon, but now it is replaced by an A-level sunset bow, which feels like a shotgun. Feeling the faint energy flow in the sunset bow, Eve couldn't help but want to try it a few times with an idea in mind. Eve turned around holding the sunset bow and was about to leave. Suyu was speechless for a while, and shouted at Eve's back, "Are you elves so rude? Can't even say thank you?" Eve paused, turned around and made an elf gesture towards Suyu. Spread your palms flat, diagonally across your chest, and bow. "Thank you, my lord." Eve's pure and sincere voice was quite useful to Suyu. The latter grinned and waved his hands casually. Go. Only then did Eve get up and trot away. On the other side, Suyu changed into a magpie feather dress, which was a very beautiful robe. It is woven from the feathers of some kind of bird creature, colorful and beautiful. As soon as the little girl put on the magpie feather dress, she held the skirt and twirled it around in front of Suyu. "Brother, does it look good?" Suyu nodded repeatedly. You look good in anything you wear." Suyu pursed her mouth when she heard the words, "Bad brother, you are too perfunctory." Suya was speechless. Was he perfunctory? What he said is obviously the truth. My younger sister, Sue Kiner, is right. She is 1.7 meters tall, with a slender figure, coupled with a beautiful face. She is simply a walking plastic model. This magpie feather dress looks really good on her finally. Lin Yangxi also changed into the judgment staff and the heavenly spirit robe with a sudden change. The whole person has risen several grades looking at the new equipment. Lin Yangxi was overjoyed, and thanks Suya. Thank you, Brother Su. After speaking, he blushed and ran away. She has grown so big, but no man has ever given her clothes. Suya is definitely the first one coupled with all the previous events. Suya has already stirred a certain string in Lin Yangxi's heart. Inadvertently the three little girls left one after another. It could be seen that they were quite satisfied with the equipment on their bodies. The three women were all trying on equipment just now, and Vulcan didn't want to bother them now that the three of them left. Vulcan walked into Suya, rubbed his hands, narrowed his small eyes, and looked like he had something to say. Suya quickly swung away, and cast a glance at Vulcan. Speak up if you have something to say. Vulcan smiled and said, Lord, I have an unfeeling request. I hope you can agree to it. Suya frowned, not knowing what medicine to buy in the Vulcan gourd, and motioned for him to continue. Vulcan glanced in the direction of the dragon's lair, looked at the giant dragons, and was rather greedy. My lord, I want to borrow your giant dragon for a few days. Suya was a little confused when he heard that. Vulcan wanted to borrow his own dragon. What kind of drama is this? Seeing that Suya didn't speak, Vulcan hurriedly continued, I don't want all of them, I just want one, the biggest flame dragon over there, and I'll return it to you in 3 days. Saying that, Vulcan pointed to Blazing. This guy is the first giant dragon trained by Su Yi. And he has the highest level, reaching level 3, and his strength is much stronger than the others. This Vulcan knows the goods. As for Su Yi, he was also straightforward and poured cold water on Vulcan. No borrowing. Vulcan's face froze. Don't be a lord, the dragon is really important to me. I only borrow it for 3 days, and I promise to return it to you within 3 days. Suya shrugged. It's not that I don't want to borrow it, but I can't. Seeing that Vulcan still didn't understand what he meant, Suya continued, you also know that dragons are proud creatures. Do you think that if I lend you it, it will obey your command? Vulcan thought about it, and it seemed that he really had this problem. That's a giant dragon. How could such a proud dragon be willing to obey the orders of the dwarves? Realizing this, Vulcan felt a little lost, and lowered his head. Okay then, Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Suya. Tell me first why you borrowed a dragon. Vulcan's eyes lit up, as if he had hope again. He quickly said, the thing is, there is also a dwarf territory north of my Warhammer tribe. They captured one of my mines 2 days ago and killed me. There are quite a few subordinates, so you want to take back the mine with the help of the giant dragon? Suya asked. The corners of his lips curled up. Vulcan nodded. That was exactly what he was thinking. Chapter 52 The Lightning Dragon. Controlling the power of thunder. Okay, I'll accompany you, Suya said. Vulcan was overjoyed immediately. Is this true? Suya glared at him. I said it the day I signed the contract. You are my younger brother. If you are bullied, just tell your elder brother. Vulcan sighed, feeling a little moved. At first he thought Suya was just talking, but he didn't expect it to be true. If Suya can personally participate in this matter, then Vulcan believes that the mine that he was robbed will definitely be able to get back. Then I will thank the Lord first, Vulcan said. Suya waved his hand. Don't be in a hurry to thank me. First tell me the basic information of that dwarf tribe. Since you have robbed your mine, you must be ready to pay the price at any time. Just kidding. Now the Warhammer tribe is Suya's subordinate territory, and 50% of the resource harvest of the territory must be turned over to Suya. Didn't the mine being robbed reduced Suya's resource income in a disguised form? How can this be tolerated? Hearing Suya's words, Vulcan's back shuddered. Hearing what Suya meant, could it be that he wanted to? That's not good. They are also dwarves after all. Suya snorted coldly. Then when they robbed your mine and killed your subordinates, did they treat you as a dwarf? Vulcan swallowed the saliva in his mouth. A trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. What Suya said was not unreasonable. He is the lord of the Warhammer tribe, and he is definitely not an indecisive person to be able to get into this position. Hearing Suya's enlightenment at this moment, Vulcan's anger was instantly ignited, and he clenched his fists. Well, let's fight back, not only to take back the mine, but also to destroy their tribe and make them pay the price. Suya snapped his fingers. That's right. Come with me. Vulcan beckoned to Warren, and the two followed Suya into the Lord's Hall. Afterwards, Vulcan revealed all the basic information about the dwarf tribe who robbed his mine. The cruising tribe is located on a plain 100 kilometers north of the Warhammer tribe. The leader of the tribe is called Jess, and like Vulcan, he is also a well-known dwarf blacksmith, but this guy is insidious and cunning. Mercenary. The tribe has a total population of 1,000, including 500 warriors alone, several times more than the Warhammer Horde, and this is why the Warhammer Horde mine was robbed with few troops. Who do you bully if you don't bully? After telling Suya all the information about the cruising tribe, Vulcan continued, so, when are we going to leave? Suya gently tilted the wooden table with his fingers, and made a soft bang. How many troops do you have? 150 elite fighters. Vulcan said, well, this number is a bit small. Originally it was more than 200, but last time in the battle with Suyi, 70 to 80 were killed. Now that's all there is to it. No wonder they were bullied by the cruising tribe. After calculating the number, Suyi breathed out, it's not a big problem. You go back first, get your soldiers in order, and we'll set off tomorrow. Vulcan nodded. Okay, then I'll go back first. After that, Vulcan took Warren and prepared to leave. Suyi suddenly remembered something, and called Vulcan, who was leaving. Wait a minute. I have another request. Vulcan paused and looked back at Suyi. After capturing the cruising tribe, all the spoils will belong to me, Suyi said. Vulcan agreed with a wry smile. Sure enough, Suyi was as domineering as ever, but it's okay. As long as the cruising tribe can be captured, Vulcan can definitely get a lot of things. At least it's much better than doing nothing. Now after leaving the Lord's Hall, Vulcan led a few dwarves towards the outside of the city, and Suyi also got up and walked towards the dragon's nest. 3 more giant dragons have been added, but I haven't checked their information properly yet. When I arrived at the dragon's nest, I saw that the 3 newcomers had become one with the 3 big brothers, Blazing, Hanbing, and Ziogu, and they got along very well with each other. Seeing Suyi coming, he roared fiercely. The other giant dragons immediately stopped fighting and looked at Suyi. Suyi's eyes swept over their bodies one by one, and finally fell on the silver dragon. This is a new breed that Suyi has never seen before. The body is thin, and the scales all over the body are silver. Under the sunlight, they shone with dazzling silver light, which is very beautiful in terms of appearance. This silver dragon is definitely the most well-deserved number 1 among the 6-headed dragons. What surprised Suyi even more was that from time to time, electric arcs would flash across this giant silver dragon. If you reach out and touch it, you will feel a strong sense of numbness. Throwing out a detection skill, the information of the silver dragon quickly appeared in Suyi's mind. Lightning dragon grade, 10th grade, grade 1 loyalty, 100% life, 150,000 attack, 12,000 defense, 8,000 speed, 500 food consumption, 100 equipment, none skill, divine lightning bombardment. The lightning dragon has the ability to control lightning. It will drop lightning within a 5-meter diameter range on a designated area, causing massive damage to enemies within the ranged thunder pool field. Centering on the user, summon the thunder pool field within a diameter of 50 meters, causing a lot of damage to enemies within the field, and adding a paralyzing and stiff effect lightning boost, in areas with lightning, or in thunderstorms. All lightning damage caused by the lightning dragon will be doubled. Thunder tempering, find a place with thunder and lightning, and the lightning dragon can temper itself to make its body stronger. Description: the giant dragon born in Thunder Pond is born to be able to control lightning. It is very powerful. Its attack has holy damage. It will cause more damage to undead, and dark enemies. Chapter 53 Siege Feast, Flying Arms. Taking a look at the attributes of the lightning dragon, Suya found out this dragon has lower health than other dragons, but has higher attacks and is faster. A typical assassin advance unit with extremely high mobility. A strong electric current surrounds the whole body, which is enough to protect itself, like the red armored fire ant that caused great trouble to Ziogu last time. If it encounters the lightning dragon, it may be a little bit hard to say because of the electric current. As soon as the red armored fire ant gets close to the body of the lightning dragon, it will receive electric shock damage and be paralyzed all over. How can it attack it? Secondly, the lightning dragon also has a characteristic, that is, when there is thunder and lightning nearby, its combat power will increase sharply. For example, in thunderstorm weather, the air is moist and conductive, and there are currents in nature, the strength of the lightning dragon will increase overall. This is a pretty good dragon, Suyi thought for a while, looked at the way this guy kept flickering with electric arcs, and coughed lightly. Since you can control thunder and lightning, why not just call it Silver Thunder? Hearing this, the lightning dragon nodded, accepting the name. The remaining two new dragons were a fire-breathing dragon and a bone dragon. And Suyi also gave them the names Blazing Number 2 and Zyogu Number 2 respectively. It is also for convenience to call it. After setting up the big guys, Suyi began to plan for tomorrow. The cruising tribe, dwarves. Suyi really wants to see what is the way of the dwarves who dare to rob Ulkin. After returning to the Lord's Hall, Suyi took out the resource packs obtained from the Orc Secret Realm and the Centaur Secret Realm, and opened them immediately. Open the basic resource package of the Blue Secret Realm 5, and get 1 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each. Open the Blue Secret Realm Food Resource Pack 5 and get 10,000 units of food. The basic resource pack of the color of opening 5, get wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins of 2.5 million each. Open the Purple Secret Realm Food Resource Pack 5 and get 25,000 units of food. Now, the resource reserves of Suyi's territory are as follows: Lord's Hall Lord, Suyi level 3 Alliance, non-subordinate territory. Warhammer Horde Construction. 32/50 units, Dragon, Tier 10, Centaur, Tier 4, Blade Spider, Tier 4, Goblin, Tier 1, Orc Warrior, Tier 5, Snow Monster, Tier 4, Red Armored Fire Ant, Tier 4, 4th Order, Population 106/500 Timber, 29.61 million stone, 28.86 million iron ore, 29.42 million gold coins, 4.05 million food, 111,661 currency, 77,000 needed for upgrade, wood, stone ore, iron ore, gold coins 1 million each. Taking a look at the amount of resources, there are still pitifully few gold coins, leaving Suyi a little speechless. Although it is less, it can be used. After thinking about it, Suyi decided to raise the territory level once. Other buildings are important, but the territory level must also keep up well. In fact, Suyi has another idea, that is to practice the level before the battle tomorrow. Upgrading a wave of territory will trigger monsters to attack the city, kill monsters, gain experience, and upgrade levels. One-stop service, fully prepared for tomorrow's war. Just do what you say. Suyi called up the control panel and chose to upgrade the territory. It costs 1 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each, and the star domain has been upgraded to level 4. The system's notification sounded, and a progress bar appeared above the Lord's Hall in front of Suyi. The time is 12 hours, with 99% cooling reduction. It only takes 8 minutes. Taking advantage of this gap, Suyi mobilized the 6 giant dragons. Blazing Number 2, Ice, Silver Thunder. They are all flying dragons. They climbed the city wall to fight. As for Zyogu and Zyogu Number 2, they passed through the city gate and guarded the open space outside the city. In addition, 40 blade spiders had to be arranged to board the city wall. Finally, there are 3 little girls. How could such a beautiful mission of siege be without them? Several people boarded the city wall and looked forward through the battlements, a little confused. Brother, what did you call us here for? Su Kainer asked. She joined the star domain for a limited time, and had never experienced even one monster siege, so she was a little confused by Suyi's behavior at this moment. Lin Yangxi was also dumbfounded, looking at Suyi. Suyi didn't say a word, just looked straight ahead of the territory. You will know later. 8 minutes passed quietly, and the sound of galloping and dense footsteps could be faintly heard in the forest 1,000 meters away. In front of the territory there are many, very noisy, like thousands of troops crossing the border, swarming towards this side. Chapter 36. It was the first time for Suzir and Lin Yangxi to see this posture, and they opened their mouths in surprise. This is. Suyi pulled out the streamer from his waist and raised it above his head. Get ready for battle. This is a feast. Feast. Well, this sentence is a bit crazy. No matter in the last life or this life, no matter whether it is a powerful lord or a weak lord, they all avoid monsters attacking the city. It's cool to upgrade the territory, but the premise is that you can stop the monsters from attacking the city. If you can't stop it, it's better not to get promoted. Don't turn the entire territory into ruins with a wave of charge. So every time the territory level is raised, those lords will be fully prepared, even invite allies to defend together. However, Suyi didn't have any worries in this regard. He even called the monster siege after the upgrade of the territory a feast. which is not insane. There are 3 levels of city walls, heavy crossbows, and 6 giant dragons, and there is indeed mad capital looking ahead. Countless monsters turned into dark clouds and rushed towards them. According to preliminary estimates, the number has exceeded 10,000, and it's not a monster with a rank of 10,000. The 3rd tier and 4th tier arms are the mainstream, and there are even some 5th tier arms mixed in. What surprised Suyi a little was that this time the monster attacked the city and even joined the flying unit. That's right, it's the arms that fly in the air. That's an eagle. The wings spread out over 5 meters, and the eagle's beak was bent and extremely sharp. The eagle claws under the body are even more powerful offensive weapons, and one claw is guaranteed to bruise you to pieces. Chapter 54, The Power of the Lightning Dragon. Everyone, be careful in the air, Eve yelled. As if facing a formidable enemy in the direction she was looking at, a troop composed of hundreds of eagle-like monsters was flying towards this side quickly. These guys are capable of flight, are highly maneuverable, and can attack from the air. Suyi's 3rd level city wall did not have the slightest effect on them compared to Eve's worries. Suyi seemed much calmer. He turned his head to look at Yinli and Hanbing, and ordered in a cold voice, "I leave those in the sky to you." Yinli and Hanbing nodded without ambiguity, and with a flick of their wings, they flew into the sky. He collided with the hundreds of eagle monsters that were attacking head-on. The roar of the dragon and the cry of the eagle resounded continuously. It was also at this time that Silver Dragon truly showed its strength. The 2 dragon horns on the top of the head are like conductive antennas, zipping and flashing electric arcs. The moment it got close to the giant eagle, the electric light jumped, and several destructive currents landed on the giant eagle with a bang. The giant eagle who was attacked was stunned, its body became numb, and it lost its ability to fly instantly. Paji fell to the city wall. The 2 blade spiders swarmed up, their sharp forelimbs piercing into the giant eagle's body. It is highly poisonous, and under the double damage of cutting, the giant eagle hiccups in an instant. The initial success of the battle gave Yinli great confidence. With his super fast speed, this guy wandered in the giant eagle camp. Thunder and lightning were continuously released, and giant eagles were electrified from the sky. He even found the right opportunity to release the lightning fields. Zizzy, the sound of dense electric current sounded, and within a radius of 50 meters centered on Yinli, all giant eagles were hit one after another. Their bodies twitched and stiffened, and fell from the sky in just a few seconds. There was an extra vacuum in the giant eagle camp in the air. Yinli showed his might, and Hanbing was naturally not idle, spitting out ice crystals to slow down the attacking giant eagle, then speed up, rush into the dense air of giant eagles, and release domain skills under the same level gap. The freezing effect of the skills in the ice field is almost 100%. More than a dozen giant eagles have not had time to send their sharp claws into the body of the ice. The body was frozen into an ice lump. Whoosh whoosh fell from the sky, drop into the monster camp below, and smash some monsters into meatloaf. The battle situation in the sky had stabilized. Suyi felt relieved, and turned his gaze to the front of the city wall. At this moment, the first batch of monsters have entered the attack range. The 6 elf archers were sharp-eyed, controlling and firing the heavy crossbow continuously. There was a sound of piercing through the air, and crossbow arrows as thick as arms shot out one by one, fall into the monster camp and penetrate some monsters with low defense outside the city gate. Xiaogu and Xiaogu number 2 let out a roar, and their huge bony bodies moved their limbs and charged forward. The dense white bones on their bodies flashed brightly, adding a lot of defense, enough to minimize the damage they received. Blazing and Blazing number 2 were not far behind. They spread their wings and flew down from the city wall, opening the mouth as the breath of the dragon. The flames, which were more than 10 meters long, rushed forward with extremely high temperature burns all monsters within range. What kind of spiders, poisonous snakes, giant wolves, orcs, etc. all screamed miserably. This scene fell into Suyi's eyes on the city wall, which made him very excited. The giant dragon is indeed a giant dragon. Judging from the current situation, even if no other arms participate in the battle, these 6 giant dragons alone are enough to win the battle at most. It's just a matter of time, but what should be done is still worth it. After all, this is a good opportunity to gain experience, so you can't let it go. With a wave of Suyi's hand, the 40-blade spiders hanging upside down on the city wall were ordered to climb down the city wall. One after another combined together, it turns into a sharp knife, piercing the monster camp. A great battle has begun. The arms are very powerful, but it makes Suyi and others feel a little weak and have nowhere to use them. Eve and Suzu are alright. They are long-range attacks, which can kill some sporadic monsters that break through the defense line. Suyi and Lin Yangxi only had to watch the show at the moment, standing on the city wall, staring wide-eyed. The battle came quickly and ended quickly. More than 10 000 monsters were wiped out in less than an hour. The open space in front of the city wall was filled with various resources. Su Yi had no choice but to order that the city gates be opened wide, and 20 goblins enter the battlefield to pick up the spoils. An hour later, the spoils scattered all over the battlefield have been counted. Obtained about 1 million basic resources. The currency is about 13,000 yuan. Several low-level equipment. The harvest is just that, not high, but better than nothing of course. The bigger gain should be the improvement of the unit level after this battle. Many blade spiders who had accumulated a lot of experience points a few days ago were directly upgraded. Blazing number 2, Xiaogu number 2, and Yinlei have also accumulated a lot of experience. I believe that killing some monsters will increase the level. As for the casualties on Su Yi's side, I'm sorry, the 6 giant dragons were unscathed, and the only ones injured were the 2 blade spiders under Lin Yangxi's treatment. She quickly recovered from her injuries. The battle was over. Mingjin withdrew his troops, and it was evening. Su Yi and the 3 girls gathered in the kitchen taking advantage of the break from eating. Su Yi talked about tomorrow's plan. When the 3 girls heard that Su Yi was going to help Vulcan attack another dwarf tribe, they couldn't react for a while. Brother, can't we not go? Su Kainer said she has a conservative personality. I prefer to live and work in peace and contentment, and the ordinary life of self-development. Hearing this, Su Yi showed a stern look on his face. You have to go. If you want to live in peace in this era, the first thing you need to do is to prove your own strength and make others fear you. Blind tolerance will only bring you happiness. It's going to get worse. Received news from the editor that this book will be on the shelves at 12 o'clock in the morning on April 5th, and 10 chapters will be updated at that time. Adding more depends on your mood. Well, depending on the grades, if the grades are good, adding more will not be successful. Question: I won't write any testimonials or anything. I feel that those are all false. Here, I sincerely ask the brothers who support this book to support this book when it is on the shelves. Thank you. Chapter 55. Follow the procedure or do it directly. Ask for flowers, for votes, for all support. After finishing speaking, Su Yi turned and left the kitchen. Su Zir looked at Su Yi's back, and hesitated to speak. Seeing this, Eve patted Su Zir's shoulder. He's right, let go of the kindness in your heart. This world is far more cruel than you imagined. But, Su Zir still hesitated before he could speak. He was interrupted by Lin Yangxi again. I also think that Big Brother Su is right. No matter what time you blindly tolerate, you will only get worse. Take a proper shot, and give the enemy a head-on blow, is the best way to deal with it. Even Lin Yangxi said this, and Su Zir began to waver in her thoughts. Could it be that he is really too kind? With a heavy heart, she finished the rest of the food, and Su Zir left. Time flies. It is the second day. Su Yi woke up early as usual. Today is the day he and Vulcan agreed to attack the cruising tribe together. After breakfast, Su Yi walked to the open space near the city wall in the territory. This is a training ground specially vacated by Su Yi. There are nearly 1,000 square meters. Chapter 37. Following Su Yi's sharp whistle sounded, the 6 giant dragons lurking near the dragon's nest rushed towards this side one after another, and the blade spiders are not far behind. Soon, all the arms in the territory have arrived. 6 giant dragons, 40 blade spiders, 20 goblins, and 6 elf archers. After Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi arrived, Su Yi ordered to leave 20 goblins and 6 elf archers to guard the territory with the dragon and the blade spider. Ready to go. Su Yi rode blazing, Lin Yangxi and Eve rode blazing number 2, and Su Kainer rode hunting. With an order, the legion set off and rushed towards Vulcan's Warhammer tribe, on the other side. In the open space in front of the Warhammer horde, a total of 150 dwarf warriors gathered here. They were dressed in heavy armor, fully armed, and full of energy. Vulcan, Yorick, and Warren stood on the city wall, scanning the neatly lined dwarves below. You are all the bravest warriors in the Warhammer tribe. Just 3 days ago, the cruising tribe to the north of us snatched one of our mines and even killed many of our companions. This is simply unforgivable, so, I announce that today, we, the Warhammer tribe, officially declare war on the cruising tribe. Then, Vulcan and Warren took turns saying some mobilizing words. Mobilize the emotions of the dwarf warriors. Yorick stared at the binoculars all the time, and was overjoyed when he saw a few black spots in the sky at the end of his field of vision. The leader is here. Vulcan took the binoculars and took a look, and sure enough, he found several giant dragons flying towards this side. That was Su Yi and the others. 5 minutes later, Su Yi arrived at the Warhammer tribe with his troops. After a brief handover, Vulcan gave the order to set off. The dwarves got into their chariots and drove north. Su Yi and others followed closely behind. Before departure, Su Yi and Vulcan had already made a simple plan on the only way to the cruising tribe. You will pass through the Twilight Mine, that is, the mine where the Warhammer tribe was robbed. It mainly provides stone mines, iron mines, and gold mines for the Warhammer tribe. The first step of the plan is to take back the Twilight Mine, and then go to the cruising tribe. Half an hour after crossing mountains and ridges, everyone successfully arrived at their destination at the end of Suyi and the others' field of vision. At this moment, there is a huge mine outside the mine. 100 heavily armed dwarves were stationed here, guarding the mine carts full of ore coming out of the mine. Afterwards, the cargo was unloaded, packed and ready to be transported back to the cruising tribe. My lord, the Twilight Mine is ahead. We are. Vulcan pointed to the mine ahead and said, but before he finished speaking, Suyi interrupted him. Don't go through the procedure, call directly. There were only 70 or 80 dwarves, and Suyi didn't pay attention to them. Vulcan, who was backed by Suyi, was much bolder and nodded. All right then, I'll give the order to attack. A minute later, at Vulcan's order, the artillery brought by the Dwarf Legion was ignited and fired. Boom boom boom, there was a loud noise, and the powerful bombs fired by the artillery exploded around the dwarves outside the mine. The artillery stays, and the others follow me. Vulcan drew out the musket at his waist and growled. More than 100 dwarf warriors clenched their weapons and charged behind Vulcan. The scene quickly attracted the attention of the dwarves in the mine. Oops, it's the Warhammer horde, they're fighting back. It's just a defeated general. It's just Vulcan, why should he fight us? That's right, let's go together, kill all the people from the Warhammer tribe, then enter their territory and sleep with their women. The dwarves of the cruising tribe yelled and began to fight back at the back of the battlefield. Suyi looked at the battle in front of him, and drew out his streamer. Let's take action too. As soon as the words fell, 6 giant dragons and 40 blade-edged spiders all launched a charge, sweeping towards the Twilight Mine. Suyi and the others were even faster, and within a minute, they had caught up with Vulcan's troops. Then the two sides joined forces and began to fight. The giant dragon breathed out its breath, made ice crystals, raised its claws, and patted the dwarves of the cruising tribe into meatloaf. The appearance of this scene stunned the dwarves of the Yao Yao tribe. What the hell is this? My god, can anyone tell me what's going on here? Why did the dragon appear here? Bastard, why do those dragons only attack our soldiers? Aren't you so brainless? These giant dragons are reinforcements invited by Vulcan. Withdraw, quickly. Chapter 56. Occupying the mine. The miners defected. The giant dragons have appeared, and they are still beating a fart. Almost all the dwarves of the cruising tribe turned around and ran towards the back of the mine. What's more, they directly got on the chariot and accelerated to escape. Seeing this, Vulcan snorted coldly, his eyes full of disdain. Are they all a bunch of cowards? However, how can the speed of the dwarves compare with the dragon blazing? Bing Bing, Yinli and other giant dragons started chasing fiercely without saying a word. Kill all the dwarves of the wandering tribe who tried to escape. 3 minutes later, Suyi recalled all the troops. This battle was fought beautifully, and almost all the dwarves of the cruising tribe guarding here were wiped out. The only ones who escaped were probably the ones who escaped in chariots, but it doesn't matter, because Suyi's next plan is to break into the base camp of the cruising tribe. At this moment, Vulcan brought the dwarves back to Suyi. Great, I didn't expect to be able to take this place back so easily, Vulcan said. A smile rose from the corner of Suyi's lips. Don't underestimate the strength of the giant dragon. Vulcan was overjoyed. He had built the Twilight Mine with his own hands, and now it was back in his hands, which made him very excited. He greeted a group of dwarves and walked towards the mine. The dwarves in charge of mining inside may not know what happened outside. Suyi had nothing to do, and followed with the 3 daughters sitting on the minecart all the way down. Soon came to a huge cave here. The tinkling sound of mining can be heard endlessly. It was also mixed with the screams and curses of many dwarves. You stupid pigs who eat nothing, hurry up. If you can't complete the task required by leader just today, you will have nothing to eat. Then there were several crisp sounds of the whip being whipped on the body. This made Suyi and the others frown. Vulcan jumped from the minecart and led the 30 dwarves towards the mine. Everyone stop. This place has been occupied by the Warhammer tribe, Vulcan shouted loudly. The 30 heavily armed dwarves behind them even pulled out their muskets and aimed at the miners and supervisors in front of them. The miners looked confused, and under the threat of muskets, they dropped the mine manuscripts in their hands and squatted down with their heads in their hands. The overseers, on the other hand, took out their weapons and prepared to resist. You are from the Warhammer tribe? How did you get in? Get out, or we will be rude to you. Vulcan was furious when he heard this, raised his musket, and pulled the trigger. Bang bang bang. Several of the dwarven overseers, who were known to be slain, were slain, and their bodies fell, their blood soaking the ground beneath them. Vulcan killed the overseer, and the sight fell on the miners, making them even more awed. Trembling back, only then did Suyi and the others see the situation clearly. There were 200 miners squatting on the ground. A small part of them were dwarves, and the rest were enslaved goblins, and some unknown humanoid creatures. Their clothes were ragged, and their exposed skin was covered with welts. What's more, the bones under the flesh could be seen. Combined with what the dwarf supervisors said before, it seems that these miners are not living well here. Vulcan also saw this scene, clenched his fists, and said through gritted teeth, "Jess, the cruel tyrant, is simply the scum of the dwarves." After all, Vulcan climbed up the elevated shelf in the mine, scanning the miners below. "I declare that the Twilight Mine has been occupied by the Warhammer tribe. Wait a minute, we will attack the cruising tribe and completely destroy Jess. And if you are willing to work for my Warhammer tribe, please stay. If you don't want to, you can now leave." As soon as Vulcan finished speaking, a few dwarf miners asked questions. "Joining the Warhammer tribe? Can you manage to eat?" "It doesn't matter, as long as you work diligently. You can eat as much as you want." "Will the Warhammer horde whip us?" "We will only punish the guy who made a mistake, and we will never beat anyone." With Vulcan's promise, several dwarf miners below stood up, raised their hands and shouted, "Okay, I join the Warhammer tribe. I'll join too. Count me in." "Jace, that tyrant, I've had enough." After a burst of shouting, a total of 225 miners in the mine agreed to join the Warhammer tribe. This made the other dozen supervisors fly into a rage. When Chief Jess calls back, "You will regret it." "That's right, then you will be punished tenfold." Vulcan snorted coldly, and gave several supervisors a cold look. "Even if that day comes, you won't see it anymore." Chapter 38. After finishing speaking, Vulcan clenched his fist, and 30 dwarves rushed forward to control the overseers, and those miners who were often bullied by the supervisors were even more crazy. Grabbing each supervisor, "You punched, and I kicked in an extremely inhumane way." The overseers were executed after doing this. Vulcan was about to lead his troops to leave, but was stopped by the miners. "Wait a minute, Leader Vulcan, are you going to attack the cruising tribe now?" asked a prestigious dwarf miner. Vulcan nodded. "Yes, I'm going to seek revenge on the old bastard Jess." When the dwarf miner heard this, he immediately became excited. "Okay, please let me join." The miners behind also raised their hands one after another. And the crowd was excited. "Please take us, kill Jess, destroy the cruising tribe." Seeing the excited miners, Suya was speechless. What kind of guy is this dwarf Jess, that there are so many people against him? It is a miracle to be able to be the leader to this day. Facing the request of the miners, Vulcan did not refuse. With a wave of his hand, he shouted and set off. More than 200 miners followed Suyi, Vulcan and others towards the exit of the mine. Chapter 57. I learned it from you, Lord. I didn't expect you to have such accomplishments in winning people's hearts. Suyi and Vulcan were walking side by side, joking softly. At this moment the corners of Vulcan's lips twitched, and he smiled. I learned this from you, my lord. Suya was speechless. Did he learn from him? Is he that wretched? Shrugging, Suya asked again, looking at you, it seems that you know that Jess very well. What is his background? As soon as these words came out, Vulcan clenched his fists tightly, his face full of hatred. I'm not familiar with Jess. I only dealt with him a few times. I only know that this guy is cruel and unscrupulous. He treats his army very well, but he treats miners at the bottom. Slaves are seriously exploited, so Jess is in the cruising tribe. A polarizing position. Some dwarves support him extremely, and some dwarves spurn his cruelty. After listening to Vulcan's explanation, Suyi already had a vague position in his heart. Before he could speak again, his eyes lit up, and the minecart had already driven out of the mine. 6 giant dragons are neatly arranged in the open space in front of the mine. The miners following behind turned pale when they saw the domineering dragon. After Vulcan's explanation, it was much better. At the same time, they became very curious about Suyi. This human can actually summon a dragon, and is also the immediate boss of the leader of Vulcan. It's not easy. After a brief rectification, the troops set off again. This time, in addition to Suyi and Vulcan's people, more than 200 miners who were exploited and hated Jess to the bone were added. A huge combined army marched mightily towards the cruising tribe. On a plain about 100 kilometers away from the Twilight Mine, a huge city was built here. It covers an extremely wide area and is surrounded by walls that are more than 10 meters high. On the city wall, there are many artillery developed by the dwarves, heavy crossbows, catapults and so on. At the same time, many dwarves took turns patrolling the aisles of the city wall. This is the cruising tribe. Suddenly, on the plain in front of the cruising tribe, a dwarf chariot galloped towards them. There were 3 dwarves sitting in the car. looking embarrassed and panic-stricken after a while. They arrived at the city gate. Quickly open the city gate. We want to see the leader Jess. Yes, we have something important to report. Several dwarves on the city wall saw this, and after confirming the identity of the visitor, they quickly opened the city gate. 3 dwarves drove the chariot into the wondering tribe and go straight to the Lord's Hall. When the 3 of them arrived at the Lord's Hall, they saw a burly and ugly dwarf sitting on the throne, enjoying the massage of 2 female dwarves beside him. He is Jess, the leader of the cruising tribe. 3 dwarves who escaped from the Twilight Mine rushed into the Lord's Hall and knelt down in the open space. Leader Jess, something is wrong. Jess, who closed his eyes and dozed off, was woken up, a little upset, and cursed at the 3 dwarves. You trash, you interrupted my rest, you know? Next time, you should be more conscious and go to the mine to mine. The 3 dwarves were wronged by the scolding, and one of them boldly said, Leader, please calm down, we have something important to report to you, say something quickly, and fart quickly. Jess said angrily. The 3 dwarves looked at each other and continued, Our Twilight Mine has been taken away. What? Hearing this, Jess was instantly furious, pushed the 2 dwarves away roughly, and stood up with a bang. Who did it? It's Vulcan. How dare this guy challenge me? With his strength, how could he capture the Twilight Mine? Did you all grow up eating shit? Jess was furious. The 3 dwarves were about to cry, and then said, No, the leader, Vulcan also brought a dragon. That's right, there are 6 giant dragons in total. They destroyed our defense line, 100 guards, only we escaped. As soon as these words came out, Jess was stunned, and it took him a while to react. Giant dragon? How is it possible? It is a creature that only exists in legends. How could it be with Vulcan? Jess expressed doubts. How could you, Vulcan had? Be right. Why did you get the help of the dragon? This news must be false. Seeing that Jess didn't believe their words, the 3 dwarves gave another explanation. He narrated what happened before vividly, of course. Adding oil and vinegar is indispensable. Seeing the expressions of the 3 subordinates excited, it seems that they are not lying. Only then did Jess reluctantly believe this fact. Boss, what shall we do now? Asked a dwarf. Jess clenched his fists and ordered in a deep voice, Go and gather all our people, climb up the city wall, and prepare for a defensive battle. Vulcan has a dragon, and he captured the Twilight Pit with ease. Then there is no guarantee that this guy will not continue to attack here, regardless of whether the news of Vulcan's cooperation with the giant dragon is true or not. Jess is ready to plan ahead. The 3 dwarves had experienced the scene, so naturally they didn't dare to neglect. They trotted out of the Lord's Hall and began to gather the dwarf warriors in the tribe. On the other hand, Jess rubbed his chin and fell into deep thought. On the other side, Suyi and the others were not slow. After more than an hour, the cruising tribe finally appeared at the end of their field of vision. Vulcan sat on the chariot, raised his binoculars, and glanced in the direction of the cruising tribe. The cruising tribe is ahead. Everyone is ready to fight, after all. Vulcan raised his head and looked above his head. Suyi was flying through the air on blazing. He was going to check the situation. The blazing speed is fast, approaching the cruising tribe from the air. Chapter 58. The siege begins. Ask for flowers, ask for votes, ask for everything. In the cruising tribe, a dwarf put down the binoculars in his hand and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They are coming. Go and notify the leader. The few dwarves behind them looked at each other, not daring to neglect. One of them trotted down the city wall and went straight to the Lord's Hall. Jess, who was fighting with 2 female dwarves, got up from the throne when he heard the news. Take me to have a look. As he spoke, he grabbed his sledgehammer and ran towards the city wall. Ascending the city wall, Jace glanced at the plain ahead. Sure enough, I saw a small army approaching here, and above the head of this army, there are several huge monsters flying. It wasn't until this time that Jess really realized that something was wrong. He kicked the dwarf in front of the binoculars away, and leaned over to take a look, and suddenly his face turned pale with shock. More than 300 dwarves were driving chariots and pushing artillery, and they were coming here. However, these were not what worried Jace the most. What worried Jess the most, and even made him nervous, were the huge flying objects over the dwarf army. That's a giant dragon. Damn, who can tell me what happened? How could this bastard Vulcan have something to do with a dragon? Jess was furious. The dwarves around looked at each other in blank dismay. How could they know this question? Boss, shall we still fight now? A dwarf wearing fine plate armor and only slightly smaller than Jess asked. His name is Velid, and he is the second in command in the cruising tribe. Jess looked a little annoyed, and after hearing this, he punched the city wall with a fist. Why don't you fight? Let the artillerymen, catapults, and heavy crossbows get ready. Once the dragon gets close to the attack range, greet them well. and it will be regarded as an attack. The dragon, too, will fall under my cannon. There is no way. Vulcan has brought people to the door of the house. This battle must be fought. As for summation or surrender, these two words are not in Jess's dictionary. Hearing this, Willard didn't dare to be negligent, and quickly spread Jess' order to the entire army on the walls. All the dwarves sprang into action. Chapter 39. Shake the handle of the cannon, raise the muzzle, and aim it in the air. Boulders are also placed in the catapult, ready to launch at any time. There are also heavy crossbows, crossbow arrows the thickness of a human arm, which are loaded into the firing position in the air. Suyi rode blazing, and had rushed to the sky above the cruising tribe. This scene fell into Jess' eyes, and he regarded it as a provocation. Attack, knock this big guy down from the sky for me. I heard that the armor made of dragon scales is extremely hard, so I can give it a try. Following Jess's order, the ready to continue artillery, catapults, and heavy crossbows were all fired. Boom boom boom, whoosh, the sound of piercing the air sounded, and bombs, boulders, and crossbow arrows flew into the sky in midair. Suyi rode blazing, and when he saw the attack, he dodged directly. Taking this opportunity, Suyi glanced at the city wall below, and had a basic understanding of the defensive power of the cruising tribe. Blazing easily avoided the first wave of attacks. A second wave of attacks followed. Chilai has a bad temper. These humble and lowly dwarves dare to attack it, which is so high up. This is unbearable. Roar. Blazing continued to make dragon chant sounds, and the sound waves swept towards the cruising tribe, making many dwarves dizzy. Suyi understood the meaning of blazing. This guy probably couldn't help but want to make a move. That being the case, then don't worry about it, let's do it. It just so happened that Vulcan had already brought a large army over. The two sides entered the attack range of each other. Attack! Suyi pulled out a streamer and held it in his hand. As soon as the voice fell, he rushed out with a blazing howl that couldn't wait. A boulder that flew head-on. The crossbow arrow was slapped away by a blazing claw. The huge body turned into a shadow, crushing from the air at an extremely fast speed. When he was close to the city wall, he opened his mouth and breathed out a dragon's breath. Blazing flames shot out from the blazing sky and swept across the city wall. The terrified dwarves had no time to dodge, and their bodies were ignited by the dragon's breath. This made Jess and Willard confused. They underestimated the strength of the dragon too much. That's it for one end, but there are 6 heads on the opposite side. Hanbing, Yinli, and Blazing number 2 followed Blazing's footsteps and were already close to the city wall. Throw the attack unreservedly on the dwarves below the city wall. Xiaogu and Xiaogu number 2 moved their heavy and huge bodies, approached the city wall, raised their claws and started digging. The city wall made of granite made a creaking sound, and its durability decreased rapidly. Attachment: this work comes from the internet and published books. The work is only for readers to preview. Please delete it within 24 hours of downloading. It cannot be used for commercial purposes. If you think this book is good, please buy the genuine book. Thank you for your support to the author. Key points: I hope you can keep this paragraph if you reprint it. It's a bit hard to organize, but retention is a virtue. With the speed of these two guys, I am afraid that it will take less than 2 minutes for the city wall to break a big hole in the rear. Vulcan saw that the 6 giant dragons had firmly suppressed the dwarves of the cruising tribe. He was overjoyed and gave up fiddling with the artillery he brought. Wielding his warhammer, he rushed forward. Kill more than 100 elite warriors of the Warhammer tribe, and more than 200 miners who hated Jess very much rushed here with great momentum on the city wall. Jess swallowed a mouthful of saliva and shouted, "What the hell are you doing? Fight back! Fight back!" Immediately, as he said that, he raised his giant hammer to resist the blade spider climbing up from under the city wall. Willard regained his composure and followed Jess to counterattack. The dwarves of the cruising tribe, after a short period of panic, immediately entered a fighting state to meet the enemies outside the city. But what's the use of this? Suyi's giant dragon and the blade spider had already approached. At such a close distance, the dwarves' heavy crossbows, catapults and artillery could not be used at all. As for muskets, this powerful simple thermal weapon is somewhat threatening, but only a little threatening, still unable to resist the approach of the dragon. Chapter 59, a complete victory. Occupying the cruising tribe, a scuffle broke out, and Suyi rode blazing, crazily wreaking havoc on the city wall on the left and right. Hundreds of dwarves rushed towards this side. However, in the next moment, they turned into blazing materials that ignited the fireworks. A dragon's breath passed, and the dwarves within the range instantly became scorched black. The iconic beard was charred up to the root, the skin festered, and the eyes were blinded by the heat. The shrill screams sounded, declaring the cruelty of war. It ran fiercely and swept across the city wall. It was already powerful, But with a 30% attribute increase of Suyi's meaningless domain, it became even more invincible. Dwarf attacks can only do single-digit damage to it. The life value of more than 300,000 remains high, making the dwarves feel desperate. Run away, we can't be the dragon's opponent. At this moment, no one shouted. It instantly resonated with all the surviving dwarves. Nearly 100 dwarves resolutely gave up the fight and fled towards the city wall. Jess stomped his feet as he watched, drew out his musket and fired several shots at the fleeing dwarves. Whoever dares to escape, I will kill him. Jess's voice was not small, but in the symphony composed of explosions, gunshots, screams, dragon chants, and curses all around him, he seemed so powerless that he was instantly drowned out. Then, if the dwarves should escape, they still have to escape, and if they don't escape, they will lose their lives in an instant. At the same time, the army led by Vulcan has also attacked the city walls. Iogu and Ziogu No. 2 worked together to withstand the attacks of the dwarves and scratched through the city wall, leaving a big gap. Rush in and kill all the rebels, Vulcan shouted. Bear the brunt, leading the dwarves through the gap and into the city. Inspired by the dragon, the dwarves of the Warhammer tribe are as brave as chicken blood. They are not afraid of death and are very heroic. On the other hand, the dwarves of the cruising tribe have already been defeated. The second in command, Velid, was also killed in the melee, and his body was trampled into meatloaf by other dwarves. Jess went completely crazy, holding a giant hammer and trying to avenge Velid, but Yinlei found the right opportunity. An electric shock instantly rendered him incapacitated. The three-headed blade spider approached with lightning speed. The sharp forelimbs covered in venom had pierced Jess' neck. Jess screamed and fell to the ground. Foaming at the mouth, the leader died, and the dwarves of the cruising tribe lost their command instantly. The remaining 200 or so dwarves almost gave up resistance, dropped their helmets and armor, and ran towards the city. Vulcan seized the opportunity and shouted on the city wall, "Give up resistance and gather here." The Warhammer tribe treats prisoners preferentially. Anyone who resists will be killed. The other dwarves of the Warhammer tribe also shouted, and the voice was loud, spreading throughout the city of Yaoi. Many of the defeated cruising tribe dwarves turned back one after another and squatted down in the open space behind the city wall with their heads in their hands. Seeing this scene, Vulcan almost burst out laughing. Order 10 dwarves of the Warhammer horde to search the city. As for himself, he ran up to Suyi, beaming with excitement. "My lord, your giant dragon is really powerful. Before this moment, I never dared to think that this battle would end so quickly." Suyi jumped off Blazing's back and patted Vulcan's shoulder. "Now do you still regret being my subordinate territory?" Vulcan shook his head like a rattle. "No regrets, no regrets. I, Vulcan, have never regretted it." Suyi grinned and folded his hands on his chest. "Okay then, don't be fooled. Immediately search the whole city to control everyone, and find all the resources, to help Vulcan attack here." What Suyi values most is resources. The scale of the cruising tribe in front of them is larger than that of the Warhammer tribe, so there must be a lot of money. This trip should be worth it. Vulcan understood Suyi's meaning and nodded. "I understand. Don't worry." As he spoke, he called his subordinates to start counting the prisoners. More than 200 miners in the Twilight Mine have also obeyed orders from Vulcan. Help the dwarves of the Warhammer horde search the city. Among these miners, many were originally dwarves from the Wandering tribe, but they were relegated to the mines to mine because of mistakes. These dwarves are quite familiar with the structure of the cruising tribe. With their guidance, Vulcan's work became easier. Soon, most of the cruising tribes were under control. On Suyi's side, 3 women walked in from outside the city. They had just finished counting the number of troops on Suyi's side. "How about the casualties?" Suyi asked. The 3 girls looked at each other, and Eve said, "The 6 giant dragons have lost some health and are recovering now. 1 of the blade spiders died, 2 were seriously injured, and 5 were slightly injured. Under Yangtze's treatment, they have recovered a lot." After listening to the casualty report, Suyi frowned, and then let go. Fortunately, the casualties were not large, but it wasn't what Suyi wanted most. The result he wants should be that they all survive. In the Age of Lords, it is wrong to continuously train recruits, especially for high-level arms. Each unit is expensive. If the casualties are serious, how can there be so many gold coins for training? Secondly, the more battles a combat unit participates in and the longer it survives, the higher its level and combat experience will be. To put it simply, the difference between veterans and recruits, the cost is the same, and veterans are better than recruits. Therefore, in the middle and late stages of the Lord era, almost all lords will be very concerned about the casualties of their own arms. Every time I lose a high-level unit, my heart will be so distressed that I will die. Chapter 40. Suyi, of course, was the same. Chapter 60. Suyi, I suggest, kill them. It took a total of 2 hours to clean up the cruising tribe. 2 hours later, all the surviving dwarves in the cruising tribe gathered in the open space behind the city wall. Soldiers are stripped of weapons and armor. The woman, the children separated to one side. Vulcan led Warren to stand on the high platform and lectured the dwarves as a victor. The general meaning is that Jess has burped, his reign is over, and now, the great Vulcan leader occupies the tribe as captives. Are you willing to join the Warhammer horde? The dwarves below looked at each other, hesitant. In the battle 2 hours ago, their comrades in arms, their men, as well as their father and son, died on the battlefield, but now, the victors of the war are arrogantly persuading them to obey. It has to be said that this is cruel, but war is like this. All the dominance is in the hands of the victor, just like the last battle between Suyi and Vulcan. Suyi was the winner, so he forced Vulcan to sign an unequal subordinate territory contract. The current cruising tribe and the Warhammer tribe at that time had almost the same fate. They are losers, they have no dignity. Under the repeated persuasion of Vulcan and Warren, the first batch of dwarves began to defect. This is a group of female dwarves, with their children, who expressed their willingness to join the Warhammer tribe. No way, because of their gender. They don't have much fighting power, let alone the courage to fight the enemy. If you don't join the Warhammer horde, what awaits them is death and worse results than they are now. Vulcan readily accepted the addition of the female dwarves. It just so happens that there are still many bachelors in the Warhammer tribe, and now even the problem of marriage has been solved. As for the children brought by those female dwarves, this Vulcan naturally has a way to deal with them all put together, trained as warriors, and slowly brainwashed to prevent these kids from growing up to avenge their father. The joining of women and children shook the hearts of dwarf warriors and some old men. An hour later, all but a few diehards had chosen to join the Warhammer horde. There are 509 people in total, including 125 soldiers, 238 women, and the rest are children and the elderly. Seeing that the situation was almost over, Suyi walked behind Vulcan and glanced at the stubborn dwarves. How are you going to deal with them? Vulcan gritted his big yellow teeth and thought for a while. Let's be reduced to a minor. Hearing this, Suyi shook his head, and said coldly, you're not afraid of them making trouble for you behind your back? Vulcan's expression changed, and he looked at Suyi. A stern look flashed in the eyes of the latter, and he said lightly, in an extraordinary time, take extraordinary measures. I suggest you. Suyi didn't say the latter words directly. These dwarves are thorns, and they are unwilling to give in under such circumstances, which means that their hearts are always thinking about revenge. Even if he is demoted to a minor, he will do things for Vulcan from time to time. There is even the possibility of a resurgence. Therefore, cutting the weeds and eradicating the roots is the best choice. Vulcan naturally thought of this too, but he is also a dwarf, so he has goodwill towards the captive who is also a dwarf. After being pointed out by Suyi, Vulcan made up his mind and nodded at Suyi. I understand. It will be arranged. It would be inappropriate to trouble these people in public, so Vulcan decided to turn a corner. As long as these people are in his hands, they will naturally be unable to escape. After the captives are settled, it's time to search for resources. Destroying the warehouse gate of the cruising tribe, Vulcan, Suyi and others broke, and there are piles of various resources piled up in the huge warehouse under the shelf on the other side. There are several resource packs. Suyi was also polite, and stepped forward to accept those resource packages. 2 S-level resource packs, 1 A-level resource pack, 3 B-level resource packs, and 1 currency resource pack are full of rewards. Sure enough, invasion and conquest is the fastest way to get rich. Of course, the premise is that you have enough strength and enough to afford the loss of launching an invasion war. In addition to the packaged resource packs, there are still a lot of scattered ores piled up in the warehouse of the cruising tribe, which are not many. Suyi had no interest in these, so he simply left it to Vulcan. After putting away the resource pack, Suyi ordered Vulcan to make statistics on the secret realms occupied by the Yang tribe. 2 white secret realms, 1 green secret realm, and 1 blue secret realm. The daily output of basic resources is 50,002, 100,001, 200,001, a total of 400,000 outputs. Food is the output of 2,700, which is not a lot. The cruising tribe was captured, and these secret places naturally fell into Vulcan's hands. As for Suyi, the star domain is too far away, so Suyi doesn't plan to take care of these secret realms directly, but hand them over to Vulcan for management. Just hand in 50% of the output resources to Suyi every week. Naturally, Vulcan had no opinion on this. After finishing all the matters here, Suyi didn't stay any longer, and rushed back with the 3 women and his own army. Now the sky's getting dark. If I don't go back, I'm afraid I will stay in this cruising tribe for the night. Suyi didn't have this habit. Riding a giant dragon, facing the strong wind, he rushed all the way to the Starfield territory. The night is coming, and the monsters refreshed in the wild have become quite active. When Suyi and the others encountered them, they were not polite, and strangled them directly, gaining a lot of experience points after rushing for more than 2 hours. The 4 flying dragons took Suyi and the 3 girls back to the territory first. As for the blade spider and the 2 bone dragons, they are relatively slow, and they are still walking slowly on the road, falling from the sky. The 4 of them shed their exhaustion, rested for a while, and began to prepare dinner. Chapter 61. Wantonly capture the secret realm. The next day, after Suyi had breakfast, he took out the resource packs he got from the cruising tribe yesterday, and opened them all. The opening level resource pack gets 5 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each. Open the resource pack to get wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins of 2.5 million each. The opening level resource pack gets 1 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each. Open the currency resource pack and get 500 currency. After all the resource packs are opened, the reserve resources of the star domain have greatly increased, and the details are as follows. Lord's Hall, Lord, Suyi level 4 Alliance, no subordinate territory, Warhammer tribe building. 32 arms. Giant Dragon, Tier 10, Half Centaur, 4th Tier 4, Blade Spider, 4th Tier 4, Goblin, 1st Tier, Beast Warrior, 5th Tier, Big Snow Monster, 4th Tier 4, Red Armored Fire Ant, 4th Tier 4, Population 10 Timber, 420,000 stone, 410,000 iron ore, 420,000 gold coin, 190,000 food, 10 currency, 14 upgrade required. Wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins are 5 million each. Wood, stone ore, and iron ore breaking through the 40 million mark. Even the gold coins have saved nearly 20 million. What pleased Suyi most was the currency. There are 140,000. This number is not big, but it is enough to buy a lot of good things. When the market opened, suppressing the joy in his heart, Suyi began to distribute the resources obtained. This time the gold coin is 1.95 million, say more or less. On the other hand, in the Starfield territory, there are too many places that need money. Upgrade buildings, train arms, expand barracks. Considering the next plan, Suyi decided to use the existing gold coins to continue training arms. There are still three secret realms waiting for his strategy. The white and green secret realms can be penetrated easily, except for that purple secret realm. You must prepare in advance. And now Suyi's 2 favorite units are the giant dragon and the special unit blade spider. Therefore, the violent soldiers this time are mainly these 2 types of arms. Thinking of this, Suyi walked towards the dragon's nest. Prepare to allocate funds, 8 million, to train all the 10 places in the first level dragon nest in the open space next to the dragon's lair. The giant dragon blazing is still there, sleeping soundly. Sensing Suyi's approach at this moment, they all woke up and looked at their master. Suyi was also unambiguous and started training directly. It costs 8 million gold coins to train 4 giant dragons. The prompt sounded, and a progress bar appeared on the top of the dragon nest. Training begins. Suyi didn't bother to wait, and turned around to walk towards the location of the blade spider's nest. For the second level spider nest, the maximum number of training units is 50. The only way to train more units is to upgrade the building. It costs 4 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each to upgrade the level of the blade spider's nest. It is expected to take 36 hours. The reminder sounded, and a progress bar appeared on the top of the blade spider's nest. Scrolling slowly, taking advantage of the gap between training and upgrading, Suyi walked around the territory. I observed the growth of the spirit fruit tree. It is already more than 1 meter high, but it should take a lot of time before it blooms and bears fruit. After Suyi turned around and went back, the upgrade of the blade spider nest has been completed, and the information is as follows. Blade spider lair, level, Tier 4, level 4. 3 units. 50 training template, blade spider training cost. 10,000 gold coins. Training time. 10 hours needed for upgrade. Wood, stone, iron ore, and gold mine are 8 million each, and the time is 96 hours. Trainable units increased from 50 to 200. Don't talk much, directly install row. Spend 7.5 million gold coins to train the blade spider. 50. Don't ask why Suyi only trains 50 blade spiders. It's really not enough money. The notification sound fell, and Suyi's gold coin reserve swished, bottoming out again. A little speechless, but helpless. It takes 10 hours to train 1 blade spider, even if Suyi has 99% cooldown reduction. It will take at least 5 hours to train 50 blade spiders. Suya is not in the mood to sit here and wait. Return to the Lord's Hall, greet the 3 little girls and get ready to go. When exploring around the territory before, Suya and others discovered three secret realms, namely a white secret realm, a green secret realm, and a purple secret realm. Now, Suya decided to occupy the white secret realm and the green secret realm first. Chapter 41. As for the purple secret realm, we have to wait a little bit longer, and it won't be too late to go after the 50 blade spiders and giant dragons are trained. After receiving Suya's order, the 3 girls did not hesitate, and immediately set off with Suya's 6 giant dragons and 40 blade-edge spiders were dispatched together, heading straight for the white secret realm. It was an entrance hidden in the dense jungle, with a faint white light shining. The level is very low, so Suya and the others don't need to make more preparations. Pass through the entrance, and enter the secret territory. The monsters entrenched here are goblins. Those are some arms that are very similar to goblins. The only difference is that these guys are bigger than goblins. There are 300 first-order goblins, but so what? They were frightened by the giant dragon and crawled to the ground within minutes, not daring to move. Then Suya and others swept all the way, and it only took 20 minutes to successfully occupy this white secret realm. After capturing the goblin camp, Suya obtained 500,000 basic resources and 1,000 units of food. Then there is the secret authentication. After completion, the information is as follows: Goblin territory, level, white-owned lord, Suya timber. 0000 stone mine. 0000 iron ore. 0000 gold coin. 0000 food. 0 garrison strength, none. After all, it's just that in the white secret realm, the daily resource output is not much, only 50,000, but it's better than nothing. Leaving 5 blade spiders stationed in the secret realm, Suya left the goblin camp with the rest of the army, and went straight to the green secret realm. This secret place is far away. When Suya and others arrived, it was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't hesitate, just go straight in. The troops stationed in this secret territory are timber wolves. A giant wolf with a head and body length of more than 2 meters is majestic. However, they were still no match for Suya's army. 30 minutes into the camp, successfully gained 1 million base resources and 5,000 units of food. After certifying the ownership of the secret realm, you can obtain 100,000 basic resource output per day and 500 units of food output. The specific information is as follows: territory of Timberwolves, level, green-owned lord, Suya timber. 0000 stone mine. 0000 iron ore. 0000 gold coin. 0000 food. 0 garrison strength, none. After making all the arrangements, Suya leave the 5-headed blade spiders stationed in the secret realm, and rush to the territory with the rest of the troops. After returning to the territory, it was dusk, the golden crow was slanting towards the west, and the golden afterglow of the setting sun fell on the ground, and the scenery looked extremely beautiful. As soon as it fell from the sky, a resounding dragon chant came from the direction of the dragon's nest. A new dragon has been born. Surprised in Suya's heart, he quickly walked towards the dragon's nest. The new book is on the shelves, and the follow-up preview: Capture the Purple Secret Realm, Develop the Second Territory. The market will continue to open, so stay tuned. Chapter 62. Is it possible to bring goblins to the Purple Secret Realm? Second, more for subscription. Come to Bahua. Vote for your support. Thank you guys. After Suya arrived at the dragon's nest, he found 4 new dragons appearing in the open space in front of the dragon's nest. It's a pity that there are no new types of dragons this time. 4 giant dragons, namely a flame dragon, 2 frost dragons, and a lightning dragon. Zhi Li and Han Bing, who just came back from the battle with Suya, waited for the big brother to see his new partner. Immediately welcome up. The scene of 10 giant dragons playing together is very visually impactful. After the dragons got to know each other, Suya coughed lightly, attracting the attention of all the dragons in the field. 10 huge dragon heads looked towards Suya. The light of piety and respect flashed in the big copper bell eyes. Suya is the lord who summoned them, and the 2 parties signed a master-servant's contract secretly for Suya, the sole master. Even a proud dragon would put down his airs. After hesitating for a moment, Suya gave the new 4-headed dragon a name. They are called Blazing Eye, Ice Eye, Ice Eye, and Silver Thunder Eye. At present, the 10 training places of Dragon Nest have all been taken up. If you want to continue training the dragon, you can only increase the level of Dragon Nest, and upgrading the level of Dragon Nest requires 1.6 million basic resources, such as wood, stone ore, iron ore, etc. Suya can afford it now. Only gold coins are hard to describe. It seems that blindly training high-level troops is not a good thing if the economy can't keep up. Everything is empty talk. Sighing softly, Suya turned and left the dragon's nest, and walked towards the blade spider's lair. Here, 5 hours of training has been completed, and a total of 50 newly trained blade spiders are densely entrenched near the nest. The compound eyes blinked and blinked, and under the bright light, they looked like red lights. Makes one feel a little creepy, but Suya got used to it, took a look, and after confirming that there was nothing wrong with it, he invested all the 1.5 million gold coins he got today. There are 10 blade spiders in total. The training continues. Time flies. It is already the second day according to Suya's plan yesterday. Today he will lead the army to attack the Purple Secret Realm. Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi have no opinion on this. After getting along for a period of time, they had 100% convinced Suya. Not much to say. After finishing the reorganization, several people set off with a legion. 10 dragons, and 9 blade spiders. Suya now has 110 blade spiders in total, but 20 of them are stationed in the Blue Orc Secret Realm, the White Goblin Secret Realm, and the Green Forest Wolf Secret Realm. Therefore, Suya can mobilize only 90 blade spiders at this stage. With the addition of 10 giant dragons, it should be almost enough to attack the Purple Secret Realm out of the territory. The legion galloped all the way, crossed several mountains, and finally arrived at the entrance of the Purple Secret Realm, nearby. But just as Suya and the others fell from the sky, Su Kainer suddenly let out a soft cry. Look, there are people over there. Suya and the others looked in the direction Su Kainer pointed. As expected, there were 3 people standing at the entrance of the Purple Secret Realm. Su Kainer let out a soft cry, and caught the attention of the 3 people. Seeing the lineup of Suya and the others, the 3 of them instinctively stood up. Go and have a look, Suya said, and walked towards the entrance of the Purple Secret Realm. First the 3 women followed closely behind, followed by 10 giant dragons and 90 blade spiders. The momentum was so loud that it made the scalps of the 3 people on the opposite side tingle. Seeing that Suya didn't intend to stop at all, among the 3 of them, a young man with yellow hair spoke. Stay here, everyone. We Tiger Territory first discovered this secret realm. Our lord has already led troops in. Everything should be done first. First come first, everyone. Let's go elsewhere. Suzy was a little anxious when she heard the words, and said lightly, obviously we discovered it first, but you snatched it first, so the one who should go elsewhere should be Suzy. Hadn't finished speaking when she was interrupted by Suyi raising her hand. He looked at the yellow hair and threw out the detection skill name, Li Shan. Occupation, Knight Template, Level 3 Command Power, 36 Health Points, 15 Attack, 26 Defense, 40 Speed, 11 Equipment, Skills. Looking at the other 2, they are all about the same level and attributes. Su Yi looked at Huang Mao and the other 3 with great interest. How long ago did your lord go in? The yellow-haired 3 looked at each other, a little confused why Su Yi asked this. 5 minutes ago, Huang Mao wrote. Hearing this, Su Yi snapped his fingers. Okay, let's wait a little longer. Your lord will come out soon. As soon as these words came out, Wang Mao and the others were even more confused. What do you mean by that? Su Yi smiled, but didn't answer, but asked the 3 girls to find a clean place to sit down. Brother, what are you doing? Suzy tugged at Su Yi's sleeve and asked in a low voice before Su Yi could answer. Eve was the first to speak out. The monsters stationed in the Purple Secret Realm are at least level 7. These people are not strong enough. Even if they have already entered, they will not be able to defeat them at all. After Eve finished speaking, Su Yi nodded. That's right, let's wait and see the show. The 3 yellow-haired people in front were a little apprehensive, and when they were about to ask Su Yuan for clarification, the secret place behind them suddenly flashed with light. A figure fell out from the secret realm. The yellow-haired 3 were terrified, and hurriedly dragged the man up. Lord, what's wrong with you? My God, how could this happen at this moment? The person who came out of the secret territory is the Lord of the Tiger Territory. However, his condition was not good. The chainmail on his body was torn, revealing shocking wounds with bone deep visible. His face was terribly pale, and his breath was like gossamer, as if he was about to burp at any time. Go quickly, we can't break through this secret realm, the Tiger Lord continued intermittently. Wang Mao was anxious, but we still have other people in the secret realm. Let's go like this. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by the Tiger Lord. Leave them alone, they're all dead. The yellow-haired trio thumped in their hearts. What the hell, are they all dead? There are dozens of people, and there are more than 100 soldiers. They are all dead. This is fake. The Purple Secret Realm is refreshed with high-level troops. With your current strength, go in. There is only one outcome. At this time, Suyi's voice came from the side. Wang Mao and the others followed the prestige. And Suyi and the others had already stood up and walked towards this side with their troops. Several people stepped aside quickly. Then he watched Suyi and others enter the secret realm with his own eyes. At this time, no one dared to say that they discovered this secret realm first. If you find out what is useful first, you must have the strength to take it down. If the strength is not enough, I am afraid that even your life will be lost. Chapter 63 Tier 7 Soldier, Giant Slinger. The purple secret realm is certainly good, but the problem is that in this level of secret realm, all the high-level troops are stationed. If you don't have enough strength, you can't take it down at all. Those people in the tiger territory just ignored this fatal problem, which led to the current result. Is it possible to bring goblins to the purple secret realm? On the other side, Suyi and others have passed through the entrance of the secret realm, and appeared in another space. Looking around, everyone is now halfway up a mountain. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. There are many such stretching mountains around. The vegetation is sparse, and all you can see are some big rocks that are exposed, and in the open space ahead, there were many corpses lying here and there. There are humans, goblins, and goblins. These corpses were horribly dead, their brains burst, and some body parts were even smashed into meatloaf. It looked extremely disgusting. Needless to say, these corpses must have been left by the people in the tiger's territory. Just now looking around, I saw many corpses, but none of the monsters were seen, which made the four of them a little confused. Strange, why don't you see any monsters? Su Kainer frowned, looking around in confusion. Suyi also felt a little strange. He ordered everyone to stay where they were, but he climbed onto Blazing's back, signaling to move forward. Fiercely talented and bold, he moves forward with all his limbs. Still haven't found any monsters. This is very abnormal. After all, it is a purple secret realm, so it stands to reason that monsters should be very alert. This point can be seen from the fate of those tiger territory members. But now he walked a certain distance forward, just as Suyi was about to jump off Blazing's back and take a closer look around. Suyi's remaining Blazing suddenly sensed something. His wings shook violently, and brought Suyi up from the ground beside where Qilai was standing just now. A pile of rubble exploded violently. Then stood a huge figure over 5 meters tall. The body is bloated, and the body is completely constructed of huge stones. As soon as this thing appeared, it raised a stone the size of a millstone and threw it in a blazing direction. Qilai avoided it easily, and uttered a dragon roar to show his anger. The sound of the dragon's chant fell, instantly stabbing the hornet's nest. The stone mountain below Suyi made dense crackling sounds. I saw a stone giant with a height of several meters standing up slowly. It wasn't until this moment that Suyi understood why the monster that came in just now was not found. These guys of emotion are all lurking, disguised as big rocks. And they can't be distinguished at all now that they were awakened by the blazing heat. They woke up one after another. Go back, Suyi patted Blazing, meaning, and flapped his wings to rush back. Taking this opportunity, Suyi threw one at the stone giant below. Stone throwing giant, level 7 level. 1 health. 15 attack. 25 defense. 40 speed. 12 skill, rocking. Activate this skill to make your body stronger, more powerful, and increase your stamina by 30%. Defense. Throwing stones. Pick up the nearby huge rocks and throw them forward, which can cause huge damage to the target. This skill is effective for buildings. The longest distance for throwing stones is 50 meters. Ground trampling. Leap high, hammer the ground, causing huge damage to the fan-shaped area in front of you, with a 30% chance to stun the enemies within the range. This skill is the target whose rank is higher than itself is invalid. Description: the magical race born in the boulder plain, has a strong physique composed of rocks, has long-range attack capabilities, infinite strength, and amazing defense, but is very afraid of water. Glancing at the attribute panel that appeared in his mind, Suyi understood throwing giant, a meat shield type unit, has thick blood, high defense, high attack power, but slow speed. But because of its ability to attack from a distance and cause damage to buildings, this type of arm is used a lot in later generations. Even in the previous life, Suyi himself had a siege team composed of giant stone slingers. Those guys are mobile catapults, which can play a very important role in both siege and defensive battles. As for the weakness, these guys are afraid of water. Once they encounter water, their movement speed will be reduced, and they may even fall apart. Riding Blazing and falling from the sky, Suyi returned to the side of the little girls. What kind of monster is that? It's so big. Lin Yangtze pointed to the stone slinger in the distance and said. Her little face turned pale. Suyi showed a serious face, and explained, the 7th level catapult giant has high health, high defense, and high attack, but slow speed and long-range attack ability. It is a difficult opponent. The three girls looked at each other when they heard the words, then shall we still fight? Suzy said. Suyi turned to look at the slinger, with a deep light in his eyes. Hit, why not? After that, Suyi waved his hand and ordered sharply, all the dragons are ready to fight. The blade spiders spread out, don't get together, and attack the target's limb joints. Following Suyi's order, the giant dragons were eager to try. The 9 blade spiders spread out directly, following Suyi's request, and swept away towards the stone-throwing giant. It is true that the sling giants have high health, high defense, and high attack, but these guys have a disadvantage that is slow. The speed of 130 points. In front of the blade spider with a speed of 200 points, can't play a big role at all. It is also because of the high HP and high defense of the slinging giants that even the assassin-style blade spiders are difficult to deal high damage to them from the front. That's why Suya gave the order to let all the blade spiders attack the joints of the slinging giants' limbs first, which is one of the few weaknesses of these big guys. The attack started, and Suya and the others were not idle. Suya rode Blazing, Lin Yangtze, and Eve rode Blazing 2 and Blazing 3, and Su Kainer sat on Hunbing's back at the order of the crowd. The 8-headed dragon flapped its wings and took off into the sky. Suyi and Lin Yangtze also activated the meaningless domain and the Holy Spirit shield at the same time to protect the friendly troops within the range. Blazing is extremely fast. As the big brother among the dragons, it is eager to express itself. With a flick of its wings, it flew to the sky above the head of the giant stone slinger. Those silly-looking big guys were not idle, picked up the stone beside them, and smashed towards this side. Blazing flashes quickly, close to the ground, opening his mouth as a mouthful of dragon's breath. Extremely high temperature flames spewed out from its mouth and landed on the giant slingers, instantly scorching their bodies made of rocks into scorched black. Even because of the high temperature, the rocks that make up their bodies made crackling noises under the high temperature. The body of the rock giant began to crack up to 150,000 life points, even more falling down. Chapter 64. Ice crystals plus dragon's breath equals water vapor. Blazing is a 10th level giant dragon, and its level has reached level 3. Its attack is as high as 15,000 points. What's more, it is still within the range of Suyi's meaningless domain. The attributes skyrocketed by more than 30%. Even the slinging giant, which is known for its defensive power, is still like paper in front of the blazing dragon's breath. However, the rock giant is huge, and Blazing can only attack a small number of 1 or 2 targets at the same time, but this was enough. Under the extremely high damage, the rock giant only lasted for 20 seconds before letting out a miserable groan. The rocks that made up the body began to fall apart, turning into rubble all over the place. Blazing number 2 and Blazing number 3 are not as powerful as Blazing number 2, but they are definitely not weak. They launched attacks from the air and killed many stone-throwing giants. Frost dragons, represented by ice, mostly use control as their means of attack. The catapulting giant was already slow, and when it took a breath of cold air, it immediately lowered the speed of these guys by another 50%. The speed of action, even the speed of attack, suddenly became extremely low. In the eyes of Suya and others, it was no different from slow motion. The blade spiders, who had been preparing for a long time, swarmed up and rushed behind the slinging giant. The sharp forelimbs pierced the joints of these guys' limbs. This is one of the few weaknesses of the slinger. Every attack of the blade spider can cause a lot of damage to the stone-throwing giant. Of course, due to the structure of the body, the venom of the blade spider is ineffective against the rock giant. Toxin attacks are usually transmitted through blood, and the body of the stone slinger is composed of stones. Where does the blood come from? Fortunately, even if the blade spider relies solely on its limbs to attack, it is enough to deal decent damage. The war broke out, and the bone dragon and the lightning dragon were not far behind. Rushing towards the slinger giant, the 2 bone dragons raised their huge bone claws, with great force, and slapped on the body of the rock giant. The huge force even directly smashed the body of the catapulting giant into pieces. Combined with the assistance of the blade spider, quickly kill the stone-throwing giants one by one. Suyi, Su Zitter, Lin Yangtze, and Eve were not idle, and they all looked for the right opportunity to attack the slinger giant. Of course, while attacking, it is more important to avoid boulders that fly from time to time. The stone-throwing skill is the most common attack method of the stone-throwing giant. Pieces of boulders the size of millstones were thrown all over the sky. If you are not careful, you will be hit. The giant dragons are huge, Even if they are hit by boulders, they will be fine, but for Suyi and the others, if their small bodies were hit, their bones would be broken within minutes. Therefore, under Suyi's order, the four of them lowered their bodies as much as possible, lying on the dragon's body to avoid a flying boulder. The movement of the battle here was huge, and soon attracted more stone slinging giants rushing towards this side. Suyi frowned a little. It has been 3 minutes since the battle started. Many slinging giants were killed, and Suyi also suffered casualties. The two blade spiders were attacked by the slinging giant and smashed into meatloaf. This scene fell into Suyi's eyes, making him a little distressed. 300,000 gold coins. Although the attacking speed of this giant slinger is not fast, but it can't stand a large number of these guys. One person and one stone, flying around. Even though the blade spider has high speed and can quickly roam the battlefield, it is inevitable that it will be hit for a while. The situation in the field was a bit stalemate. Seeing this, Suyi immediately ordered, Ice number 2, number 3, release the frozen things. To minimize casualties, Suyi could only think of one way, that is to control the sling giants so that they no longer attack in this way. Wouldn't you be able to guarantee the safety of your units? The two frost dragons were ordered to fall from the sky with two bangs against the attacks of the slinging giants. It spewed cold air towards the surroundings. Whoosh! The bone-piercing cold spread towards the surroundings. There was a crackling sound, and many slinging giants approaching the frost dragon were instantly slowed down, and light blue ice crystals appeared on their bodies made of rocks, and the next second, the body of the catapulting giant was forcibly frozen. Chapter 43. Their level is 3 levels lower than the giant dragon, and the freezing effect of the frost giant dragon on them is almost 100%. Therefore, as soon as the two frozen things were released, more than 30 slinging giants were frozen into lumps of ice. With the absence of more than 30 slinging giants participating in the battle, the threat in the field was reduced by half. Suyi was overjoyed when he saw that this trick really worked. Come on, keep going. This time, ice number 2, ice number 3 and the 3 giant frost dragons acted together, chased the slinging giant and run all over the place, and the other giant dragons, such as Blazing, took the right opportunity and started to trouble the frozen giants. Freezing is powerful, but it also has a time limit. The greater the gap between the two parties, the longer the time to be frozen. There is a difference of 3 levels between the 10th level giant dragon and the 7th level slinger giant, and the time to be frozen is only about 7 or 8 seconds or so. Therefore, Suyi must cherish these 7 or 8 seconds of time. The fiery movement was fast, a dive close to the ground, and a breath of dragon's breath at the 5 frozen stone-throwing giants. Extremely high temperature flames spewed out and landed on the slinging giant with a bang. The light blue ice crystals are melted at high temperature, forming a layer of water mist, which floats around. When Suyi saw this scene, the corners of his eyes twitched. Damn, this is a bad thing. It took a lot of effort to freeze those guys, but now the ice crystals have melted again. Isn't this a disguised form to release the sling giant? But what happened the next moment made Suyi stunned, followed by ecstasy. I could only see the flame dragons breathing out their dragon breath, melting the ice on the stone-throwing giant into water, and water vapor was successfully helping the catapulting giants to thaw. They also caused a huge amount of damage to them. Ice, fire, and water. The damage of the 3 attributes are mixed together with a swish. The rock giant's health dropped by a large amount. That's okay too. Suyi clicked her tongue. He still remembered that the catapulting giant had a weakness. That is, it was afraid of water. The frost dragon exhales cold air, and the flame dragon exhales flames. The ice and flames meet. The ice melts, forms water flow, then turns into water vapor, and finally evaporates completely. This whole process acted on the stone body of the slinger giant, and inadvertently caused a very strong damage to them. What a combo skill. Try again, spray them. Suyi pointed to the frozen slinging giants on the other side with a blazing groan. He rushed up. The big mouth opened, and a dragon's breath that was more than 10 meters long spewed out with a whoosh. Several slinging giants were wrapped. Chapter 65. Leapfrog. Killing monsters is a momentary pleasure. Always leapfrogging. Subscription required. The next moment, there was a crackling sound, and it expanded with heat and contracted with cold. It was originally frozen by ice crystals, but now it encountered high temperature again. Even the rough-skinned and thick-skinned catapulting giant can't stand it. Cracks appear in the rock's body instantly, and what's more, it shatters directly, belching on the spot. Seeing this scene, Suyi already had a perfect battle plan in mind. Since the water mist produced by the combination of cold air and dragon's breath has a lot of damage to the stone-throwing giant. That's just right. Wouldn't it be nice to have a wave of combo skills? Among the 10 dragons brought by Suyi, There happened to be 3 flame dragons and 3 frost dragons. Wouldn't it be beautiful to group in twos? Thinking of this, Suyi ordered sharply, all flame dragons and frost dragons obey the order, and attack the same target in groups of twos. After the voice fell, 6 giant dragons rose up from the ground, forming a team in an instant. Get close to the ground and start attacking according to Suyi's request, teaming up with Blazing as Bing Bing, whose level has reached level 3, and is the strongest frost dragon at this moment. The 2 big guys swooped down from the sky, and when they got close to the slinger, they spit out ice crystals and dragon's breath. Almost at the same time the ice crystals melted and formed water droplets, but unfortunately, the timing deviated, and the water droplets were evaporated into water vapor before they fell on the slinger. Come again, put the ice crystals first, and then breathe out the dragon's breath. Suyi shouted. Ice and Blaze know each other, one after the other, attacking the targets within the range. Sure enough, in this way, it can cause free damage to the sling giant. Seeing the initial results, Suyi felt a lot more relaxed. Let the 3 flame dragons and the 3 frost dragons repeatedly hit the stone-throwing giant. The 2 bone dragons and 2 lightning dragons led the blade spiders to attack the slinging giants on the other side. In just a few minutes, Suyi's army successfully stabilized the situation on the field. Then, the killing spree began. Batch after batch of catapulting giants turned into piles of rubble under the dual action of ice and dragon's breath. It is worth mentioning here that the catapulting giant is a 7th level monster, and the level is not low. After being killed, the experience points that the troops can obtain are almost massive, especially the blade spider. Leapfrog to kill monsters. Leapfrogging and killing monsters is cool for a while, and always leapfrogging is always cool in Suyi's mind. Almost every minute, the notification sound of the blade spider's upgrade can be heard. Your tier 4 and 4 arms, blade spider, have been upgraded to tier 2, and their attributes have been greatly improved. Your tier 4 and 4 units, blade spider, have been upgraded to tier 3, and their attributes have been greatly improved. Your Suyi was full of joy when he heard it. The best way to improve the strength of the arms is to increase the level of the arms. You don't need to spend money, and the strength you get out of thin air is a joy. For the next 3 hours, Suyi and others spent killing monsters. The Purple Secret Realm deserves to be called the Purple Secret Realm. It doesn't matter if the monsters are of high rank, there are quite a lot of them. It took 3 hours to kill all the slinging giants on the surrounding mountains. Taking advantage of this gap, everyone stopped to rest. A fierce battle before had greatly increased the strength of Suyi's army. The lowest level of the blade spider is Duda, and its attributes are as follows: Blade Spider, Grade, Special Tier 4 level, 4 HP, 60 attack, 12 defense, 60 speed, 20 food consumption, 26 skill, Venom Spray. Radius to the front spray highly poisonous within a range of 13 meters. The venom is extremely corrosive and can cause great damage to the target. Blade stabbing. Every leg of the blade spider is the most perfect weapon. It is extremely sharp, and can cause great physical damage to the target when it is swung rapidly. Description: when the attribute is compared with a first level, it is fully doubled. Even facing monsters with high defense and high HP, the giant slinger will no longer be as powerless as before. As for the dragons, their level improvement is not obvious. Blazing Ice has stepped into the 5th level, and the other 4 flame dragons and frost dragons have reached the 3rd level. The remaining bone dragons, the lightning dragon, are hovering at the 2nd level, but it seems that it should not be long before they can be raised to the 3rd level. Everyone found a place to rest for an hour during this period. Suyi generously took out food from the Lord's space for the soldiers to eat. This is one of the good ways to quickly restore the physical strength of troops. As for the injured units, they will be handed over to Lin Yangxi. The little girl didn't do much in the battle just now, and she felt a little guilty at this moment. They are constantly waving their wands, releasing healing spells for the injured units. An hour later, the blade spider and the giant dragon had almost recovered their physical strength. Suyi got up and looked at the mountain ahead. On the top of this mountain, a temple is built, which is the base camp of this territory. As long as he conquers there, this purple secret realm will belong to him. Suyi set off. Suyi ordered all the soldiers got up together, and set off towards the central mountain. There are not many stone-throwing giants here. Most of them were attracted in the previous battle, and then killed. Those who stay here now are only the remnants of the defeated general. Suyi swept away with the upgraded legion. It took less than half an hour to hit the top of this rocky mountain here. They met the finale of this purple secret realm. A stone giant with a height of more than 10 meters stood up from the pile of rubble. The body is bloated, and there are even a lot of weeds and moss growing on the body. You can tell at a glance that this guy has been lying here for a long time. Leader of the slinger giant level, tier 7 level, 9 health, 39 attack, 85 defense, 12 speed, 14 skill, the 9th level super slinger, with a life value of 390,000, and the attack defense is very strong high, comparable to some dragons, but it still won't be the opponent of Suyi's army. With a wave of his hand, the attack begins. 10 giant dragons approach the big guy from all directions, fire-breathing ones, ice-breathing ones, and even some, such as bone dragons, directly playing with their claws. The life value of the leader of the catapulting giant dropped rapidly, and it bottomed out in less than 2 minutes, accompanied by an angry and unwilling scream. The big brother fell to the ground with a bang, kicking up a lot of dust. Hiccup, the leader of the catapulting giants, announced the end of this war. Suyi jumped off Blazing's back and walked towards the stone temple in front of him. In other words, this is the first time he has conquered the purple secret realm in a real sense, and he is looking forward to what kind of reward he will get. Enter the temple. And there are 2 treasure chests inside, a purple resource chest and a secret clearance treasure chest. 2 purple treasure chests. Get rich, Su Kainer exclaimed behind Suyi. Suyi clapped his hands. Calm down. As he spoke, he walked to the 2 treasure chests and opened them one by one. Come to the first 5 chapters. There are more during the day, old buddies. Work harder. Adding more is not a problem. Chapter 66, Angel God Statue. Bathed in holy light. Open the treasure chest of purple secret resources. Get wood, stone ore, iron ore, 5 million gold coins each, and 500 food units. Open the treasure chest for customs clearance in the purple secret realm, and obtain Super Resource Pack 1, Resource Pack 1, Template of the Giant Troop, and Spirit Species. The 2 treasure chests are all opened, and the harvest is rich. 5 million basic resources, plus resource packs and super resource packs. This is a harvest of resources exceeding 10 million, and this is not what excites Suyi the most. Chapter 44. What pleased him the most was the explosion of the troop template of the Slinger Giant. This is a good thing. It will be used in the future, and it is still very versatile. The Slinger Giant is a rare form of arms. It is difficult to appear in nature, and its own strength is not low, so even if the secret realm of the catapulting giant is discovered, it is still a question of whether it can be defeated, and if you are lucky enough to win, whether you can get the template of the unit is another question. Therefore, due to many factors, the rarity of the catapulting giant is caused. It just so happens that this unit has a miraculous effect on siege, and has a wide range of applicability when the market opens. Suyi will train some catapult giants to put them on sale. It will be a huge profit. In addition to the basic resources and the troop template of the catapult giants, this time a spirit seed has exploded. Although I don't know what the spirit fruit tree will produce in the end, Suyi believes that the things that are opened from the treasure chest must be useful to the troops. Throwing everything into the Lord's space, Suyi started the territory verification. After the authentication is completed, the information is as follows. Territory of the Slinger Giant, level, purple affiliated Lord, Suyi Timber. 0000 stone mine. 0000 iron ore. 0000 gold coins. 0000 food. 0 garrison strength, none. 500,000 resource output and food output of 5,000 points. In general, our still good. The secret realm has been conquered, so there is no need for Suyi and others to stay here anymore. Searched around the temple and obtained about 1 million basic resources. Suyi left 30 uninjured blade spiders, 1 bone dragon, and 1 flame dragon, and then left the secret realm with the legion. After all, it is a purple secret realm, and it is far away from the star domain. Once invaded by other territories, it will be difficult for the star domain to organize a quick and effective rescue. Therefore, Suyi's garrison force in this secret realm far exceeds that of the other secret realms. After leaving the secret realm, it was already past 4 in the afternoon. The crowd rushed back all the way. When we got back to the territory, the sky was completely dark. The 3 women rested for a while to cook, and went to check the situation of the legion in the previous battle. Although it was won, the loss was extremely great. The dragon was alright, but the blade spider died. There were more injuries, which made Suyi feel a little distressed. When he gritted his teeth, he decided to build an angel statue. First, open all the resource packs obtained before. Suyi obtained 1.75 million basic resources, plus the millions of resources from the search, a total of 1.85 million basic resources. Then take out the angel statue and choose to build. Because of the particularity of the angel god statue, this building can be superimposed with the tallest building in the territory in the star domain. The tallest building is the Lord's Hall. It is 30 meters high. It costs 5 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each, and 1 angel statue. The construction of the angel statue is expected to take 24 hours, The system beep sound. Suya clapped his hands and left the place. Then I went to the back of the territory and spent 200,000 gold coins and 200,000 stone mines to plant the second spiritual fruit seed. After finishing these, Suya took out a catapult human arms template, marked a piece of land behind the city gate, and built this thing. The catapulting giant is very useful in the siege battle. Suya is not going to let it go. It costs 3 million lumber, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each. Template 1 of the Slinger Giant. The construction of the Slinger Giant camp is successful. It is estimated that it will take 24 hours. The reserve resources of the territory have been greatly reduced on the clearing marked by Suya. A huge stone castle is under construction. After making sure there was nothing wrong, Suya went to the kitchen for dinner. The dinner was very sumptuous. There were deer brought back from hunting by the elf archers, and some wild vegetables collected after the Age of Lords. The world has become digital, and even these foods have changed their taste invisibly. It tastes great after being stewed. Suya ate with big mouthfuls. Suddenly, there was a ding sound in my mind outside the kitchen. It immediately became brighter. Bursts of soft light covered most of the territory. What happened? Suya was the first to react, dropped the food in her hand, and trotted out. Suya and the others followed closely behind. After leaving the kitchen, the 4 of them looked up at the top of the Lord's Hall, and couldn't help opening their mouths at this moment. At the top of the Lord's Hall, a huge statue of a god with a height of more than 10 meters appeared with wings on their backs. They spread out vigorously, holding the holy sword in their hands, piercing the ground under their feet, slightly startling their heads, and squinting their eyes. The soft light shining on the territory is just irradiated from this statue. Full of sacred color bathed in this light, Suya felt warm all over his body, and the soreness in his limbs and joints eased a lot. It's so comfortable. It's like taking off your clothes and soaking in the hot spring of our tree elves, Eve praised, and the next moment, she realized that there was Suya standing beside her, and she blushed half of her face. Lin Yangxi was also shocked, and looked at Suya. Brother Su, what is this? I feel that this energy is very similar to my healing energy. Hearing this, Suya snapped his fingers. It's not similar, it's the same. The light emitted by the angel statue is the same as your healing technique, which can speed up the recovery of injuries and physical strength of the troops. Hearing this, Suya's eyes lit up. Is it so magical? The corners of Suya's lips curled slightly. It's miraculous or not, just go and see the blade spider and you'll know. After finishing speaking, Suya quickly walked towards the direction of the blade spider's nest. Eve, Su Kainer, and Lin Yangxi hesitated for a moment, then hurriedly followed after. Suya and the others arrived at the place. They were even more surprised when they saw the scene in front of them. I saw that all the blade spiders crawled out of their lairs at this moment. Lying lazily under the holy light emanating from the angel statue, bathed in this warm holy light, looking at their injuries, they have recovered a lot compared to when they just came back. It seems that the effect of this angel statue is really powerful. Su Yi took the time to check the information of the angel god statue, as follows: Angel god statue, level 1. Upgrade requirements: wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins are 1 million each. Efficacy: the recovery time of the troops' injuries and physical strength is accelerated 50%. Angel statues can also be upgraded, but this requires resource consumption, which is hard to say, but in general, the statue of the angel is still worthy of the name of its special building. The effect is too overbearing. Bathing in the holy light was so comfortable that Suya and the others didn't even eat. I found a grass and laid down side by side, closed my eyes, and enjoyed the healing of the holy light. Chapter 67. Investing in red armored fire ants. Looking for food seeds. By the time Suya got up from the grass, it was already 2 hours later. After bathing in the holy light for 2 hours in a row, Suya felt refreshed. Now the mind is no longer tired. The body is no longer sore. It is more comfortable than sleeping for a few hours. The 3 little girls had gone back to their room to rest half an hour ago. Suya patted the grass clippings behind him, and walked towards the stone-throwing giant's camp. It's been more than 2 hours, and the construction must have been completed there. Looking around, Suya saw a huge rock castle, which was sitting in the open space behind the city wall. Check the information, as follows: Slinger Giant Camp, level 7, level 1 unit. 0 training template, Slinger Giant training cost: 60,000 gold coins. Training time: 6 hours. Upgrade required: wood, stone, iron ore, gold ore 6 million each, 48 hours. 7th level catapult giant, 600,000 gold coins to train 1 head. Suya still has 9.3 million gold coins left. Without further ado, arrange directly. It costs 3.6 million gold coins to train the 6-headed sleeping giants. The beep sounds. A progress bar appears above the catapulting giant's camp. Scrolling slowly. It was getting late, and Suya didn't intend to stay, so he turned around and went back to the private house to wash and rest the next day. The sun rises in the east and sprinkles the light on the earth. When Suya woke up, he immediately ran to the Slinger Giant's camp to take a look on the open space next to the camp. There were a few extra large stones. Su was aware of Suya's approach. These big stones made a creaking sound, and then stretched out, turning into a 5-meter-tall stone-throwing giant. It is no different from the one seen in the secret territory yesterday. The huge body is completely made of rocks, with powerful holes, and some parts even grow weeds, which looks amazing. Attributes are as follows: Slinging Giant, Level 7 level. 1 health points. 15 attack. 25 defense. 40 speed. 12 food consumption. 80 skill, Rocking. Use this skill to make your body stronger. Moreover, increase own defense power by 30%. Throwing stones. Pick up the nearby huge rocks and throw them forward, which can cause huge damage to the target. This skill is effective for buildings. The longest distance for throwing stones is 50 meters. Ground trampling. Jump high, hammer the ground, causing huge damage to the fan-shaped area in front of you. 30% chance to cause dizzy effect to the enemies within the range. Invalid description of targets whose level is higher than their own. There are 6 sling giants in total, not many in number, and it is completely enough for Suya now. Afterwards, Suya inspected the place, greeted Chi Lai, and prepared to go to the orc secret realm. Now, he has 6.9 million gold coins left. These gold coins, Suya decided to invest in the construction of the red armor ant nest. After all, it takes a long time for the training and formation of the red armored ant nest. The sooner it is built, the greater the help to Suya. Riding blazing out of the territory, Suya went straight to the orc secret realm. Passing through the entrance of the secret realm, Suya came to the vicinity of the ant nest with ease. Today's red beetle nest is different from that of 2 days ago. The first is the volume. The diameter has exceeded 10 meters. The second is the number of red-armed fire ants, obviously more than 2 days ago. Check out the info on the ant nest. The population has reached more than 7,000. Which is more than double that of 2 days ago. You guessed that this was because the ant eggs laid by the queen a few days ago hatched collectively in these 2 days. Furthermore, as the number of red-armed fire ants increases, their range of activities will be larger, and the food they will get will be more. The number and speed of egg laying by queen ants will naturally increase accordingly. Say no. Chapter 45. More to say. Choose to upgrade directly. It costs 2 million wood, stone ore, iron ore, and gold coins each to successfully upgrade the red armored fire ant nest level. It is expected to take 16 hours. The beep sounds. 16 hours. 1 upgrade time. With 99% cooling reduction, it only takes 10 minutes to complete. The time wasn't too long, so Suya found a clean place to sit down, quietly waiting for the ant nest to be upgraded successfully. 10 minutes passed quickly, and the progress bar above the red armored fire ant nest reached full value with a flash of light. The ant nest has been successfully upgraded. The attributes are as follows: red armored fire ant nest, level, tier 4, level 4. 2 units. 76 training template, red armored fire ant training cost, gold coin 0, food 1 training time, uncertain upgrade needs, wood, stone, iron ore, gold ore 4 million each, time 24 hours. The total number of units soared tenfold to 100,000. If it can be trained to full strength, it will be 100,000 red armored fire ants. If they are dispatched together, it is enough to pose a big threat to the enemy. Suyi was also unambiguous, and directly trained 900 red armored fire ants. It cost 4.5 million gold coins, 900 units of food, and trained 900 red armored fire ants. When the notification sounded, Suya's gold coin reserves instantly bottomed out, leaving only 400,000. Even food, there are only more than 50,000 points left. This made Suya a little speechless, but also helpless. Generally speaking, powerful arms require extremely large investment of funds and resources. Suya doesn't feel that it is a loss to invest in the red armored fire ants now, as long as the number of red armored fire ants reaches a certain scale. The benefits they can create for Suya will definitely far exceed the resources that Suya is currently investing in. But having said that, after this training session, Suya only had 50,000 food left. It seems that it is time to find a breakthrough in food resources. The ant nest is developing in an orderly manner. There is no problem. Suya naturally has no intention of staying here for a long time. He rode blazing and returned to the star field. After returning to the territory, Suya made his statistics on his existing resources so far. Suya has occupied a total of 555 secret realms, 1 white secret realm, 1 green secret realm, 1 blue secret realm, and 2 purple secret realms. The daily basic resource output is 5 plus 1 plus plus plus. A total of 1.35 million. Food output is 100 plus 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 plus. A total of 126 units. Then there are resources for the Warhammer territory and the cruising territory. So you get a rough calculation, and the average daily rate is about 350,000. In other words, the daily resource output of the star domain is only 1.7 million. Plus 126 units of food. Look at the territory food consumption: 1 dragon, 11 spiders, 6 giants, 0 centaurs, elf archers, 20 goblins, and 444 heroes. Daily food consumption is 382 units. The output of 1, the consumption of 38. 1 goes up and down. On the surface, it is completely enough, but it's actually not the case, because Suya also has a big food family, the red armored fire ants. Although these guys don't need to consume food, they need to consume food for training. Secondly, if the red armed fire ants cannot find enough food, they will not be able to maintain the consumption of the population, and Suya will need to replenish food manually in the case of long-term battles. It is also necessary to manually replenish food to restore physical strength. As far as Suya's food production is concerned, it is actually not enough. Therefore, Suya's next plan is to find food seeds and plant them. As for where to find food seeds and how to plant them, Suya already had an idea in mind. Chapter 68. Going to Hongzhou, the territory of the 4th level giant. In Suya's memory, adjacent to Hanan City, there is a place called Hongzhou. There is a special territory rich in food. Even in the previous life, Suya had been to that place. However, his strength is slightly weaker, and he is not qualified to participate in that territory competition. In this life, Suya will come back again. So naturally he won't let go of this good opportunity, no matter what. He wants to share a piece of the pie. With an idea in mind, Suya no longer hesitated, immediately found the 3 women, and sat around the meeting table in the Lord's Hall. I'm going on a long trip, Suya said as soon as the words were finished. The sudden news made the 3 girls Kiki feel a little embarrassed, stopped what they were doing, and looked at Suya. Where to go? How long can you take us with you? The 3 women asked 3 sole questions. The corners of Suya's eyes twitched, and he explained aloud, the food supply in the territory is insufficient. I am planning to go to Hongzhou. It will take about 5 days to go back and forth. As for you, stay and guard the territory well. I come back. The voice fell, and the 3 women looked at each other. Hongzhou is located in the south of Hanan City, not too far away, but I don't want to stay here. I want to follow you, Suya murmured. Suya stroked the little girl's head. It's dangerous outside. It's inconvenient to take you with me. You all stay. Guarding the territory is as important as my mission. Su Kaianer wanted to say something more, but seeing Suya's firm gaze, she had no choice but to swallow the words that came to her lips, and nodded obediently. Eve is a sensible woman, but she didn't have a long relationship with Suya. She just asked, when are you leaving? It's not too late, just tomorrow. I will try to get back as soon as possible. Time flies. And it is already the next day. Suya made arrangements and got ready to go, this time out for an expedition. Suya is going to make a quick decision, and the purpose is very clear. Therefore, he does not plan to carry too many arms. Well, in fact, it is because there are no treasures to carry units. If you advance with a large army, it will inevitably slow down your progress. Therefore, Suya decided to bring only 6 flying dragons: blazing II, ice II, silver thunder II. The 10th tier units with 6 not low-level troops already have strong combat effectiveness. At least Suya can guarantee that at this stage. An army composed of 6 giant dragons can solve most of the troubles he may encounter. Even siege is not impossible. As for the remaining dragons and blade spiders, they were all left in the territory by Suya. One is to ensure the security of the territory, and to ensure the security of the secret realm occupied by the territory. After I leave, you try to stay within the territory as much as possible, and the 4 giant dragons are handed over to you for command. If you encounter danger, let them go first. Secondly, water and fertilize the spirit fruit trees behind the territory every day. The secret realm occupied by the territory, guard it well, so as not to be missed by other lords. Suya exhorted. The 3 girls nodded, expressing their understanding. After arranging these things properly, Suya rode on blazing and flew out of the territory with his dragon team. Eve, Suzy, and Lin Yangxi raised their heads and watched Suya leave, with some reluctance in their eyes. Without Suya in charge of the overall situation, can they protect the territory? After tens of seconds, Suyi passed through the clouds on blazing and disappeared. The three girls just dispersed and went to busy with their own affairs. By the way, Sui, the place we are going to this time is called Hongzhou. It is a city adjacent to Henan City, and the distance is not close. After the end of the world, Hongzhou, like Henan City, became ruins and was occupied by countless monsters, and somewhere in Hongzhou, there is a magical territory that sells and grows food for a living. In the last life, several big lords near Hongzhou City fought a lot for this territory. There is no other reason. It is because the significance of this territory is too great. Once occupied, it means having extremely rich food output. As the lord, Suyi was naturally greedy for this kind of feng shui treasure, but he could only sigh with regret due to his lack of strength. It has been more than 20 days since the advent of the Lord era, and the world has changed as Suyi expected. Human buildings have been covered by vegetation, leaving only a few traces, proving that a human city once existed here. When passing through Henan City, Suyi looked towards the ground, and what he saw was a combination of forest and city. The asphalt road is covered with grass, and the tall buildings are covered with vines. In the screen primitive world, Suyi also saw several territories. It has begun to take shape, probably in the shape of 1 or 2 levels. With low wooden fences or stone walls built, there are so few buildings in the city, it can compare with Suyi's star field. These are the territories built by the surviving humans after they became Lord. Suyi flew across the air with 6 giant dragons, quickly attracting the attention of those people. The coercion of the dragon descended from the sky, causing the survivors to swallow their saliva. What made them even more horrified was that there seemed to be a person sitting on the back of the leading dragon. Humans riding dragons. Oh my god, why did Suyi not stay here, and left here on a blazing speed, then headed south all the way, heading towards Hongzhou? Originally, it was only a few hundred kilometers away. But because of the coming of the Lord era, this distance has expanded by more than 20 times 20. Even if Suyi rode blazing, it would take at least 1 day to reach Hongzhou. Facing the strong wind, riding the dust. A day later, after solving dozens of waves of monsters blocking the way, Suyi finally arrived at the junction of Henan City and Hongzhou. What appeared at the end of his vision was a huge city, but now, more than 2/3 of the area of this huge city is covered by green plants. Suyi patted Blazing's head. Go ahead and fly east. With a fiery understanding, he flapped his fleshy wings and flew towards the east. Suyi lowered his head and scanned the ground, and soon saw several territories scattered in the green jungle. These turned out to be several second-level and even third-level territories. It seems that the resources around Hongzhou City are really rich, which makes the lords in this area develop so fast. But Suyi is not interested in these territories. What he cares about is only the territory that produces food seeds. According to the rooted memory, Suyi directed Qilai to search all the way. Chapter 46. Finally, half a day later, the target location was found. A scenic spot on the outskirts of Hongzhou is deep in the mountains. A 4th-level territory is built here. Of course, this is not a human territory, but a giant territory. In this territory, there are large tracts of farmland. There are many strange and unknown crops planted in the farmland. When these crops are mature, they can be used as food for soldiers. Chapter 69. Capture the territory of the Dryad. 9 more subscriptions. According to Suyi's understanding, the Dryads have a special talent that is managing and growing crops and harvest the crops, package them into food resources, and then trade with other races, such as humans. But the price is very expensive. Therefore, the tree demon territory in the previous life was jointly destroyed after the surrounding human territories became stronger and got a lot of food seeds and tree demon templates from the Dryad territory, and this is where the dispute started to grow crops. The requirements for the land are extremely high. First, there needs to be a water source, and secondly, the type of land, sand and stony ground, are definitely not acceptable. The land around Hongzhou is the only one that is very fertile and suitable for growing crops. It is for these places that the lords of Hongzhou often take action to snatch them at the worst time. It even reached the level of a small battle in 3 days and a big battle in 5 days. Almost all the lords around Hongzhou knew about these things, and so did Suyi. In this life, Suyi will come back again, so naturally he will not miss this opportunity. After conquering this territory, Suyi no longer needs to worry about food at this moment. The sky's still early, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, around 2. It was a bit inappropriate to shit during the day, and Suyi and the giant dragons were exhausted all the way, so they were not on the best condition. Therefore, he decided to find a place to rest and wait until it was dark before planning the siege. Find a place to land. Suyi gave the order softly, with a strong understanding, folded his wings, and led the other giant dragons in a circle in the air, and finally landed on a big mountain behind the tree demon's territory. From here, You can always pay attention to the situation of the tree demon territory, which is a good location after finding a suitable commanding height. Suyi looked in the direction of the tree demon's territory with his eyesight. He can clearly see the situation inside the tree demon's territory. The fertile spiritual fields full of food are neatly arranged, occupying nearly half of the tree demon's territory. This made Suyi look a little greedy. Now start to make plans for tonight based on the actual situation. His purpose is only one, and that is to capture the territory of the tree demon. Secondly, food seeds, dryad troop templates, and some fertilizers that can change the soil quality are also things that Suyi is determined to obtain. Food seeds can be planted in the ground to grow crops, which is the most important thing for the Lord to produce food himself. The Dryad Unit template is for training Dryads and managing crops. Planting crops is not a small project. As a Lord, naturally he cannot go to the field with a hoe on his shoulders. It just so happens that the Dryad is an expert in this area, so just controlling the Dryad is equivalent to controlling a self-sufficient food production system. Secondly, after the market system is opened, the Lords can buy food seeds in the online trading system. At that time, trees that can manage Lingshan will become a hot commodity. Train the Dryad and sell it through the market, which is simply a convenient way to get rich in the last life. A few people in Zhongzhou did this a lot. Dryads are extremely rare auxiliary arms, very few. As long as you master the template of the arms, it is equivalent to having the ability to produce tree demons indefinitely. This is something more attractive than food seeds. At the same time, it was also the main reason why Suyi came all the way here. Finally, the fertilizer to change the soil quality is also what Suyi needs in the Age of Lords. The land where crops can be planted is called Lingshan. However, there are not all Lingshan fields everywhere. To be able to plant crops, special modifications are required. The key to transformation is fertilizer. This kind of black particles made by the tree demon with magic has the effect of changing the soil quality and accelerating the growth of crops in the middle of the Lord's era. It is a very precious and rare resource, to put it bluntly. As long as you have seeds, dryads, and fertilizers, you have the conditions to produce food. 3 requirements. 1 is indispensable. If one is missing, a lot of money needs to be paid for purchase. This is the real boss that Suyi likes. The Age of Lords is not entirely about war. Trade is equally important. Having enough economy can also make a territory take off. Time passed, and it was night. Suyi woke up from his doze, stood up and walked quickly to the commanding heights. Looking down at the Dryad territory below there, some green lights are blinking. This is the phenomenon that the tree demon automatically glows at night. It is similar to the photosynthesis of plants, although not very bright, but in the dark night, it is also very obvious. Seeing that the time was almost up, Suyi no longer hesitated, and waved his hand. Let's go. Blazing and other giant dragons stood up one after another, their huge bodies ready to go. In the dark night, Suyi had already made an invasion plan in his heart, climbed up behind Blazing, and set off with a few giant dragons. It's cloudy tonight. Most of the moonlight is covered by dark clouds. The giant dragons are flying into the sky, and their figures are hidden. Follow me. All the other dragons, gather at the front door, launch an attack, and try to attract the attention of the dryads as much as possible. Suyi lowered his voice, and said the plan that had been made. The 6-headed dragon understood, its wings fluttered, and it flew across the black night sky. After a few breaths, it reached the sky above the tree demon's territory. Then, according to Suyi's order, they quickly dispersed apart from Blazing. The remaining 5 giant dragons charged into the Dryad's territory from different directions. The Dryad patrolling the city wall sensed the movement, and immediately became vigilant, and issued a sharp siren. At the same time, he took a big step and ran towards the direction of the movement. Dryads, which have a body similar to humans, also have limbs, which are used to release Dryad magic and use tools. But the head of these guys looks more like a canopy. It's not too big, but it has luxuriant branches and leaves. The green light radiates from the crown of the tree at this moment. The first dryads patrolling the city wall have already met the dragon. Seeing the 5-headed giant dragon suddenly appearing in the territory, the tree demons gave a sigh. Their canopy heads couldn't figure out why there were creatures like giant dragons in their own territory. They wanted to understand that the giant dragon had already launched an attack. First, under Suyi's order, dragon's breath, ice crystals, and lightning flashed quickly in the dark night. The first batch of dryads who rushed up were killed, and their bodies fell down. When the tree demon was killed, it made a sharp and piercing cry. In just an instant, hundreds of green lights lit up almost at the same time in the originally dark territory of the tree demon. Many tree demons who had already rested woke up at this moment, marching towards the direction of the city wall mightily. The second group of dryads followed and attacked. The dragon magic frantically greeted the dragon. It's a pity that the giant dragons have rough skin and thick flesh, and the dense attacks of the dryads can't cause much substantial damage to them at all. Repeatedly like this, The melee began to erupt, and in the territory of the tree demon under the night, there were waves of shouts and killings. Chapter 70 The territory of the sea, the territory of the battle of the sky, subscription for the 10th update. Suyi rode blazing, and took advantage of the night to hover over the territory without being noticed. Looking down from the sky, Suyi was a little dazed when he saw a large area with thousands of bright green lights moving quickly in the territory. It seems that I still underestimated the number of tree demons in this territory. In addition to expressing regret, Suyi felt a little distressed in his heart. Every tree demon was a precious resource in the late Lord era. To put it bluntly, it was all money. But now, a large number of them died under the attack of the giant dragon. How could this not make Suyi feel distressed? Looks like it's picking up speed, Suyi thought to himself, looked at the Lord's Hall in the center of the tree demon's territory. That building is easy to identify, and it is usually built in the very center of the entire territory. Secondly, the Lord's Hall is the facade of the entire territory, and it must be the most magnificent building in the territory. So Suyi quickly recognized it as for the next step. It is actually very simple. That is the change of ownership of the general. As long as Suyi can become the lord of this territory, then he will have the ability to command a tree demon at that time. Even if Suyi grandly enters the tree demon territory with a large army, he will not be stopped by the tree demon. Seeing that most of the dryads in the dryads territory were attracted by the battle ahead, they ran to fight the dragon. This just created an opportunity for Suyi. Go down, Suyi ordered. Blazing Humanity nodded, retracted his wings, and landed in front of the Lord's Hall in the tree demon's territory with a whoosh of Suyi. As soon as they landed, the figures of Suyi and Zhi were discovered by the tree demon stationed here. Those guys made strange noises that they couldn't understand, and rushed towards this side with their weapons raised. I leave it to you, stop them. Suyi patted Blazing's back. The latter understood, and rushed forward with a whimper, and Suyi took the opportunity to slip off Blazing's back, and quietly ran towards the Lord's Hall. Chapter 47. The Dryad is an auxiliary unit, and its combat effectiveness is not strong, and because of their attributes, these guys are very afraid of flames. A blazing mouthful of dragon's breath spewed out, instantly making several tree demon guards here scream out in fright. But the enemy is in the front, and there is no way to retreat, so we can only bite the bullet and go up. Few flames with extremely high temperature spewed out from the blazing mouth, instantly sweeping over several tree demons who rushed over. The tree demon's crown head was instantly ignited, turning into a big fireball, and the health value dropped even more in just a few seconds. The tree demons here were burnt to ashes before they died. They uttered a few special sounds, attracting many other tree demons and rushing towards this side. Chilai was ordered by Suyi to guard the door, and he himself rushed into the Hall of the Lord just as Suyi was fighting in full swing in the tree demon's territory. A certain territory more than 10 kilometers away from the tree demon's territory, several human survivors patrolling the city wall suddenly stopped, pointing in the direction of the tree demon's territory and exclaiming, "Fuck, what happened over there? It seems that people are attacking the territory of the Dryad. Attacking is not good. Report to the Lord quickly." As he spoke, a human survivor ran down the city wall until the house where Lord Ben lived. Without a word, pushed the door open. On the big bed in the private house, a middle-aged man was sprinting. Suddenly the door was pushed open, and the floor immediately softened. "Fuck, didn't your mother teach you to knock on the door?" The middle-aged man cursed. The survivor who opened the door gave a mocking smile, and then said, "Lord, something went wrong. It seems that someone is attacking the tree demon's territory." As soon as the words came out, the middle-aged man immediately became energetic, jumped up from the bed, and put on his clothes. "Attack the tree demon's territory? Shit, who is so unruly? Didn't you agree not to move now? Isn't it Zangan? Territory bastards." "Not sure, Lord, what to do now." The middle-aged man's face was dark, and he waved his hand. "It doesn't matter, take our people and troops, and go over and have a look." With that said, the middle-aged man quickly ran out of the house, began to gather his men and troops. The middle-aged man's name is Zhang Kanghe, and he used to be the boss of a steel factory. When the Age of Lords came, he happened to be in the factory, and when he saw something was wrong, he hid with a dozen workers until the stored food was eaten up. These people left the steel factory under the leadership of Zhang Kanghe, and tried to kill monsters, and then became job changers later. I discovered this territory, certified as a lord, and learned the secret of training arms. As for this ancient territory that Zhang Kanghe just mentioned, it is a territory that is larger than his Kanghe territory. The lord is called Li Zan, and his strength is not weak because of the particularity of the tree demon's territory. Kanghe territory and Hanshin territory have been secretly competing to capture the tree demon's territory. Of course, apart from them, There are several other smaller territories also coveting the resources in the Tree Demon's territory. However, the Tree Demon's territory is a 4th-level territory, and there are thousands of troops stationed there. Even if Zhang Kanghe and the others work together, they will not be able to attack. Therefore, in order to avoid unnecessary troubles, Zhang Kanghe discussed with Li Zan and several other lords, and decided that no one could act without authorization until they had enough strength to capture the territory of the Tree Demon. Otherwise, this lord will be sanctioned jointly by several other territories. But now, the sound of fighting came from the direction of the Tree Demon's territory. The first thing Zhang Kanghe thought of was Li Zan, because only this guy has the strength to provoke the Tree Demon at this moment. 20 or 30 people in the Kanghe territory appeared in front of Zhang Kanghe at the same time. There are more than 100 goblins and 70 or 80 elf archers. This is all the power of the Kanghe territory. Everyone set off with me, you bastard. Li Zan, the bastard, actually took the lead in attacking the Tree Demon's territory behind their backs. Go, fuck him, Zhang Kanghe roared. The 2, 3, and 4 human survivors standing in front of him showed anger and gritted their teeth. Set off, Zhang Kanghe gave an order, and rushed towards the Tree Demon's territory with a large army at the same time. There are several other directions in the Dryad territory. The Lord here also discovered a change in the territory of the Dryad based on the idea of not being able to see the good of others. These territories began to send troops one after another, rushing to the territory of the Tree Demon. Chapter 71 The Talking Golden Tree Demon King. Please subscribe for more. At this moment, in the territory of the Tree Demon, the battle is still going on. Suya has already rushed into the Lord's Hall of the Tree Demon's territory. The 4th-level Lord's Hall is not low level, and the decoration is extremely elegant. Looking around, Suya quickly determined where the things he needed were. This is a Lord authentication altar, and Suya only needs to enter his information there to become the Lord of this Tree Demon territory. Just do it. Suya quickly ran to the altar, dripping blood. The voice of the territory elf rang in Suya's ears. Do you want to verify this territory? Suya glanced back, and under the night, more and more green lights were gathering towards this side. Obviously, the Tree Demons have already noticed that he sneaked into the Lord's Hall secretly. This guy has already given up fighting in the direction of the city wall and came here instead. That being the case, then I can't hesitate anymore. The current choices: you already have a 5th-level territory, Star Field. Please select the Tree Demon territory to locate. Replace the Star Domain territory and become your main territory, and the Star Domain territory will become an unknown territory. Define the Dryad's territory as a sub-territory. You need to assign a lord to the sub-territory within 1 month, otherwise, the territory will be taken back. Suya frowned, and chose the sub-territory without saying a word. Just kidding, the Starfield territory is fine, so why give up if he has nothing to do? As for assigning a lord to the sub-territory, that's easy to say. Suzir, Lin Yangtze, and Eve are all good choices, and I'll think about it later. Anyway, there's only 1 month left, so why not follow Suya to make a decision, and the certification altar in front of him will shine brightly. Has become Suya's territory. Congratulations. You have successfully authenticated the sub-territory, Tree Demon territory. When the notification sounded, Suya quickly checked the information of the Dryad territory, as follows: Dry Demon territory, Lord, Suya temporary level 4 alliance, Star Domain subordinate territory, no building. 50 armies, Dryad population. 63 timber. 230,000 stone. 190,000 iron ore. 170,000 gold coin. 160,000 food. 53 currency. 0 upgrade required. Wood, stone ore, iron ore, and 5 million gold coins are not bad, and there are quite a lot of resources, especially food. It is as high as more than 500,000, as expected of a Dryad that can produce food. Suya just glanced at it. Suya closed the information panel, and then walked out of the main hall. Now, he is already the Lord of the Tree Demon territory. Theoretically, he can command and control all the Tree Demons here, but now, the battle is still going on, and the number of Dryads is decreasing, which makes Suya very distressed. Immediately stop fighting is what he needs to do most now. After rushing out of the Lord's Hall, Suya yelled, "Everyone stop!" The dragon's breath, which was so hot that it reached the edge of his mouth, was swallowed back into his stomach, and the Tree Demons who gathered here mightily put down the steel forks in their hands, looking up at Suya. The expression in his eyes gradually changed. Calm down. Low intelligence or medium intelligence arms will always maintain respect and fear for the Lord in spite of whoever the Lord is. They cannot escape this rule. This is true even if the Lord is the enemy who just invaded the territory. So now, Suyi yelled to stop, instantly calming down the tree demons. That's because, in the hearts of the tree demons, they have subconsciously identified Suyi as the Lord. In the distance, the battle in the direction of the city wall had also ceased, and a few giant dragons were unharmed, flapping their wings and flying towards this side, and landed beside Suyi. Suyi glanced at the tree demon below, and the corners of his lips curled slightly. From now on, I will be your new lord. The dryads looked at each other and made weird noises. Suyi didn't understand either, but judging from the expressions of these guys, they should have accepted their existence. Sure enough, 1 minute after Suyi announced that he was the new lord, a somewhat weird tree demon came out of the crowd, and bowed in front of Suyi. Why do you say this tree demon is weird? It's because the tree crown on this guy's head is actually golden yellow. There were even a few small flowers. Taking this opportunity, Suyi quickly threw a detection skill at this strange tree demon. Golden Tree Demon King, template level, 10 HP, 80 attack, 15 defense, 12 speed, 18 skill, poison vines. During the battle, the dryad will summon vines to beat the enemy, and the vines are stained with toxins. Touching an enemy can poison the enemy. Photosynthesis. After the dryad is injured, it only needs to go to a place with light, and the body will automatically carry out photosynthesis to recover from its injuries extremely quickly. Dryad story. Dryads have a very high affinity with plants. They will take care of plants. They will plant plants. The plants they take care of, their growth rate will increase by 39%, and they will be immune to pests and diseases. Description. The king of the tree demon family is also a different kind in the tree demon family. It has higher wisdom than other tree demons and can rule other tree demons by nature. What surprised Suyi was that the golden tree demon in front of him was actually a hero, the tree demon king, and his strength is not low. Wisdom is also higher than other dryads, but not high enough to communicate at this moment. This guy saluted Suyi. It seemed that he chose to submit to Suyi. There are two main reasons. First, Suyi has become the lord of the tree demon territory. According to the rules of the main god on the lord era, the tree demons must obey Suyi. Second, Suyi is accompanied by a giant dragon. These guys are extremely powerful. They killed many dryads in the battle just now, leaving a sense of fear in the golden dryad's heart, so it dared not resist Suyi. The only option is to surrender regardless of the reason. It is a good thing for Suyi anyway. Waving his hand to get the golden dryad to stand up, Suyi said lightly, "It was really helpless to attack here just now, but what I can guarantee is that as long as you are obedient, I can ensure your safety in the future, and you will not be attacked." Alien bullying. The golden dryad seemed to understand Suyi's words, and nodded humanely. "Okay, I am willing to surrender." Listening to the crappy human language of the golden tree demon king, Suyi frowned. "You can speak?" The golden tree demon king nodded. "I know a thing or two. Fuck, I can even use idioms." The corners of Suyi's eyes twitched violently, but having said that, the golden tree demon king can speak human language, which means he can communicate with himself. Chapter 48. Then the matter of taking over the territory of the tree demon became much easier. Just as he was about to say something more, Qilai, who was beside Suyi, suddenly raised his dragon head and looked outside the territory of the tree demon. It seems to have found something. Sensing the fiery strangeness, Suyi frowned, and climbed up on its back. "Go and have a look." Nodding fiercely, he carried Suyi and flew towards the tree demon's territory. At the same time, in the valley in front of the dryad territory, several teams were running out of the forest holding torches. The Kanghe territory team led by Zhang Kanghe is only one of them at this moment. He ran out from the woods. When he saw the group of people opposite, he was furious and cursed. "Okay, Li Zan, you still have the face to come out. You said you were the one who made the contract, but now you tear it up. You are the one who signed the contract. What the hell do you mean?" Chapter 72. Zhang Kanghe's provocation. Outside the territory of the dryad, the one called Li Zan by Zhang Kanghe was a young man about 25 or 16, handsome, wearing plate armor, is a knight, and behind him, followed by more than 30 human job changers, and hundreds of arms among them. There are mostly goblins and goblins, as well as tier 2 giant wolves and poisonous spiders. He has many types of arms, and the number is much more than that of Zhang Kanghe at this moment. When he heard Zhang Kanghe being scolded for no reason, he looked at Zhang Kanghe in a daze. "Lord Zhang, what do you mean by that? I just arrived here, and I don't even know what happened here. How can you said I tore up the treaty?" Hearing the words, Zhang Kanghe frowned, and looked at the appearance of those people in Hanshan territory. From the looks of it, it really didn't look like he had just experienced a war. On the contrary, like himself, He came in from outside the jungle. Could it be that Li Zan also discovered a change in the tree demon's territory, which is why he came all the way here? But if that's the case, why is there such a big change in the tree demon's territory? Thinking of this, Zhang Kanghe pressed down. With anger in his heart, he pointed at the tree demon territory and said, "Then what's going on here? Who is it that attacked the tree demon territory?" Li Zan looked in the direction Zhang Kanghe pointed, and shook his head. He also wondered about this. Several other territorial lords who came over also expressed unclear. At this moment everyone present was salivating at the tree demon's territory, but they didn't have enough strength, so they didn't attack here. However, not launching an attack does not mean that these people have given up here. On the contrary, these people are paying attention to the situation here almost 24 hours a day, for fear that other territories will preempt them from taking over the tree demon territory. But the current situation made several lords unable to see through. "I suggest we go in and have a look. Maybe we're thinking too much. There's nothing wrong with the Giant's territory." At this moment, Kinmo, the Lord of Lion's Hong territory, said he is the third largest territory near the tree demon territory, and its overall strength is second only to Hanshin and Kanghe. Zhang Kanghe and Li Zan looked at each other when they heard the words, and felt that what they said made sense. It's not clear what the situation is now. Instead of putting it down to pursue responsibility, it's better to go in and see what's wrong. Maybe the tree demon's territory is not a problem at all, and everyone is just a false alarm? Soon, this suggestion won the support of all the lords. Then, leading the legion, they marched mightily towards the tree demon's territory. Just as they were about to approach the city gate, there was the sound of heavy footsteps in the city. Immediately afterwards, a bright green light came out from the city, climbed up the city wall, and spread towards the two sides. It was a group of tree demons, and at the entrance of the city gate below the city wall, several giants are guarding here, blocking the way of everyone. In the sky above the city wall, there was also the sound of piercing through the sky. A giant shadow descended from the sky at the same time. "There is another one. Go back. This tree demon territory is mine now." Everyone in front of the giant's territory stopped and followed the sound to look towards the city wall. Everyone was stunned when they saw Su Yezi, who had landed on the city wall. The person who spoke was a human being, a job changer like them. This guy even said that the tree demon territory is this. Could it be that the movement in the tree demon's territory before? It was this guy who created Zhang Kanghe with a violent temper. He glanced at Su Yi, and immediately felt embarrassed, and cursed. "Where did you come from? We were the first to discover this tree demon territory, but you are a latecomer. Lord, what does this mean?" Su Yi gave Zhang Kanghe a glance. All his information has appeared in Su Yi's mind. Although his level is 8 and there are many troops behind him, he is still a weak chicken. It is no exaggeration to say that if Su Yi casually dispatched a giant dragon, he would be able to completely defeat everyone in Kanghe territory. Realizing this, Su Yi was even less worried. The corners of her lips raised a curve. Good things are always obtained by those who can. If you want it, why don't you do it before me? Yu Zhangkang was speechless. If he really has the ability to capture this tree demon's territory, wouldn't he have stayed until now to take it down? Li Zan stared at Su Yi closely. He wasn't stupid. He just took a few glances and knew that Su Yi Knight is a master who is not easy to provoke. The first is strength. Su Yi's strength. Li Zan can't see through it. The level must surpass him. Secondly, Su Yi was able to capture the territory of the tree demon that they could not take together. Needless to say, how strong is it? In the end, Su Yi stood beside Blazing, and the huge ice behind the city gate blocked their way. Dragon, it looks like a high-level weapon. Those who can train high-level troops at this stage? How could it be the weak who are aware of these clues? Li Zhangqiang suppressed the anger in his heart and looked at Su Yi. "May I ask, what is your name?" Li Zan's attitude was quite upright. Su Yi didn't put on airs, and said indifferently, "Su Yi." Li Zan pondered for a while. He had never heard of a powerful lord named Su Yi near Zhongzhou. It seems that this guy should be a foreigner. Seeing the territory of the tree demon, he occupied it. Li Zan wanted to say something, but Zhang Kanghe, who was on the sidelines with a bad temper, quit, and angrily said, "What the hell are you talking to this guy? Let's attack together and get back what belongs to us," Zhang Kanghe roared. And few lords responded. "Everyone is watching the situation." "Just kidding. This is the end of the world, not a game, the kind where everything is gone when you die." Seeing this, Su Yi is not easy to mess with. Can they really attack? Seeing this, Zhang Kanghe spat angrily at his feet. A group of cowards. They just know how to hide their nests, and they all shrink their necks in front of outsiders. What man? Hearing Zhang Kanghe's words, several lords in the field glanced to one side. They still retained their rationality. No matter what Zhang Kanghe said, They would not attack rashly. This scene made Zhang Kanghe even angrier. He snorted coldly, HMPH, I want to see how much this foreign boy weighs. I will take down the territory of this tree demon later. You theater-goers, don't even think about getting a piece of it. As he said that, Zhang Kanghe looked at Suya at the head of the city, with anger rising in his eyes. Boy, you'd better give up the tree demon's territory obediently, or I won't be polite to you. Suya heard the words and looked at Zhang Kanghe. Are you sure? Zhang Kanghe ignored Suya, waved his hand, and rushed into the city with the army. Dozens of elf archers following behind shot arrows at the city wall. Even more, seeing that this guy was really not afraid of death, Suya shrugged his shoulders and waved his big hand. The fiery understanding beside him spread his wings and flew into the sky. Chapter 73. A bitch who has money but doesn't make money. It wasn't until this moment that Li Zan and the others really saw clearly how big the high-level troops around Suya were. With a wingspan of more than 20 meters, it is covered with flame-colored dragon scales, and its 4 claws are sharp, shining coldly in the night. Blazingly jumped high, and then swept towards the direction of the Kanghe territory. Li Zan's scalp felt a little numb when he saw it, and he waved his hands quickly. Get out! The people in this Hanshin territory did not say a word, and according to Li Zan's instructions, they withdrew to the rear and stayed away from the Kanghe territory as much as possible. Seeing this, the other territories didn't dare to be negligent, and hurriedly imitated Hanshin territory and retreated tens of meters immediately. There was only one army from the Kanghe territory left in the field. Zhang Kanghe was so angry that he was about to have a myocardial infarction. He drew out the long sword at his waist, and pointed it at the blazing fire above his head. Set the fire for me, and kill this big guy. But what responded to him was just a dragon roar. The sound wave almost turned into substance, and descended from the top of the head, causing all the human job changers within the range to cover their ears. And their faces turned pale in an instant. As for the goblins, quite a few of them were bleeding directly from their 7 orifices, falling to the ground and convulsing. Most of the lucky ones who survived were prostrate on the ground, not daring to move. The elf archer is a semi-intelligent unit, able to react to the threat of the giant dragon, obeying Zhang Kanghe's order at this moment, and firing arrows towards blazing, clinking and clicking in front of the blazing and hard dragon scales. The arrows of the elf archers seemed so weak that it was difficult to pierce the dragon scales at all, so they all fell to the side. Sushi was attacked, and a trace of anger flashed in the blazing and huge lung, and opening the huge mouth, a mouthful of dragon's breath spewed out, spreading towards the surroundings. The devastating high temperature hit. Zhang Kanghe opened his mouth wide, trying to escape, but it was too late. The dragon's breath passed by, and his life value instantly bottomed out with a slam, and he straightened up and fell directly to the ground. It was then incinerated into charcoal. Other human job changers and arms in the field did not escape the blazing dragon's breath. After a few dragon breaths, the world became quiet. The entire army in the Kanghe territory was wiped out where they stood. There was a lot of black ashes. Those are their ashes. Li Zan and others who were watching the battle from a distance swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Those lords who were scolded by Zhang Kanghe felt even more fortunate in their hearts, thankful that they were not deceived by Zhang Kanghe just now, and followed him to provoke Suya. Well, now, even the body can't be found. Only a pile of ashes remained, proving that these people existed. The strength Suya displayed was terrifying. The most important thing is that he only dispatched 1 dragon, and he still has 5 such dragons. It's no wonder he was able to conquer the giant's territory in such a short time. Now, does anyone still want this territory? Suya's voice came from the wall, and it was very clear in the quiet night. Li Zan's mouth was a little parched. He glanced at the blazing scene in front of the city wall, then at Suyi, and smiled wryly in his heart. Immediately, he took a few steps forward and cupped his hands at Suya before he could speak. Suya's voice came. Why, you also want to try how much damage the dragon can do? The corners of Li Zan's lips twitched, and he quickly shook his head. No, Lord Su misunderstood. I just want to say that our territories were developed by buying food in the tree demon territory before. I don't know if Lord Su will continue through this channel. Suya narrowed his eyes and stared at Li Zan. He thinks this guy is really smart. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. Before Zhang Kanghe wanted to snatch the tree demon's territory, Li Zan lowered his sense of presence and didn't say anything. That's because he also wanted to see how strong Suya was, so he could give Zhang Kanghe a try. So, He didn't remind Zhang Kanghe not to provoke Suyi now. When the results came out, Zhang Kanghe's entire army was wiped out, and Suyi's strength far exceeded Li Zan's estimate. He turned his attention to the second step Suyi has already started, and it is impossible to snatch the tree demon's territory, but seeing such a geomantic treasure land in other people's hands, Li Zan couldn't help being a little bit unwilling in order to continue to benefit from the tree demon's territory. He had the courage to ask Suyi this question just to make a good impression in front of Suyi, and to continue to buy food from the tree demon's territory at that time. The development of his ancient territory can continue, and there is no need to worry about food, which is not the worst outcome as for Li Zan. Suyi seemed to have some impression after thinking about it. This guy was one of the most powerful lords near Zhongzhou in the previous life. At the same time, he is also the occupant of the tree demon territory. No wonder, with this guy's mind, he could indeed stand out from dozens of lords and occupy the territory of the Dryad. But in this life, the tree demon territory belongs to Suyi. Li Zan could only stand aside. As for Li Zan's request, Suyi had no intention of rejecting it. If you have money, you don't make money, you bastard immediately nodded. Of course, as long as you are short of food, you can come here to trade. I accept all kinds of resources, arms, and weird props. As long as I like them, they can be exchanged for food. As soon as these words came out, the lords in the field looked at each other for no reason. He developed a good impression of Suyi. It seems that this guy is not as domineering as he imagined. The most important thing is that the channels for them to buy food are still there, and more comprehensive than before. Before Suyi came, the lords could only exchange 4 kinds of basic resources to buy food. As for Suyi, it is a good thing to provide various items for exchange these days. Who doesn't have a weird little thing? Li Zan also heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Suyi's words. That's fine, thank you, Lord Su. As it's getting late, I'll go back first. After finishing speaking, Li Zan waved his hand and rushed back with the army of Zanshan territory. Seeing this, the lords of several other territories imitated the example, saluted Suyi, and declared themselves, hoping to make a good impression in front of Suyi. This is the case in the last days. As long as the fist is big enough and enough resources are occupied, even if you are an enemy, others have to greet you with a smile. Whoever let you control the resources depends on you to eat, and whoever smiles at you. As for Zhang Kanghe and his Kanghe territory, they were almost forgotten by everyone in a short time. Of course, only his people were forgotten, not his property. No. As soon as Li Zan left the tree demon territory, he led his team straight to the Kanghe territory. How could he let go of the territory that came to him? Regarding this, although the lords of the other territories were envious, they did not dare to say anything. After all, the strength of Zanshan territory lies here. Now that the situation in Zhongzhou has changed drastically, they naturally don't dare to cause trouble again. Chapter 74, Lingmei, Lingo. After the lords of Zhongzhou left, Suyi turned around and returned to the tree demon territory. It is already late at night, and the territory is quiet. Only the tree demons are active in the territory. The light was dim, and it was inconvenient to see things, so Suyi simply gave up and decided to wait until the daytime tomorrow to take a closer look at the tree demon's territory and see what the situation was like back in the Lord's Hall. Suyi was ready to rest. As for the other giant dragons such as Blazing, they were brought by Suyi to stay near the Lord's Hall. This is also to ensure Suyi's safety. The night is already deep, and Suyi, who has been working hard all day, falls asleep in the territory of the Dryads. The Dryads who have undergone great changes have also found a place to stand up and enter the dormant mode. The so-called dormant mode, in fact, is the incarnation of a big tree, standing on the open space in the dark night. The Dryad in this mode is constantly flickering, looking extremely fantastic. The next day, Suyi woke up early. He was woken up by hunger. When I was in the star field before, the cooking was done by the 3 women alone, so Suyi just sat and waited for the food. Now, Suyi is alone, and eating has become a big problem. Walking out of the Lord's Hall, the rising sun in the east sprinkled light on Suyi's face. Without hesitation, warm and comfortable, the Golden Tree Demon King had been waiting outside the Lord's Hall early in the morning. When he saw Suyi wake up, he rushed to greet him, bow down and salute, and behave in a respectful manner. Suyi coughed lightly, and without talking nonsense to the Golden Tree Demon King, said straightforwardly, "Then what? Is there anything to eat here?" The Golden Tree Demon King tilted his head and thought for a moment, then made a gesture of invitation to Suyi. Suyi followed behind it, and the 2 figures walked forward one after the other. Soon, the Golden Tree Demon King brought Suyi to a large spiritual field in the territory of the Tree Demon, and pointed at the crops in the spiritual field and made strange noises. "Eat the food." Suyi glanced at the crops and the lingshan. The fruits looked like wheat, Each one was the size of a fist, orange-yellow, with a hard shell, and looked extremely magical. Immediately throws a detection skill. The information on the crops planted in the Lingshan quickly appeared in Suyi's mind. Ling Mei, yield. 12 maturity time. 20 days. Description, a special variety improved by the dryad over decades. It has a good yield and is suitable for large-scale planting. Seeing this, Suyi couldn't help feeling a little bit of nostalgia in his heart. In his previous life, he also had a spiritual field, which was planted with this kind of spiritual wheat. However, the spiritual wheat he planted is far from the high yield of the spiritual wheat we see now. Perhaps, this has something to do with the level of the spirit field and the care of the demon. Looking around, there are a lot of spirit wheat here, occupying a rather large area in the ground. It is enough to imagine how much food the tree demon territory can get when these spiritual wheat are harvested. However, after thinking about it, Suyi is here now to find something to eat, and he can't eat this Ling Mei without special processing. Immediately speechless, Suyi looked at the yellow demon king. I don't want this, I'm hungry, want to eat something that I can eat right away. Hearing the words, the golden tree demon king nodded, expressing that he understood what Suyi meant, and then took Suyi to another direction. This place is located at the back of the dryad's territory, and the plants planted here are not Ling Mei, but huge fruit trees. The trunk is thick and the crown is huge, like a big umbrella, scattered in all directions among the dense foliage. One can see the hanging fruit's fist size, light red, looks very good looking. This kind of fruit, I can eat raw? Suyi asked. The golden dryad king nodded. Cocoa, sweet. Suyi swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and just to be on the safe side, he threw a detection skill at the big fruit tree in front of him. Spiritual fruit tree, yield. 63 time. 48. Description, the spiritual fruit produced by absorbing nutrients is extremely delicious, enough to make people endlessly aftertaste. Eating the spiritual fruit can allow the eater to gain a small amount of experience points, and 1 unit can only be eaten per day. 10 spirit fruits. More than this number, the spirit fruit will only serve the effect of satiety. Soul fruit. Seeing the description, Suyi frowned. Is this the spiritual fruit tree the same as the 2 he planted in the star field? In order to ensure his guess, Suyi carefully observed the leaves of the spiritual fruit tree. Sure enough, the leaves of the spiritual fruit tree here are the same as the leaves of the spiritual fruit tree in the star field. That is to say, the spiritual fruit tree that Suyi planted in the star field belongs to the same type as the spiritual fruit tree that he saw in front of him. That being the case, then Suyi should have a good taste of what this spirit fruit tastes like. In the previous life, Suyi had never seen a spiritual fruit, so knowledge about this stuff is very limited. Standing on tiptoe, Suyi took off 2 spiritual fruits, wiped them on his clothes casually, and then took a bite. Catcha. Spirit fruit is very crisp, and when it enters the mouth, it emits juice, which is very sweet and tastes a bit like apples, but it is more delicious than apples, with a strange fragrance. The taste was good. Suyi was not polite. He ate a spirit fruit in 2 or 3 mouthfuls. You have eaten a spirit fruit, and you will gain 500 experience points. The system's notification sounded in Suyi's mind. Suyi raised his brows, and glanced at his experience bar, which actually increased a little. Needless to say, it must be the effect of this spiritual fruit. At that moment, Suyi was no longer polite, and ate 5 spiritual fruits in a row. That's when he stopped what he was doing. He is full while gaining a sense of satiety. He also gained 500 experience points. If there is no limit to the number of consumption of spiritual fruits, Suyi really wants to eat spiritual fruits directly to reach the full level. This thing is wonderful. After filling his stomach, Suyi walked around the Lingoyan again. On the way, he picked dozens of mature spiritual fruits and threw them into the Lord's space. Carrying some of this kind of good thing with you is always good, isn't it? After drinking and eating, Suyi followed a golden tree demon king around the other places in the territory. The Dryad's territory occupies a large area, even larger than Suyi's star domain. There are mountains behind the territory, so only the left and right sides and the front are built with city walls, which surround the entire territory. In the territory, the buildings are a bit monotonous. There is only one Lord Hall, warehouse, and Dryad camp. In addition, most of the territory is covered by spiritual fields and orchards. In addition to spiritual wheat and spiritual fruit, there are also some special plants planted in the Dryad territory. For example, Chiang fruit. Eating this kind of fruit can enhance the power of the fire attribute. But a unit can only eat 10 tens in a lifetime, which is very precious. Another example is resurrection grass, which is a super herb that can heal wounds, and it is the best choice for refining elixirs and preparing medicines. Chapter 75. Suyi, they are all acquaintances. Let's double the price. 5th watch for subscription. The Dryad territory is not so much a food territory as a treasure. It's no wonder that those bigwigs in Hangzhou in the previous life fought bloody for this territory. The territory of the tree demon is indeed worth the price. After inspecting the entire Dryad territory, Suyi returned to the Lord's Hall. Now, he will count all the resources in the Dryad's territory. The Golden Tree Demon King is not low in intelligence, and can speak some human words. With its reporting, resource statistics become much easier. 10 minutes later, Suyi had a clear understanding of the buildings and resources in the Dryad's territory. Chapter 50. The first is buildings. There are not many buildings in the Dryad territory. Most of them are spiritual fields, orchards and medicine gardens. Inside the building, the Lord's Hall has nothing to say. The only thing to talk about is the Tree Demon Camp. This is where the Dryads are trained. In other words, even if you capture the territory of the Dryad, you will not be able to obtain the template of the Dryad. This was a misunderstanding of Suyi before. He is also planning to take the template back to the star field for training after he gets the template of the Dryad. Looking at it now, it is impossible. The Dryad camp has already taken root in the Dryad's territory and cannot be moved. To put it bluntly, if Suyi wants to train the Dryad, he must stay in the Dryad's territory. Dryad camp, Tier 4, level 4. 5 units. 68 training template. Dryad training cost. 10,000 gold coins. Training time. 30 minutes. Upgrade requirements, wood, stone, iron ore, and gold mine 1.6 million each, time 72 hours. The level of the Tree Demon Camp is level 5, and it can accommodate 100 training units. However, Suyi killed a lot last night, which made Suyi a little distressed considering the role of the Dryads. Suyi decided to wait, find a time to train as many Dryads as possible. Besides the Dryad, the most famous resource in the Dryad's territory is food. There are 200 ling fields, and 100 ling wheat are planted in each ling field, and each ling may can harvest 20 units of food, and the maturity time is 30 days. However, under the care of the Dryad and fertilization, this time can be reduced by about half. That is to say, the spirit fields are harvested once every 15 days. The amount of food harvested at one time is 200,000. On average, 26,000 units of food can be harvested every day. Pretty good harvest. As long as Suyi guards the Tree Demon's territory well, he really doesn't have to worry about food consumption. In addition, there are 50 spiritual fruit trees in the territory of the Dryad. Each spiritual fruit tree can bear 100 fruits, and the maturity period is 60 days. With a reduced ability of the Tree Demon, it can be harvested once every 30 days. It is also a great resource. It is very helpful to improve the level of troops. Finally, there is the medicine field. This is more complicated because there are too many varieties planted in the medicine fields. There are dozens of them, covering several aspects such as treatment, food, enhancement, and poison production. I will reveal it to everyone later. After inventorying the resources in the general territory, Suyi went to the Tree Demon Camp. It is said to be a camp, but it is actually a big tree with a height of 60 to 70 meters, and the trunk needs more than a dozen adults to hug it. On this big tree, there is a big tree hole, which is the place where the Tree Demon was bred. Suyi was not stingy either, and took out all the gold coins in the Tree Demon's territory, a total of 1.69 million. It cost 1.69 million gold coins to train 169 Dryads. The beep sounds the big tree formed by the Dryad's territory emits. The light is exhausted, the breeze blows, and the sound of rustling comes. Suyi looked up, only to see small bags began to bulge on the branches of the big tree above his head. This is the newborn Tree Demon with 99% cooldown reduction. The first Dryad was trained very quickly. Wearing clothes woven from leaves is very cute. As soon as the little guy appeared, he saluted Suyi, and then trotted to join other Dryad groups. Started to work under the arrangement of Big Tree Demon brother. Suyi watched for a while, then left the Tree Demon camp for the next 2 days. Suyi spent in the Tree Demon's territory. Familiar, know everything here. Since it is decided to develop this place into a sub-territory, then naturally it cannot be neglected. 2 days later in the morning, Suyi went to the Lingoyun to have a full meal and then hurried back. On the way, I happened to meet the Golden Tree Demon King, who looked a little anxious. As soon as he saw Suyi, he quickly walked up. There is a human transaction. Suyi frowned. After 2 days of getting along, Suyi has already gotten used to the Golden Tree Demon King's speaking style. I know what this guy is talking about right now. It should be that there are human job changers who trade food from outside the territory. Suyi didn't refuse people thousands of miles away. He said to lead the way, and followed a Golden Tree Demon King to the direction of the city wall of the Tree Demon's territory. Here, a small window opens up. It is also the trading window of the Dryad territory. Races in need can trade with Dryads in this window. It is Lizan and several nearby lords who are outside the window at this moment. They don't have the ability to occupy high-level secret realms, but some white secret realms and green secret realms simply cannot support the consumption of a territory. Therefore, they have always been able to bring resources to the Dryad territory to exchange. Now, Suya is occupying this place, but he said that the channel for exchanging food still exists and these lords will naturally not let it go. Similarly, Suya will not miss it at this moment. Li Zan and others greeted Suya when they saw Suya approaching. Several. What would you like to order today? Suya asked. Li Zan coughed lightly. Lord Su, I want to exchange some food. Please make an offer. Hearing this, Suya turned to look at the Golden Tree Demon King. What was the price before? 1 unit of basic resources is exchanged for 1 unit of food. The Golden Dryad Dominion. This is the food exchange price in the Dryad territory. Before Suya came here, the corners of Suya's lips twitched. Sure enough, it was very expensive to say 100 units of resources are exchanged for 1 unit of food, and 10,000 units of food require 1 million units of resources. But having said that, it doesn't seem to do any harm to Suya. Thinking of this, Suya knocked on the table, attracting the attention of Li Zan and others. Well, we are all acquaintances. Let's double the exchange rate. Li Zan and others outside the window suspected that they heard it wrong. Why are you saying that you are an acquaintance? And you double the price? Isn't this a trick to cheat money? Lord Su, Li Zan was speechless and full of resentment, but before he could finish his sentence, Suya interrupted him. Anyway, this is the price here. If you guys think the price is not suitable, you can look elsewhere. Several lords were even more speechless, wishing to blow Suya's head off. Where else is there any other place here? Chapter 76. Suyi. 3,000 units of food. I want the address. Subscribe for more updates. Asking for flowers. Asking for tickets. Asking for customization. Asking for all support. Within 100 miles, there is only this tree demon territory and there are hundreds of troops waiting to aid in his own territory. If the food can't keep up, then there will be a mutiny of the troops, and the loss will be even greater. Of course, the lords can also choose to attack secret places to obtain food, but the problem is, there are so many territories around, and the secret realm has been divided up long ago, so how can there be any unknown secret realms? Even if there are, the level has reached blue, or even purple, which is not something these lords can take down. To put it bluntly, the Dryad territory has become the only place where the nearby lords can replenish their food. Suya also grasped this point. That's why he put these lords to death. Of course, this is also related to one of his future plans. In a few days, the market will open. At that time, the era of growing food for the whole people will open. Suya raises the food exchange price, and he can definitely force those lords to buy food seeds and grow them themselves. But how could they know in advance that planting food requires dryads and fertilizers? These things are only available in the territory of dryads at that time. As long as Suya releases the news, the business will be booming. One can imagine that it will be a real profit. Cooperating with Suya's 99% cold reduction, you can definitely become a dryad wholesaler and make a lot of money. This is Suya's final plan. Raising food prices now is just a gesture. Suya's attitude was firm and his strength was strong, so Li Zan and others dared not speak out. Considering the food consumption in the territory, Li Zan swallowed a mouthful of saliva and chose to bow his head. Lord Su, I want to exchange 100 units of food, Li Zan said. Suya nodded. Okay, please trade me 2 million basic resources. Li Zan did as he did, and traded 500,000 units of timber, 500,000 units of stone ore, 500,000 units of iron ore, and 500,000 units of gold coins to Suya. After the resources arrived, Suya snapped his fingers. Give the food to this boss. The boss. Li Zan gritted his teeth, but he was helpless. Attachment. This work comes from the internet in published books. The work is only for readers to preview. Please delete it within 24 hours of downloading. It cannot be used for commercial purposes. If you think this book is good, please buy the genuine book. Thank you for your support to the author. Key points. I hope you can keep this paragraph if you reprint it. It's a bit hard to organize, but retention is a virtue. The Golden Tree Demon King was unambiguous, and directly packed 10,000 units of food into a resource package and traded it to Li Zan. The latter took it, cupped his hands at Suya, said his farewell, and left. First, he doesn't want to stay in this place that eats people. For a moment, several other lords who followed Li Zan also stepped forward to start a deal with Suya. In a short while, the Tree Demon territory received more than 3 million basic resources. The lords who exchanged for food left one after another, and soon Kin Mo was the only one left. He stood outside the territory of the Tree Demon, looking a bit hesitant. Suya frowned and yelled at Kin Mo, "Hey! Do you want to exchange food too? If you don't, I will close the door." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.